sitting on top, but that's the only reason. They've had some really good wins, and they've got a slightly different look about them this year, and playing a slightly different brand of football. So it's not one that's going to be all that easy to try and control either. So
yeah. And in terms of style of football on this ground versus yours versus a larger ground, how do you, like, you haven't trained that much over the last sort of couple of weeks, how do you factor that in, and did you do some stuff yesterday to get ready for this? This is a different type of ground here at Anthony Costa.
Not really. No,
just let the forwards run around and just kick goals.
We've made mention of the fact that, you know, on this ground you've actually got to lengthen it to try and create space. So, you know, you've just got to try and be as smart as you can with that. I'm not a rocket scientist, so I'm very, very basic man, Jason. So don't ask me hard questions, please.
Right, Rob. For Inspirations Paint, speaking with St Joseph's coach Ron Watt on K-Rock Football, what's your next project? 138 Torquay Road, Grovedale. Here's Rowan McSparron.
I was actually coming to the game thinking your older, senior, more mature boys would try and beat up on some of their younger players, but getting here, obviously, with Garner and a few of the other boys rolling back through. I think today, especially those senior, mature blokes on both sides, Blood and those blokes against Gow in the midfield, I think if you, as you said, lengthening the ground here, it's actually, people don't realise how long this ground is. It is a lot longer. I think if you boys, whoever gets on top in the midfield, will go a long way to winning the game. So any plans to Blood or some of these blokes that roll through the middle, or are you going to let them worry about what you boys want to do?
A bit of both, yeah.
Both.
We'll have somebody waiting in the wings ready to jump on whoever starts pretty well.
Yep.
So, you know, they've probably got 4 or 5 players you can say, well, we're going to try and sit on someone, but you know, I think we've got 4 or 5 players they might also say the same about. So we'll show our hand first and see how we go, and you know, try and get the game on our terms as much as we can.
The addition of Schaefer into the forward line, I think Lewis is arguably one of the best small forwards in the comp, and you pick up probably arguably another best small forward in the comp. How's that alleviated the pressure from Hunter as being that dominant small forward, having Mitch down there with him?
Yeah, well, they've only had 3 games together now, so they're still sort of working things out. But for both of them, you know, as small forwards, they can also play as key forwards as well. And we've already got 2 or 3 big boys who play as key forwards, so there's a little bit of management and working them through some different patterns and opportunities. And yeah, we'll use Hunter and Schaefer up the ground a little bit as well. But having said that, you know, I think our big boys actually work up the ground well, DeGrandy and Morrison, and that we can use them as high forwards, which is a bit of a luxury for guys that size.
And they're all so mobile too. They can get on the move, and they're hard to defend coming at the footy. Yeah,
that's going to be a good game.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Just some injury updates. Jack Leonard.
Yeah, not quite sure. He'll have to go to the specialist. He's done some damage to his shoulder. Needs to go to the specialist to determine whether he will have an operation or not. But in the meantime, he's here and helping out, and you know, he was running last week, so you know, he's got an ability to be able to come back without an operation, possibly.
If your Christian name starts with J, you're in the injury suite, because there's Jay Buckley, Jay Chaplin, Jay Mullen, Jay O'Dwyer to go with Jay Leonard.
Well, I'm going to look after anyone who starts with a J, because we've got a few others out there.
Yeah, Edwards is probably the next in line, and maybe James Hose if he's not careful.
What about James Hickey and James Gow?
Yeah. I know, I'm not touching the real elite.
So we'll say that's just a silly nonsense thing you're talking about, Tom.
Yeah, it is. But it's an update. Do you have any updates on that quartet?
Chaplin, I haven't seen this week. He injured himself at Geelong. Hurt a quad. McLaughlin's got a syndesmosis, and he'll be 8-10 weeks at best, I think. Yeah.
Wait, how did that come about, Killer? That one's gone quietly under.
Sure. No? It was he just twisted his ankle one day, and he didn't give it time to repair.
In a game?
Yeah.
Do you know which one?
Can't remember. No. Actually, yeah.
But the last one he played, obviously.
Yeah. No, he went into that game having a slightly sore ankle.
Yep.
That was at St Albans.
Yep.
And I'm kicking myself. I shouldn't let him play.
Yep.
But he said, no, I feel okay.
Did you do it against Bell Park when we were there?
Yeah, Bell Park the week before, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Fellow Dwyer?
He'll be about another 8 weeks. He's had an operation on his scaphoid.
Yep.
And that's about a 10-week recovery, so he's he's 3 weeks into that now.
And Jack Mullen?
He'll be right next week.
Yep.
Could have just about played him today, but he'll be right next week. So we've missed Jack. He's been a really good contributor in the forward line with the role he plays. And Bucks, he was going to play until yesterday afternoon, and he said he pulled up sore from training Thursday night. So we'll give him another week and roll him out next week.
In twos, obviously.
Yep.
Fair enough. It was wonderful how the calendar fell. You had a bye last week while North Shore played and had their premiership reunion for 1995, and that meant you were able to attend that gathering. What was the day like out at Windsor Park?
It was good. The calendar didn't just fall at that time, by the way.
No, there was some manipulation took place.
Yeah. So it was nice to go back and spend a bit of time with the boys that you achieved some success with 30 years ago, and we had a little gathering at my place the night before, and we had about 20 there, so that was good. I drove home on Saturday, so it was a long weekend, if you take Friday and Saturday into account. And
it's only so much we can all do when we get a bit older, isn't it, Ron? That's right.
I felt good Sunday.
Well done. That's the way. Wake up well. Killer. We look forward to a blockbuster clash this afternoon. Obviously, we've got the slide not too far away from starting, but looking forward to seeing two teams unbeaten go toe-to-toe. Couldn't have been scripted any better, and looking forward to a game in a cracking day conditions-wise that lives up to expectations.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. I can't wait for it. I'm a little bit tired. I've been here since 10 o'clock. I'm going, all right.
Let's just play footy. Let's get into it. Good luck. Appreciate it.
All right.
Ron Watt, coach of St Joseph's, joining us. Thanks to Inspirations Paint. What's your next project? 138 Torquay Road in Grovedale. Bounce will be at 2:30. And are we playing with a yellow? We must be playing with a yellow ball because we're going to finish in the dark. Oh, yes. The lights on. Lights will be on when we finish this one at about 5:15. But Killer just shaking his head going, basically saying harden up, which is fantastic.
I love how he just finishes an interview.
Right, see ya. Yeah, I'm done. I'm out.
Thanks.
Yep. Good luck. Thanks. We'll take a break because on the other side, Ben Bosley is going to join us. First time on KRockFootball.live as co-coach of St Mary's.
Bosley, you sure?
Baselli.
Yeah, Baselli.
So when he rang me yesterday, I answered the phone. Baselli. He goes,
He'll
what?
love that. He'll love that.
He had no idea.
I bet you
so he hadn't listened to his cousins, Andrews.
Well, that's not good enough by Ben, so we'll talk about that as well.
And then I had to explain to him why Andrews called his company AB24 because nobody can pronounce Bosley properly.
Yes. Come on, Ben, tidy it up.
Bosley, Baselli.
Nathan will be happy about it too. They can't pronounce his last name anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, what do we got? Is that you, Kirsch?
Yeah, have you nearly got me?
I've got you. Yeah, where are you?
Peter Murray is about to go down. I'm in the goal square.
Wow.
Old days.
Well, don't old days. Have a listen to him.
He's,
What's he going down as?
he's Harry Houdini. He's all been chained up and got a cape and everything.
That's good.
That is good.
Yes.
Make things disappear.
Has Stretch Contel gone down yet?
He has. He went down, and let's just put it in the lame category. He went down slow. Slow, there wasn't much fanfare, but in he went, and it looked freezing, let me tell you.
Oh, Peter looks very good as Houdini.
That's
too.
great.
That is good.
Yeah, the crowd loved it.
Yeah, no, that's...
He can't get on the slide, though, because his hands are tied up.
That's correct.
They're trying to help him.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. Well, he's going to head down. We're going to go to a break, and Ben Bosley has just walked into the van. We're going to have a chat with him on the other side of this. Footy Spotlight, thanks to Rex Garrell Geelong Group for an outstanding motoring experience. And we're here for APCO Cafe 24/7. How's this? Win free coffee for a year. The Breathe Carrot Footy.
Tom, Lee and Loggy, Geelong's favourite way to wake up.
Jen's in Geelong. Morning, Jen.
I'm a nanny, so I was nannying for a family and they wanted me to work for a barbecue. And it was like Joel Selwood, Tom Hawkins. It was like the Cats Players list.
Yeah.
I'm not a football person, so I actually spent half of the barbecue actually not knowing who they were. And then one of the caterers told me, what an amazing guest list. I'm like, who are these people? So I was actually like looking after all their children.
Why wasn't I invited?
No, you were there, Lingy. She just doesn't know who you are.
New year, same gear. That's Geelong and the Surf Coast's favourite brekkie team. Tom, Lingy and Loggy on KRock 955. Visit one of Mimosa Homes' 50 displays across Melbourne and Geelong.
You've got 11 sandwiches to choose from. All Devon. That's not a choice, unless you're super into Devon. What holds for sandwiches holds for paint projects. You want real choice. No one stocks a greater range of Dulux paints and products or gives you tips and advice on how to use them than your local Inspirations paint store. That's what makes them the Dulux approved specialist. What's your next project?
Inspirations Paint, Grovedale, 138 Torquay Road.
Your dream home is closer than you think with Metricon, Australia's #1 home builder. With our Fast Track program, your contract is ready in 7 days and you can get to site in as little as 16 weeks. Plus, you can receive an upfront and transparent Fast Track saving on your stunning Metricon design. Contact us to see if you qualify and move in faster than you thought possible. Metricon, love where you live. Terms and conditions apply. CDBU 52967.
Hi, Paddy Dangerfield here for Rex Gorell. How do you pick the winning team? You look for experience, knowledge and quality. That's why you can trust Rex Gorell for your next new or used car. Family owned with Geelong's best car brands and value that puts them on top of the ladder. Do what I've done and join the winning team at Rex Gorell.
Rex Gorell, Fine Street, Gordon Avenue and Latrobe Terrace, Geelong. Visit rexgorell.com.au.
LMCTs 1308 8349 6593 486 and 10191.
At APCO, we know your time is precious. So download the APCO app to skip the queue and pay for your fuel from the comfort of your car. Love our Jaffles and award-winning coffee? Pre-order through the APCO app. No more waiting in line, just grab and go. Shop the way you want, when you want. Just search APCO app in your app store and start saving time today. APCO Cafe 24/7. We've got you.
Harvey Norman, the home of theatre lounges. Come in store and discover all the theatre creature comforts you could possibly want, from under-couch lights to powered headrests, and more cup holders than at the movies. If you want something more upscale, Harvey Norman has that too. The movies are meant to be enjoyed in comfort in front of the biggest TV possible. So create the greatest home theatre ever, only at Harvey Norman, Corio and Warren Ponds.
Since a bloke named Bill started cutting timber in a mill back in 1980, Barwon Timber's been the builder's best mate ever since. Whether you stick framing or need prefab frames and trusses, Barwon Timber's got what you need for every building stage. Geelong owned and operated with trade quality products in stock, ready to go. Barwon Timber, Fellmongers Road, Breakwater. The team that builders just keep coming back for.
I'm going down to Barwon Timber.
Thanks to our #1 ticket holder, APCO. Fueled by APCO Cafe 24/7.
On a beautiful Sunday afternoon, the sliders have continued. Sally Flynn, KC, the president of St Mary's, has just gone down the slide, Jace.
Yes, she has, in full regalia. And that wig is going to take a long time to dry.
Wig and robes.
And robes. There was a myriad of robes. So did you ever think we'd get myriad into a footy commentary?
And Peter Murray, he needed help getting out because he was Harry Houdini, so he couldn't actually lift himself up.
They had to undo his hands before he got out.
It was a great get-up.
It was good.
Great get-up.
It was good.
St Mary's and St Joseph's, we are about an hour away from bounce as the big free slide continues. There's still plenty of sliders, including our own Jane Birch and Zach Toohey going down. Looking forward to seeing them hit the water at some stage. Paul Hood, Joey's assistant coach, amongst them as well. Collingwood AFLW star Britt Benici, who I find out that the link is that she's actually Ryan Pendlebury's partner.
They've
got Britt to do it.
Yeah, very good.
Catherine Cavant, who plays a little bit of footy for St Joey's, works for the Cats. Cam Sheehan, who's the outgoing media boss of AFL Barn, but heading to this trust, Kittingham Park Trust, as events manager.
Oh, really? She's going to work for Jared.
She's going to work for Jared.
Fantastic.
So,
That's great.
Anyway, we need to go inside the St Mary's camp because waiting patiently for the first time on KRockFootball.live, we used to have a segment called The Wash Up that this man used to come on quite a bit. We used to record on a Sunday, which was our little podcast of local footy. And when he was coaching East Geelong, he was one of my go-tos because I knew I could get him for a chat. Plus, they were winning a lot of footy for Inspirations Paint. Ben Bosley joins us on K-Rock Footy. Hello, Benny.
Good to be here, boys.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Up and about.
It's been a few years, hasn't it?
It has been a while. What got you back coaching? Why would you want to coach again?
Well, it was on the cards last year at some point. The itch was becoming more prevalent, and then I wanted to scratch it, so I spoke to a few clubs informally, and then Rains got a hold of me on a coffee shop chat, maybe on a Friday morning at about 7:30. We had a bit of a chat, and I think that was in August or September last year, and from there it's it's back on. So, yeah, the itch was becoming stronger. Our third child was 2.5, so it was more receptive to getting back into footy. So the family was right in a good position, and I thought, it's good to get back in while I'm young enough. Let's have a crack.
You're 5-0. Could you scarcely believe that you're 5-0?
I do. Yeah, I think that there was a lot of media. Look, and I knew in August last year that when I started talking to the footy club that there was going to be this sort of evolution that was going to occur. We were aware that up to 10, 12 players at that point. We obviously knew Keisty was going. So even at that point, there was this idea of what's next year going to look like. But we've got some senior guys that have come back in. You mentioned Pennells and Bailey Cockrell. It was really obvious coming into the team that there was a lot of players that were probably starved of a lot of opportunities. We've got great depth of young kids coming through as well. So it doesn't surprise me, but at the same time, there's lots still to learn.
What was your external perception of St Mary's based on what is now being internal?
Yeah, well, obviously I played against St Mary's back in the day when I was at South, and it was always a big club. Everyone knew that it was a big club. The perception that through the bigness that they maybe weren't as small, but coming into the club, they are still a club that looks after each other. But I'm aware that the club is more massive than what I actually thought. And the tentacles of St Mary's are everywhere.
Yep.
Whether that's at school, whether that's in business, whether that's his footy. Everyone knows St Mary's. I got to a coffee shop 2 weeks ago and I just sat there and someone just said, "Oh, you at St Mary's?" I said, "Yes." And somehow like a third generation St Mary's player through cousin's nephew's son. So it's significant in size, and I didn't realise how big a size of club it was.
Thanks for not stumbling over tentacles, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom, for asking all the questions I was going to ask Ben too. So that was great. Well, I'm going to ask the fact that I'm not sure that you can be an East Geelong coach and then coach St Mary's. I'm not sure that works, Ben.
Hasn't Billy Sheridan done that?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, there's been a few go the other way.
Hasn't there? That's right. How does it come back this way? No, I'm just so you got the tick off from the wife, so that was good.
I did.
What's the co-coaching scenario? Was that a fit that you thought was going to be acceptable for you in terms of how that worked with Reigns and also the club and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, good question. And when I initially spoke
to
great question. When I spoke to Reigns initially, that was my probably apprehension because you're a lone wolf for so long, and I've done it quite well with a bit of success. It was working through fundamentally, do we have the same method? And the idea of how we look after players and people and how do we strategically manoeuvre things. But it became obvious quite quickly. I've known Reigns for many years, ever since he was at Winchelsea. We've connected when I was at Berry. Even when he was at Bell Park, we were still having conversations. So for 7 or 8 years I've known him. I think we've always connected and respected each other. So when we spoke, fundamentally we had to work through the style of play, how we want to play, how we want to pivot this club together, and it became obvious that it was going to work really, really well. I mean, people have got to be aware there's a lot that goes into coaching, particularly at this level, and I know Rowi's obviously done it for many years, that I've still got my own vocation. I've got 3 young children and a wife. And then football's sort of the third. So you've got to marry up, can I actually give the time? So having a co-coach has allowed us to sort of cut that in half for us to give it our best. But I had to work through what that looks like, being a lone wolf and then going in together with someone. I hadn't thought about doing it, but really glad that I've got Reigns with me and it's working quite well.
And so in terms of how the Robertson-Keith scenario worked okay because they played together and they sort of knew each other outside of footy anyway, and they used to do 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, and they used to do, how does it work?
We do the same.
Yeah, okay.
So this is Reigns' 3rd week. I did the first 3 weeks, he's done the last 3 weeks. And then as of Tuesday, I take over everything, the program, liaising with S&Cs, rehab, strength and conditioning. All that becomes me, and Reigns then goes into more the one-on-one feedback.
Yeah, right.
So today you'll see Reigns again will address. He did the pre-game, he did the Thursday night, he ran the session during the week. And then I'm giving one-on-one feedback as much as possible, trying to get out to as many players, giving them those particular nuances of what we want to see, how we develop. Yeah, so that's the way it works.
So how does it work when it's game time? He's obviously the head coach. Do you coach a line, or do you just...
No.
You don't. You've got the line coaches, then you sort of just do the one-on-one.
Yeah, another great question. I look after the offensive phase, so everything on the offensive is me.
Yep.
And I give inputs to Luke throughout the quarter. Wow. At the end of the quarter, before we address the players...
An AFL club. This is amazing. This is so good.
So at the end of the quarter, I assess from the offensive phase. I then feed into Luke some ideas and some thoughts around what we need to pivot with our offensive. Brian Pennebury looks after our defensive phase, so he might come in and have a quick chat to Rains and I. We give Rains all the input, and it's up to him now to regurgitate that in a way that's tangible for the players to understand. And he might pick up one or two things, plus his own ideas, plus Ryan's, and then he'll give a 3 or 4 minute punchy question, comment to the players.
It's amazing. For inspirations, paint. What's your next project? 138 Torquay Road in Grovedale. Speaking with St Mary's co-coach Ben Bosley. Here's Rowan McSparron.
That analogy just there of how you use each other, and I've never had the ability to be a co-coach non-playing. It's always been with a playing coach. I think the way you explained it there is fantastic. I think Jace just mentioned there, it sounds like an AFL club. I think, as we know, and you've stepped into your first year of coaching, how have you actually found that transition at GFL level with that expectations, extra commitment from the players? How have you found coming in? I know you love your footy, mate, so you would have jumped straight in. How have you found that jump from, say, CDFL to GDFL now into the GFL?
Yeah, it's a big step from GDFL to GFL, but having played GFL for a long period of time, you sort of knew what to expect. But for me, football's the same principles and patterns wherever you go. I think that football is, although complex through strategy and getting to that outcome of getting players trained and giving them repeat exposures to drills and method of play, but I think it's pretty simple football. I think the principles are the same. It's about people and trying to create a best performance environment for the players, not necessarily high performance, best performance for us here at St Mary's. And that comes just from building relationship with players, really particular relationships. So I think that because of my vocation, being one of the heads of campus basically at a school allows me to sort of deal with lots of different people that help me run my job. And here at St Mary's, it's the same. We've got great strength and conditioning coaches and rehabs and 2 physiotherapists. We've got 3 or 4 coaches. Kane Tenace has played AFL footy. So there's lots of intelligence that we can use to our advantage to sort of communicate to the players around this is what we expect. So I think that Birregurra and East Geelong are very different from St Mary's, but I think the patterns of play and principles are very much the same. So for me, the jump has not been as big as what I thought.
That's good.
Because it's just about working with people. And through being a professional, I love the analytics, I love edits, I love data, I love working with people to sort of determine where we want to go and how we're going to get there. And I think that with Luke and I, we're 2 different people, vocation-wise, family-wise. So it's important for us, we recalibrate all the time. We're always talking around how we can do it better, how we can communicate it better, how we can disseminate that information before we can sort of talk to the players. Because although they're elite local players, at the end of the day, they too are full-timers. They've got families. We've got to be aware of what message and how much we're giving them. Because at the end of the day, they just want to play footy with a few little boundaries and confines of how they play.
Before, just want to say, Paul Hood's just gone down as Papa Smurf, Joey's assistant coach and former Cats AFLW coach. It's, as he said to me earlier, he told me what he was going down as, and his words were, "It's because I'm short and I'm old." What's his words? Back to you, Ro.
So Rains has probably been pretty forthright in saying this will probably be his last year coaching the club. Do you think next year you will look to replace him, or do you think it's something that you talked about being the lone wolf? Would you like to grab it hold again by yourself, or is that something you thought about? Or are you just going to wait and let the season play out?
Oh, look, I'm pretty relaxed with it all, to be honest. I think that as we go along, you mentioned I love footy. I'm a footy nut, but I'm also aware that that those conversations haven't happened and won't happen for a while, and I'm not even considering what next year looks like. Although, you know, you want to be here, you want to commit to it, but at the end of the day is I've got today's job to do and next week's job to prepare for. I'm not thinking ahead. I'm not even thinking about next week. We're thinking about today. Would I like to do it by myself? Potentially, but I think that that's a conversation that I'll need to have with my wife too, because taking on a full-time job at St Mary's and trying to in your own vocation and 3 kids under 7, I'm going to have some significant conversations with my wife. So that's understandably the most important thing, is to think about what that looks like. But yeah, yes or no. Would I like to do it? Yeah, potentially, but I've also loved working with Rains, and Rains has got a plethora of knowledge and understanding, and his experience has been really good for my development too. So I can see the real benefit of working someone, as long as there's common ground that you can have. I think there's real benefit in doing it together, and I think it's more sustainable rather than individually doing it by yourself. And I think that the 2-coach model, I wouldn't be surprised if teams over the next couple of years venture into that territory, because the job is becoming quite significant, and that's just great because it's being professional, but it takes lots of time. So I could see other clubs going to the two-coach model in the future.
Bose, before we let you go, Charlie Sprague unfortunately has woken up unwell. Yeah, woke up unwell. Got it from Thursday night. So we trained during the week, and he's just not well enough. So yesterday we pulled the trigger, and Luke Bartolo comes in this morning and today. And Bart's has been playing for the last 5 weeks, so he'll do a role. But yeah, unfortunately for Sprague, he was up and about, but not to be this week. Appreciate your time. Good luck this afternoon. Great to have you back in the GFNL after, when did you last play with South? What are you going back to? Back 20 what? 2027, I think it was, or 2028. Yeah, no, 2008 was the last time, so it's been a long time, too long. Good luck today. Thanks, boys. Appreciate it. Ben Bosley joining us for Inspirations Paint. We'll take a break, come back. We've got a couple of local coaches lining up wanting to have a chat to us about their Saturday results. So looking forward to doing that. But always great to catch up with Ben Baselli. I love it. Yes, I can't wait to speak to Nathan Baselli too. That'll be great. And Andrew Baselli. The whole Baselli family. I love that. We're Footy Spotlight. Thanks to Rex Garrell Geelong Group for an outstanding motoring experience. More sliders. There's Birchie, I don't think's been down yet. So we'll... I don't think so. I have for Birchie and also Zach Tui as well. But on the other side of this, Inverleague coach Chris Moore is loitering around. I think Queenscliff coach Heath Jamison also in the vicinity are going to have a chat to us as well. It's Sunday afternoon, I should say. Big Freeze, Blockbuster, St Mary's and St Joseph's from Anthony Costa Oval. Thanks to APCO Cafe 24/7. Try the all-new Tradie Jaffle. Live, breathe, K-Rock Footy.
K-Rock's Tim and Jess.
So they're calling it a mini-moon. Essentially, it's just like a small asteroid. It's about 10 metres wide. It's coming so close to the Earth that it's getting picked up by the...
gravitational pull.
And it's going to do one loop
and then
get flung straight back out into the universe.
Yeah. But can we give it a more catchy name?
Murray the Moon.
Murray the Moon. There we go. Excellent. That's all I needed.
They're expecting Murray to start his orbit as of September 29.
That's nice. Now I'm worried for Murray. The Murray worry is quite high. Thank you very much.
Voted by a panel of their peers to most likely make you laugh whilst driving home in 2025. Tim and Jess on K-Rock. Your future, your hands. Study at the Gordon.
Add a little bit of, a sprinkling of,
Ooh,
and a pinch of. Oppie's Bistro at the Norlane Hotel has a new executive chef and a new head chef. The perfect ingredients for amazing food. The new menu is loaded with flavour, from herb-crusted barramundi to crispy pork belly. Plus steaks, 6 incredible parmas and burgers you're going to love. They've sure turned up the flavour. The new Oppie's Bistro menu at the Norlane Hotel, Princes Highway. norlanehotel.com.au.
Since a bloke named Bill started cutting timber in a mill back in 1980, Barwon Timber's been the builder's best mate ever since. Whether you stick framing or need prefab frames and trusses, Barwon Timber's got what you need for every building stage. Geelong owned and operated with trade quality products in stock, ready to go. Barwon Timber, Fellmongers Road, Breakwater. The team that builders just keep coming back for.
I'm going down to Barwon Timber.
Hamlin Homes, with over 40 years of commitment, building homes throughout Geelong and the Surf Coast. Hamlin Homes is family operated, born, raised and living in Geelong, and committed to thriving into the future. Committed to building quality, sustainable homes. Committed to supporting you throughout your building journey. Hamlin Homes, built on a commitment to local trades, using premium quality materials, including a roof made from Colorbond steel. Hamlin.com.au. CDB-U 52938.
Don't panic. Call Steamatic.
Steamatic Geelong introduces mobile laser cleaning services using world-leading technology. This is the future of cleaning and surface preparation using nothing more than the touch of light. Whether it's food manufacturing, injection mould and tool cleaning, or paint and corrosion removal, take advantage of this dustless, non-abrasive, chemical-free technology. Another winning solution from Geelong's cleaning and restoration specialists. Visit steamatic.com.au.
Since a bloke named Bill started cutting timber in a mill back in 1980, Barwon Timber's been the builder's best mate ever since. Whether you're stick framing or need prefab frames and trusses, Barwon Timber's got what you need for every building stage. Geelong owned and operated with trade quality products in stock, ready to go. Barwon Timber, Fellmongers Road, Breakwater. The team that builders just keep coming back for.
I'm going down to Barwon Timber.
Breakwater Metalland. Steel projects made easy. Need your steel cut to any size while you wait? Easy. Need your order delivered anywhere within 50 Ks? Easy. Want a better choice of steel products like flat bar, RHS, SHS and angle steel products? Easy. At Breakwater Metalland, they love talking steel and they'll recommend the right products to make your job easy. For your construction, landscaping or DIY project, choose Breakwater Metalland for steel products made easy. BreakwaterMetalland.com.au.
Thanks to our #1 ticket holder, ATCO. Fueled by ATCO Cafe 24/7.
Sunday afternoon football from Anthony Costa Oval. It is the Big Freeze blockbuster. Is
Birchie.
it Jane Birch?
Birchie
has come out as...
Well, she's come out as like half a footballer, half a cricketer, I think. She's got the cricket pads on, the cricket bat.
She's in her Bowen Heads
She's
gear.
in the Bowen Heads gear with her
Yes.
Bowen Heads footy jumper on.
She is.
Oh, that's gold.
I thought it was Brent Harvey at the start, but no, it's not.
Boomer.
Having a go at trying to hit some. So Luke Maher's actually throwing the ball into the air, and Birchie, you know, Kangaroos jumper with cricket pads and a bat. So she's having a little bit of fun here with the crowd.
So Luke Maher, that was a shocking throw.
It was.
Before the bounce for Team Tyre Power and the Ponds and Norlane Hotels. Team Tyre Power and the Ponds and Norlane Hotel. Get your friends together and have a fun day out with our friends at the Ponds and Norlane Hotels. And of course, get into KFC. Try the habanero hot and crispy at KFC today. The KFC X poll, Jay, 70% Joey's, 30% St Mary's. That's how it's running at this stage.
They've all been to church this morning. They've all prayed, and they've all prayed that St Joey's going to win. So that's great. That's
St Mary's Church.
Talking about praying, what about what little Jock McMahon, the former St Mary's president, went down as?
He has been to St Mary's Basilica this morning and got some robes.
Yep.
And it was amazing.
He's gone down as the Pope.
He went down as the Pope, and he had the whole thing. It was going on. There's going to be some great photos from this.
One of the sliders was, of course, Sally Flynn, KC, and she went down in her legal garb, in the robes and the wig, and her brother Chris Moore, coach of Inverleigh, been good enough to join us for Inspirations Paint. Good to see your sister put a lot of thought into it.
Don't tell her I wasn't here. I missed it. So I was picking up the whole front bar from the Hotham to bring him in. I missed it, but let's just pretend I saw it.
Thanks for joining us on KRockFootball.live. Appreciate your time. Good win for your footy club yesterday on what was an emotional day.
Yeah, look, it was. Long-time trainer, unfortunately passed away, and on the Friday. So, and a lot of sort of our senior side have been with him for 20, 25 years. So yeah, it was an emotional day, and it was good to get the win for him.
As a coach, and so Pete Lomas is the gentleman's name. As a coach, how do you deal with that with the players, especially those who are impacted that have, as you said, have been on the journey with him for a long time?
We have a meeting, obviously, before the game, and I just hit it on the head straight away, that there's going to be some people that are going to be dealing with it differently, and, respect them and help them and put your arms around them. And but the best way we can go about honouring him is to get on the ground and have a win.
I suppose that's when you find out as a coach, you're more than a coach. You become counsellor, you become clairvoyant, you become chaplain, all sorts of roles fall under that, which I suppose also working behind a bar is what you're doing during the week.
Yeah, you're right. And ask any coach in the local area, you do become that. So, it's just one of the roles you do at a footy club. And, it's just what you do.
You needed the win in terms of a pretty close season to stick with the top 5 yesterday.
Look, and I'll be brutally honest, I don't look at the ladder.
Okay, well, it's close.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, we set out with what we wanted to do and achieve for the year, and that was to get some games into these kids. And if we got wins along the way, that's just a bonus. But, you know, when you do start to have a look, you know, you can snatch a 4th or 5th position.
Yep.
And then, as Thompson showed last year, if you can get that 4th or 5th, then if everything aligns, you're a chance.
And some of those kids, can you tell us about some of them that you're blooding?
So I obviously Thompson loved to change their team sheets very late, and
no, really,
I was waiting for Devon Smith to play yesterday at the last minute, and I had a 19-year-old lined up to Logan Haverfield to go to Devon Smith, and I just thought, what a great learning experience for him to go to Devon Smith. And then that changed, so I put him on Daniel Freeman, which is another great thing to do. We had Will Stoney roll through one of the cams or troop, you know, on occasions, and just not for the whole game, but just go in certain you know, times just to see what you need to do and what he needs to do and improve in the off season.
Right.
Well, I was going to follow up with one of the kids I used to coach years ago at Bell Park. Bo Collins has come across this year. I just want to see how he's always been a hard nut and a great player. I just want to see how his transition from Belpay Steel to Inverleith's been.
Look, his training aspect, I don't think he missed the pre-season training. And I think sometimes you got to protect Bo from himself. He tries to get to every contest, and he tries to win every footy, and he's coming off the ground and he's spent. So we're trying to work on things that he can do to be able to have a bit more longevity on the ground. But, you know, he's one of the best on balls in the league, and, you know, he unfortunately injured the last couple of weeks, but he should be back after the bye.
Yeah, I still think he's capable of being one of the better midfielders in the GFL. To see him run around in the GD is a real luxury, so it's good to
and look, and the GD's full of those talented players that just like a little bit more relaxed atmosphere. You know, they don't want the 3 or 4 sessions per week and the team meetings, and you got to find your happy place in footy, and Bo's done that.
The week off, how do you treat it? Were you searching for it, or are you disappointed now you got a bit of momentum with this win?
No, look, the way our list is sort of structured at the moment, and no offence to our reserves players, they're going to be some good players in the next few years, but they're just not ready yet. So the 24 to 25 we've got to choose from for senior footy at the moment, they're pretty banged up. They've done a lot of stuff on the ground, so the week's good.
Yep. And just on Bo, back after that break?
Look, he should be. We had a bit of a fitness test, and we got very, very good trainers, or the medical doctors in training. He said, look, there's just a chance that he could do some more damage, so we just put him on ice, and we'll go through that, and hopefully 2 weeks it comes up all right.
Just the next crew to go down is Kelly Cartwright, star Paralympian, and Phoebe Mitchell, of course.
You got me, Kingy?
Great paraswimmer, yes. Down to you very quickly, Kurt.
Yeah, it's got Paul Hood here, who just went down as a little Papa Smurf. I don't know how Hoody's going to go coaching with all this blue on his face. It's not coming off today, that's for sure. Hoodie, they pushed you pretty quickly. I reckon you got airborne on that second bump.
Yeah, I think I'm built for maybe bumping, yeah. It was a lot of fun, actually. It was over a little bit too fast now that it's all happened. I wouldn't mind another go.
And how cold was the water? Obvious question.
Initially, it was a bit of a shock, yeah. It wasn't too cold once you got out. Lucky it's such a beautiful day, eh?
Oh, Hoody's got a bit of work to do to get the blue off his face. I think we'll be looking at that all afternoon, guys.
Good job. Thank you for that, Kirsch. Maury, appreciate you dropping by. Obviously, busy times in your personal life as well. Just keeping that bar just ticking along nicely there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing my nephew play in the seniors. I haven't seen him play a senior game. Ollie Flynn. So
goes okay.
Goes okay, and I'm going to go and see as many St Joey's and St Mary's reserve players and just hand out business cards with their phone number.
Dylan Sharp played well, by the way.
We've got a list for you, Maury.
See you later, Kingy.
Chris Waller joining us on Cairo Footy. Inspirations Paint, coach of Inverleith, dropping
Not also the recruiting manager at Inverleith too, are you? Here we go.
He's out very quick.
You fill many roles, Kingy.
Heath Jamison was loitering around here. I don't know where Jamo's disappeared to. He's out talking to Ron White.
I'll check the beer booth.
No, he's standing next to Ron White. Kirsch, you want to make where are you at the moment?
Probably half forward, flank?
Half forward. Oh, you are too. Oh, look at you. You're striding out too. Have a look at you.
But, no, the Phoebe Mitchell, Kelly Cartwrighter's Wonder Women.
Yes.
Or Wonder Woman. Both.
Yes, Wonder Woman times
going
two.
as Wonder Woman was quite impressive. So can't be too far away. I reckon we might be about 10 down. So Zach Tui will be among that crew, and there is a special slider, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Jamo's at the other half forward flank, Kirsch. If you want to go and just make your way, you might even try and drag him to here.
Turn left, Kirsch. Turn left and walk towards the boundary. There you go.
Maybe go and grab him and drag him into the K-Rock van, kicking and screaming. If you
he's near the dog there.
I hope he's got a sharper nose than work.
He doesn't catch anybody.
What we might do while Kirsch is doing that, we might take a break and we're before the bounce for Team Tyre Power and the Ponds and Norland Hotel, your one-stop shop for all tyres and wheels in Belmont, Drysdale, North Geelong and Torquay is Team Tyre Power. On the other side of this, hopefully, St Joseph's Premiership coach and Queenscliff coach Heath Jamieson to come and join us in the van for a quick chat. The all-new tradie Jaffel, only at APCO Cafe 24/7. Live, breathe, K-Rock footy.
Geelong's favourite way to wake up.
So if you have trouble bending, stretching, putting on socks as you get older, or if you were injured, so I've seen this hack.
I could use this.
Yeah, I know.
Because I have to roll on my back at the moment and kind of hook one on my big toe and just anything like that, just to get it started.
Of course you do. It's called foreplay.
In 2025, Geelong and the Surf Coast's favourite way to wake up is Tom, Lingy and Loggy on K-Rock 955. Visit one of Mimosa Homes' 50 displays across Melbourne and Geelong.
Since a bloke named Bill started cutting timber in a mill back in 1980, Barwon Timber's been the builder's best mate ever since. Whether you're stick framing or need prefab frames and trusses, Barwon Timber's got what you need for every building stage. Geelong owned and operated with trade quality products in stock, ready to go. Barwon Timber, Fellmongers Road, Breakwater. The team that builders just keep coming back for.
I'm going down to Barwon Timber.
Great news, Torquay and Warm Ponds. KFC is now open in your part of the world. Drive-through, takeaway, or on your favourite food delivery app. KFC Torquay and Warm Ponds, now open. Did someone say KFC?
When an emergency strikes, every second counts. That's why you need a trusted and reliable emergency department that provides you with the highest level of care. And that's exactly what you'll find at St John of God Geelong's Emergency Department. Open 7 a.m. to 10 p.m, 7 days a week. From chest pains to broken bones, St John of God Geelong's team of experienced doctors and nurses is there, ready to care for you. St John of God Geelong, caring for our community for 50 years.
Your dream home is closer than you think with Metricon, Australia's #1 home builder. With our fast track program, your contract is ready in 7 days and you can get to site in as little as 16 weeks. Plus, you can receive an upfront and transparent fast track saving on your stunning Metricon design. Contact us to see if you qualify and move in faster than you thought possible. Metricon, love where you live. Terms and conditions apply. CDBU 52967.
At Harvey Norman, Corio and Warn Ponds, meet the next generation of computing power, the new Intel Ultra processors. With AI and Windows Copilot, these computers have never been faster or smarter. For technology that's not just ahead of the curve, but bending the curve, talk to Geelong's experts in tech and discover how you can upgrade your world. Harvey Norman, Corio and Warn Ponds, proudly bringing you the future of computers, now.
At APCO, we know your time is precious. So download the APCO app to skip the queue and pay for your fuel from the comfort of your car. Love our Jaffles and award-winning coffee? Pre-order through the APCO app. No more waiting in line, just grab and go. Shop the way you want, when you want. Just search APCO app in your app store and start saving time today. APCO Cafe 24/7. We've got you.
That's the #1 ticket home at APCO. Fueled by APCO Cafe 24/7.
Paul Hood's just walked past us after going down the side as Papa Smurf.
Clean as a whistle, he said.
What about the on-brand from Zach Tui, our very own former Cat and Carlton superstar?
Reg.
What did he go down as, Joe?
He went as a life-size whoopee cushion.
That is very good. That is very, very Zach Tui. I think Kirsch is going to try and track him down at some stage. Also Birchie as well. I believe Birchie's words to me were, I have swim, sport and leisure with City of Greater Geelong, which is access ticket in your pool. So I think she's actually gone to the showers over there.
Are they open during the winter?
I think so, on the weekends.
Oh, right. Well,
Yes.
That's lucky for her.
So that's where she is.
Well done,
headed
Birchie.
Continuing our look around the leagues, and yesterday Queenscliff, for the first time since 2019, went down to McCartney Oval and came away with the 4 points against Torquay. They are up and about at the Cooter Bowl, 5-3 as we approach the halfway mark of the season, and their coach Heath Jamison's been good enough to join us on K-Rock Footy. Just made his way to the blockbuster, the former Joey's coach. Jamo, congratulations. You must be extremely rapt with your boys' performance yesterday down at Spring Creek Reserve.
Yeah, it's a really good win for us. You know, I think we've got a bit of a belief the last few weeks, but you never know away from Queenscliff. I think we're a really good side at Queenscliff, but I had that hesitation. Are we actually a good side, or are we just good when we play at home? So to go down to Torquay, the reigning premiers, who were probably pretty loaded, you know, I think Anderson may be missing not too many others. So to go down there and get the result against a quality outfit, and probably the way we did it, just speaking to Rowan then about, you know, we led all day and then they hit the front for the first time, 20-minute mark, I think, of the last quarter. So you would think the more experienced team probably runs over you there at home, but to our boys' credit, you know, we just clicked up a gear again and kicked the last, you know, next four goals. I think they kicked one late. So, yeah, it was probably the way we won, you know, and I spoke to you, Kingy, last night about our reserves winning yesterday I don't think Torquay had been beaten for a long time, and that set the tone for the day. You know, we play at different time slots, but we're really close playing group. So for them to do that and then us to come out afterwards, it was a pretty good Cooter Ball last night.
I was going to say, Aniki had their 100th anniversary celebration off a big win. What was the ball like, having done the double in the ones and twos?
Always get worried about our ball. We got a couple of loose guys, but I think most of them behaved last night, Kingy. Or maybe when I left at about 11:15, they started getting a little bit looser, but it was good day.
Hesse Street, I believe, became the scene of an iconic photo.
Yeah, I don't know how they did that, so they must have stopped the traffic.
Not there's a lot of traffic at whatever time.
No, that time of night in Hesse Street, it's pretty slow. So
Diamond Village down there at that time of the night.
Absolutely, but that's a good thing about playing footy in a small coastal town. You know, the town will shut down for the players if they're having a photo. Bad luck, cars. You'll have to wait to get through. So they're soaking it up a bit at the moment, which is good.
Is there no expectation outside of Queenscliff, a beautiful thing? Because nobody expects you to probably win or make finals, or nobody thought that, you know, when at the start of the season, I'm being genuine now, there was no expectation on you, so it's just like, well, we're just going to coach and play and just have some fun.
Yeah, I think that's the way that we would do it anyway. Yep. I think it's a really funny feel. You know, you go from coaching a footy club like Joey's and a lot of professional, you know, semi-professional AFL footballers, you would say, to coaching back to Queenscliff, to just a lot of players that just don't really care. You know, they just turn up and play, and you can't talk too much about the opposition because, you know, they don't know them.
You mentioned a name and they all look silly.
Yeah, you do. You literally, if you want to put some time into someone, you've got to, you know, show them some vision, or you've got to write a number on the board and say this is him and this is what he's done. So it's really quite unique, and it's probably unsettling for the first time, you know, like for me as a coach, because I just don't know what we're going to get, you know, and you know, our season's been a little bit like that. Like 5 weeks ago, I think Motta gave us a real touch-up up there, you know, and then we've beaten Drysdale, Amos and Torquay. So it's Jekyll and Hyde, but it's good fun, you know. It's helping me get through.
Is it different to the first time you were there, in terms of where you're at in terms of the journey with the team?
It's probably getting a little bit similar.
Yeah.
So it's probably getting a little bit similar.
It's got that feel, hasn't it, I reckon?
Well, we've got that. I think we played on 30 points every game this year, so we've got 14 points up our sleeve if we wanted to use them. But if we won't get anywhere near our salary cap, so
you're going to win it. You're going to win it as a Queenscliff game.
Yeah, we are. You know, and it's important.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Rowan will be testament to that with Colac. You know, like you've got to be. Yeah. There's got to be games for the locals, and if there's not, things can unravel quite quickly. So, I'm conscious of that, but that's probably a reason why the club wanted me to go back there is because that was always going to be my approach, and yeah, it's good to see.
Some of those kids we were talking about just before, which are some of those kids that have really stepped up and started to play some good footy off the back of probably getting more opportunities than they would have in the past?
Yeah, I think Solbo tells one that just jumps to the top of my head now. He turned to me last week and said, it's my 50th game next week. I'm like, oh, that's good. How old are you now? He's like, oh, I've just turned 19. You know, so guys like that, Sincotta in the ruck, he's similar. He's I think 19, just a big mountain of a man, and getting better each week. But yeah, those young guys. But then, you know, I think with the results going like it is, it makes the older guys sort of, and I shouldn't say older guys, so they're not that old themselves, but Whitley and Durran and these guys have just got you know, another sense, a burst of energy, I suppose, that they probably didn't think they were going to get. So, yeah, with the young guys playing well, these older guys now are like, how good's this? You know, how good's footy again? So, yeah, there's a lot of people that are putting in a lot of work. It's good to see.
Yeah, that's good. A fella I'm pretty close with, Luke Ford. He's come from, obviously, Grovedale there in the GFL and gone down. Obviously, work commitments and all the other kind of stuff is, as we see these days, blokes at GFL are starting to venture back to the BFL. It's only made the competition stronger. How's he gone with his leadership qualities back at
Yeah, 40's really good. So 40, he's just a level head, you know, and there's not much carry on to him. He just goes about his work every week. You know, he presents himself really well. He's quiet, bit unassuming, but, you know, when he talks, people listen. So, yeah, no, we've been really happy with getting Luke to the footy club. Just another senior head that we needed. So we've surrounded the young fellas with guys like Luke. You can't really go wrong. So, yeah, his form's been good. Last year we used him as an on-baller because we needed to. We're a bit small in there, but now he's back to half-back in the back line, and yeah, just a really calm sort of player and one that's helping the young fellas.
Next week you'll be front and square at Drew Oval again because it's the 10-year reunion of the 2015 boys, of which you coach, that drought-breaking flag, ending 26 years of heartache. And there'll be one player running around here today that was part of that. I think he's about the only one left that's still playing, and that's Al Hickey. And I think Braden Hocking's the only Newtown player left. Jason and I were doing a little bit of research earlier on that. But what's the most vivid memory from that day 10 years on?
I think the way the game was played, I think people still talk about the Dale swing to forward, and but I just think the emotion after the game, you know, we needed to win that. We'd lost a lot of grand finals, St Joseph's, and yeah, if we hadn't have won that game, I think we were raging favourites. It could have went very south, I reckon. So just, you know, half time we're down. Forbesy kicks the first goal of the third quarter, and it's probably looking, it's getting a bit scary there. So, you know, Dale's switch forward, and the way that quarter sort of played out was huge. But, you know, just I think if you do go back and watch the game, our midfield just got on top. You know, we had some pretty good midfielders then. One's doing it now out here, Tommy Atkins, who just didn't want to get beaten. You know, Keris, Ryan Williams. We, you know, I had some pretty good bullets, and once we started shooting in that third quarter, we were pretty hard to stop. So I just got a text message then off Dan Gibbs, you know, who played a great game. You know, he turned the game too in that third quarter. So, yeah, I think the memory from me is just we needed to win it, and we won it. You know, it was good, and it probably led to winning a couple of grand finals that we probably shouldn't have won, you know, a bit later in time. That's what grand finals do. You know, if you get that feel for winning one, you know, you want to win them all the time. So I think that's what happened. That turned the footy club, you know, and then one turned into three, and, you know, Ronnie's got the boys going really well at the moment, so we're hoping that can continue now.
Absolutely. What have you made of the discussion about the Ballerines? Future is probably the preeminent coach of, probably you and Dom are the two most senior figures coaching in the competition.
Yeah, it's funny. I think we're just rocking the boat to say that our competition's okay, and I think that's all we're saying. You know, and I think we just want AFL Bowen to understand that there's some problems in other competitions. We see the disparity in scores in the GFL, but the Ballerines worked hard to sort our competition out, and I think the Ballerine competition as a whole has a really good feel to it, and I think the presidents don't want to lose that. So Queenscliff versus Anglesey, is a great game to be involved in, and you get a lot of support on both sides, but Queenscliff versus Lara, probably not going to have that same feel. So we don't want the fabric of our competition, just because some clubs aren't probably going as well as what they were. I think the simple fix to all of it would just be to, and this is probably going to be controversial, but I don't know if the point system has done its job. So the point system in the GFL, St Joseph's, St Mary's, Newtown, these guys with the best juniors are always going to be the strongest clubs, because you get your one-pointers on an absolute platter. And, it's no secret that these guys are going well, because they do a lot of work, and they do a lot of work in their junior programs to get them well. So they deserve to be in the place they are. But whilst they're in that place, you're not going to see a drop-off from the big clubs in the GFL, because, they've just got that conveyor belt of junior players coming through, and you only get a few a year. But it's easier to get 3 1-pointers than 3 6-pointers. So, I think it's a pretty easy fix.
Not a truer word is spoken.
Yeah, but we'll see how we go.
Should the Ballerine have Premier League status?
Yes.
I think it's heading towards that way. I think it's a there's a lot of good players playing in it, and a lot of good players want to come to the competition. And if they don't turn it into a Premier League status, I worry about how some clubs are going to fit those players in. So you can't just keep bringing good players into the competition when your salary cap's 80 grand or 88,000, whatever it is.
I think we need a 3-hour segment for this.
Yes. Look. Where's he from? It's just like the voice of reason from somewhere.
Dickie No, just sort of bobbing up under the desk. Where are you, Kirsch? No, he's disappeared again. Jamo, we appreciate you dropping by.
No worries.
Enjoying watching the Cooters ride at the moment, 5-3. Bowen Heads at Bowen Heads next week.
Bowen Heads. Doesn't get any easier.
We're on the bandwagon, aren't we? We're on now.
Can you get Isaac Grant to answer his phone?
He doesn't answer?
No. Trying to get him on the podcast.
He answers it for Jamo.
Yeah.
Just can you have a chat to him for us?
I can.
That would be appreciated. Thanks for joining us for Inspirations Paint, and always a pleasure. And enjoy next Sunday. We'll be up there as well. We're going to hopefully try and get Tommy Atkins to come down and have a couple of words about the day.
He'll do that for sure.
Yeah, we'll try and make that happen.
Got young Cooper Jamison here too. He said, just make sure you get my name on radio.
And we did. Well done, Jamo.
Look, he's so happy about it.
Heath Jamison joining us on KRockFootball.live and FM 88.5 here at the ground. Always a pleasure to see the coach of the Cooters, one of the most revered figures in local footy. We better take a break, come back, because we are not too far away from bounce. Footy! It is time for a footy. It's been a long pre-game, but great to have Chris Moore drop by. Catch up with both the relevant coaches from today's game in Ronnie Watt and Ben Bosley.
Stop it.
Ben Bosley.
Stop it.
And, of course, having a chat with Heath Jamison, who had some very interesting things to say.
Oh, I'm sure that will...
Wasn't wrong.
Yeah, absolutely not.
And it might find itself in the public sphere at some stage. Win free coffee for a year at Abco Cafe 24/7. Joey's in St Mary's, the big freeze blockbuster from Anthony Costa Oval. Live, breathe, Carra Footy.
K-Rock's Tim and Jess.
They've got double-coated Tim Tams.
That's the best one.
Well, the other day, I saw a triple-coated one.
A triple-coated Tim Tam?
Triple-coated Tim Tam. They exist, my friend.
Stop it. Would that be a Tim or a Tim Tam?
I feel like a Tim Tam.
No, I reckon Tim Tam.
That's got to be better, right? Or maybe it's too much. I don't know. We'll find out.
I'll have to find out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Will. All right.
Drive home in 2025 with Tim and Jess on K-Rock 955. Your future, your hands. Study at the Gordon.
We love your projects. Your big paint projects, your little paint projects. we go nuts for kitchen painting projects. We get amped over bathrooms, and we high-five fist pump over your wallpapering the hall project. We love the smell of paint in the morning. We're Inspirations Paint Stores, and together with you, we can do amazing things. What's your next project?
Inspirations Paint, Grovedale, 138 Torquay Road.
At APCO, we know your time is precious. So download the APCO app to skip the queue and pay for your fuel from the comfort of your car. Love our Jaffles and award-winning coffee? Pre-order through the APCO app. No more waiting in line, just grab and go. Shop the way you want, when you want. Just search APCO app in your app store and start saving time today. APCO Cafe 24/7. We've got you.
Update your home with a new floor from Harvey Norman. Great deals on versatile hybrid flooring, including beautiful Australian timber, pine and oak designs from just $45 per square metre. Luxurious oak natural timber flooring from only $85 per square metre. Or family-friendly carpets. Soft, quiet and warm underfoot. Great value from just $17 per square metre. From measure and quote to expert installation in your home. Come on in and see the specialists at Harvey Norman. Your locally owned and operated Harvey Norman, Corio and Warren Ponds.
Your dream home is closer than you think with Metricon, Australia's #1 home builder. With our fast track program, your contract is ready in 7 days and you can get to site in as little as 16 weeks. Plus, you can receive an upfront and transparent fast track saving on your stunning Metricon design. Contact us to see if you qualify and move in faster than you thought possible. Metricon, love where you live. Terms and conditions apply. CDBU 52967.
All this footy making you peckish? Time for some Zambrero Feel Good Mix. Incredible burritos, bowls and nachos. Cook slow and serve fast with only the freshest, most delicious ingredients. Plus, when you buy a regular or big burrito or bowl, Zambrero donates a meal to someone in need through the Plate for Plate initiative. Feel extra good about every bite. Grab your Zambrero now. Geelong West, Ocean Grove and Torquay. Or order online so you don't miss any of the action. Zambrero, Feel Good Mix.
Thanks to our #1 ticket holder, APCO. Fueled by APCO Cafe 24/7.
Thanks to Team Tyre Power and the Ponds and Norland Hotels, where before the bounce, Team Tyre Power, your one-stop shop for all tyres and wheels in Belmont, Drysdale, North Geelong and Torquay. Matt Kershaw's getting boundary side for Leopold Sporties. We've had the big freeze. Who did you like the most out of all those that dressed up costume-wise, Kirsch?
Definitely Little Jock. He was the best by far. He went to a bit of effort, Little Jock. And the crowd loved it too. I'll tell you what, the crowd's input down here was fantastic. It was like a goal being kicked every time someone went down. So huge crowd, great input, great vibe down here.
There's an all-abilities game being played. Geelong West are playing St Joey's over on Geelong Cricket Ground as well. So it's a real carnival atmosphere here at the moment.
I have got a slider, Kingy.
Who have you been able to track? Oh, you've been able to find her own.
She is.
All right. Down to you, Kirsch.
Down here with Jane Birch, one of our own slider. Birchie, tell us about that experience.
No, it was absolutely amazing. It was a lot colder than I actually thought. I don't know why. I didn't think it was going to be that cold, but yeah, I was in a bit of shock, but so much fun, and the atmosphere backstage, it was just amazing to be a part of.
So for the listeners that might have just tuned in, what did you go down as? Well, Jace thought you were Brent Harvey from North Melbourne.
Well, close, but I did go the sort of female line. So growing up, loved footy and cricket, funnily enough, and I've been fortunate enough to play those two sports here in Geelong. And so I went with someone who's done that dual sporting role and reached the highest level. So that was Emma Carney, captain of North Melbourne, 8-time All-Australian, and she played WBBL for the Stars. So I thought, what better way? Kingy called it early and said I was going to win my premiership medal. So I thought, well, why not? I'll incorporate that and had that dangling around the neck as well.
How good. And obviously you've had the shower. You thawed out fully?
Well, you know what? This sun has worked wonders, and I thought I had all these plans of where I was going to shower, and I didn't even end up having a shower because this solar energy is enough to warm the bones, and I'm pretty toasty under the jacket here. I've got a few of my electric hand warmers and things for during the afternoon if I need.
Well, you go get yourself sorted and take this microphone off me.
Certainly will. Well, you're as humorous as I, Kirsch.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Birchie. Kirsch, thank you for your work in the pre-game. We do appreciate that, and we'll have you back in the experts chair for the Sporting Globe next week. Get out of the way of the St Joey's boys. I'd love to see the 48 just run through you. Oh, yeah, he got him. Love it. He's done his shoulder. Is that a little St John of God injury update?
That's his bad shoulder.
Is he giving you a stinger there, has he, Kirsch?
Yeah, it's not the great shoulder. I think he might have known that too when he dug his elbow right in the middle of it.
St John of God Hospital, caring for our community for 50 years. Kirsch is actually not too far away. Myers Street is only a stone's throw from Anthony Costro. What's the other? Have you damaged a fingernail too, Kirsch? You got to turn it on, mate.
I was in a bit of a rush getting the battery change over and the plastics cut me finger to pieces. I've had a bad 15 minutes.
We've got listeners all and those watching through AFL Barwon TV as well. I think the stream may have kicked in, so welcome to those to AFL Barwon TV. Travis Robertson watching somewhere in Bali, I suspect.
He texted me this morning and said, where can I watch it? You can watch it on AFL Barwon TV. I said he was recovering from a couple of bintings yesterday, so well done, Robbo. Good on you.
And I got on the broadcast. And I believe Scott Hosking is somewhere in Europe.
Is he really?
Actually, I don't think he's the only Hosking in Europe. I think Craig might be there as well. Oh. Thank you for lunch, Scotty, by the way. The KFC was absolutely outstanding. And we've got the KFC X poll. Get into KFC today and taste the habanero hot and crispy. I need to have a look at that poll because we posed the question and 2 unbeaten teams. I don't know whether it's as clear cut as a sort of a 50-50 arrangement. It's right now sitting at, with 6 minutes to go, 70% St Joey's, 30% St Mary's.
Oh, there you go.
Well, so yeah, not bang on the mark. Head-to-head for Breakwater Meadowlands. Steel Projects made easy row. You've got a head-to-head that is going to influence this contest this afternoon.
Well, I did a little bit of thinking last night and I've come up with one on each line. So I reckon in the midfield where I think the game could be won, I reckon Blood and Gow head-to-head. So you're the captain of St Mary's, put the target on the best player in the midfield for Joey's. In the forward line, I've got Knights going to Dowling. I reckon that should be a really good matchup. One's a silky left footer, one's a Dow defender that's done a couple of jobs already this year.
Also a left footer.
Also, probably not as clean as left footer, but also a left footer. And I think Connor's, I've got him going to Schaefer. I just reckon Schaefer's such an important player. His first couple of games back, as Ronnie said, it's the third game the boys have played together. I reckon if he can nullify Schaefer, who I think is probably the best mid-sized forward in the comp, I think that might help him.
Sprague hurts, I reckon, because he would have got one of Edwards, Morrison or De Grande.
Yeah, I think so. And on a ground here, it's funny, even though it's long, the centre-half forwards get lost. So unless the centre-half forwards are coming right up the wing to take the ball, I think those mid to small-side forwards are going to have a bigger impact.
Well, looking forward to that this afternoon. Breakwater Meadowlands Steel Projects made easy. Great to have them on board in season 2025. Of course, you can find them on Leather Street in Breakwater. Number 44, construction, landscaping or DIY, steel cut to your size. The two captains have made their way into the middle. Al Hickey playing game 139 this afternoon. Just waiting for Jack Blood, who's playing game 110. We did touch on Luke Webb earlier, playing his 100th club game. This is his 80th at senior level. There's been 20 games of his career played at reserve grade level. He just got squeezed a couple of times, which, considering he came over as a VFL player,
if he didn't muck around at Strathfield, say, for a year too, he'd be there already as well.
Yeah, this is very true.
Yes.
So we'll monitor him getting to those 100 senior games sometime next year. But he's still playing some very good footy as an intercept defender and probably one of the best distributors outside defensive 50 in the comp row.
For sure, yeah. He's one of those players that you want to nullify his influence on the game, but I did see he had his knee strapped, so it'll be interesting to see how well he moves, but he doesn't have to run that fast to get a lot of the ball.
No, he just seems to, might be one of those players that just knows where to be. It's quite uncanny.
Yeah, and to be honest, he's got a bit of that Dane Swan about him. He doesn't look like he's running fast, but he actually covers the ground pretty well.
I'm just having a look at the board. Paul Hood's taken out the board for St Joey's just to see what's on it. Tackle pressure, press up, and control the ball.
Yeah, did anybody
pretty standard stuff, I would have thought.
Now, did anybody for Goddings catch the toss of the coin?
I think St Mary's won it and are kicking to the southern end in the first term, and I could be completely wrong, but I think that's the way Jack Blood pointed. Yeah, well, it is. I'll get it. I think I'll get it right.
So welcome to those watching through AFL Barwon TV, listening through carrotfootball.live and FM 88.5 here at the ground. I know there's a number of cars parked around the ground. Some parked their cars actually last night to make sure they had a good vantage point for this blockbuster clash.
Smart move.
Williamstown 22 lead Geelong 12 around the grounds for Leopold Sporties in the VFL clash at Williamstown, and in the game at Port Melbourne between Port and Werribee, it's 2-1 Werribee leading 22 minutes into the first quarter. So
the FA Cup final.
Yeah, goals proving a little bit hard to come by as Birchie's going to make her way very quickly into position. We'll get down to Birchie in a second, check in with her again. I know, Birchie, you touched on Emma Carney, but Jess Cameron also played for North Melbourne and played WBBL as well. So you covered off on her as well with your little kit this afternoon.
Yeah, I was having a great chat to Britt behind backstage there, and she said there's actually a number that have done that. I think Jess Duffin was another one as well.
Oh, sorry, Jess Cameron being Jess. Sorry, I was going with her maiden name there.
Yeah, so yeah, killed a few birds with one stone there, but a bit of a common theme. But I thought, well, it was very, I thought I was an excellent stunt double for Emma Carney today.
How many of those did you connect with? Luke Maher's throwing of the ball to you?
Well, that's right. And I came down yesterday and I sort of had this vision that I was going to whack the balls out, and then I saw there's two sort of panels at each side of the slide. I thought, gee, I've got to go up and over these these obstacles. This is going to be a degree of difficulty had increased. So yes, we didn't practice that at all. So I said the thrower is the most important part here. So we only got about 3 right, but that's okay.
The KFC X poll is majority St Joseph's. Who are you tipping this afternoon, Birchie?
Yeah, I'm going St Joey's by 27 points.
Laurie Hill, our executive producer, brought us our KFC. Thank you to the Hoskings. St Joey's by 24 for Laurie Hill. Rowan McSparron in the expert chair for the Sporting Globe.
Draw.
Wow, okay, there we go. If only we do get that, that would be fantastic. Jason Doherty.
St Joseph's by 2 points after the siren.
Oh, who's kicking the goal?
Joel Edwards.
I'm tipping Joey's today, so it is a clean sweep for Joey's. 17 points will be the margin this afternoon. I think they've just got a bit more experience than some of the youngsters. Interesting, Braden Ham starting on the bench for St Mary's.
Oh, well, maybe they're making sure there's no match-up straight away.
And Jesse Travellini too, by looking at it.
I didn't catch Jesse, Luke Bartolo as well. So we'll keep an eye on some matchups for Wombat Gully Plant Farm. Elijah Wales and Louis Antonac back into the side. They actually played VFL a couple of weeks ago, Louis Antonac.
Yeah. So Joey's a kicking to the northern end too in the first term.
Thank you for that.
That's all right.
No, they're kicking to the southern. You're right.
Who?
You said Joey's.
I said Mary's were kicking to the
Sorry.
southern.
Yeah.
You even got the second part wrong.
Yeah. The Mary's are going one way, St Joe's are going the other.
He tried to correct himself and didn't. First quarter action thanks to Harvey Norman. Here's Jace.
Fletcher Hughes gets it down. Jared Garner back in the team. Gets a left foot kick for St Mary's to half forward. Burt comes out at pace, grabs it as well for St Mary's, but then he gets tackled across half forward. He gets it again. Kick was smothered. Big pack around it already. Handball came out from Jack Blood. Well, that's a high tackle. Should be a free kick, and got told. And Finney, 50 as well. Oh, early. And a free kick and 50 to Bailey Cockerell, who's going to run straight to the goal square and kick the first goal for St Mary's. So that was, I think it was Cal Mitchell who came in head high, and then a bit of a push and a shove after it. And that is the shortest 50 in living memory, because I thought it was only 45 here, the Lions.
No, they're 50s.
Are they 50? Oh, gee whiz, I'll tell you what, we'll have to get a tape measure out. But Bailey Cockerell's put it through, and first score of the afternoon took 50 seconds for St Mary's. They're 1 straight 6. They lead St Joey's yet to score. Harvey Norman, K-Rock, first quarter scoreboard. Good start, Ro.
Yes. Yeah, good start. Nice little clearance there. Jared Garner, he's been doing it for the best part of 15 years, so he's probably one that you're going to have to watch in there as well.
I don't know whether this is his last game or next week before he heads off to the World Test Championship final. He and Damien McMahon are just disappearing mid-season break, and then I think Jared might be going on to Greece and then New York.
Tom's his travel agent.
Back in the middle, McCoy winning the tap down. Keelan Betson does the roving for Joey's, but he's going nowhere, wrapped up in a tackle, and we'll get a ball up.
Done with that hair, Tom. Keelan.
Yeah, not sure. McCoy will go again against Hughes. He won the tap again, McCoy. Keelan Betson did the roving again. Blood wrapped him up with assistance from Jansen, and once again, we'll have another stoppage. So this is our third go. Back in the middle. McCoy winning the tap again. Keelan Betson does the roving again. Tries to fend off Blood, and the ball is not coming out, and we will do it again. So this is number 4 as we tick past 2 minutes played on the Bowen Foods first quarter time clock. good-sized crowd is ringing Anthony Costa Oval. McCoy again winning the tap down, but Blood doing the roving and clearing towards half forward. A bouncing ball. It eludes Rudd and Betson. Tracking it back is Webb. Kicks on his non-preferred left to half back for Joey's. Looking for Birch. Ball from behind from Harry McMahon. Knocked it towards the boundary line and out. And we'll get a boundary throw in just forward to the wing, favouring St Mary's. Out of sight of Anthony Costa Oval. St Mary's 1 straight 6, courtesy of a goal from Bailey Cockrell off a 50-metre penalty. Joey's are yet to score. Thanks to Harvey Norman, Corai and Warren Ponds. Best brains, best range, best prices guaranteed at Harvey Norman.
Hughes pushed out of the way by McCoy in the ruck contest, but he got it again, Hughes, and then got one to Jack Blow, who got one high. And just in between centre wing and half foot on the outer side. They're not happy with each other, both teams. Nick Connors having a crack at James Hickey, but in the end, Blood goes towards the Paul Peck, Lockie Peck pocket, goes towards Garner. Handball came up for St Mary's, but working overtime with St Joey's defenders. And that is Liam Betson who put the big tackle on there. A ball up in between the half forward and forward pocket position.
You're on the mark. Roy Connors has gone to Chafer.
Yep.
McCoy tried a big thump away. Didn't really get a hand to it for St Joey's. Pack still there. Big pack around it as well. Comes back towards McCoy. Got it out the back somehow. Now they can run free. Harry Smith from half back towards the middle of the ground, but St Mary's sitting nicely behind the ball. Rayner takes the mark right in the middle of Anthony Costa Oval.
Keaton Rayner with it in the short sleeves today. Takes on Lewis on the mark and runs forward to the centre circles to drive a helicopter inside forward 50. And Mitchell, coming off his man, takes the mark on the chest for St Joey's. One of a handful of premiership players still running around in the red, gold and black from the glory days of 15, 17 and 18. Drives a kick towards half-back. Edwards his target. 3 spoil, including Pendlebury and also Hamish Burke to knock it out of bounds, and we'll get a boundary throw in at left half forward.
Been all St Mary's so far. 4 inside 50s, and Joe's haven't even seen the ball past halfway yet.
Curse high stats.
What about the shag and Ollie Hennessy? What's going on there?
Quality equipment for hire and sales. Boundary throw in. McCoy front position, although Hughes got there and actually grabbed it out of the ruck but turned it over a handball. James Hickey went to handball but kicked around the corner to half forward, wanting to Grandy. Back with the flight, McMullen in the Wombat Gully Plan Farm matchup. Couldn't find it. Looped a handball over the top. Lewis under pressure from Rayner, lost it. De Grandy pounces on the outside of the right boot. He puts it through for a minor score. First score of the afternoon for Joey's. Paddy de Grandy behind. 4.5 minutes played on the Barham Foods time clock. Joey's 1 behind Mary's. 1 straight 6.
Pendlebury going to do the kicking and duties for St Mary's. As Ben Bosley told us before the game, runs the defensive phase of the game for St Mary's. He's going to kick it into the outer side towards half back. Goes towards Betson in the end, who went there, the 2 Betsons. And Liam and Keelan in there, off the back of the pack though, Ballard. He gets the handball on the outside to Harry McMahon, close to the boundary line, squeezed by James Hickey. Kick around the corner was very nice on centre wing to Jansen, who gets it over the top, and they keep running now. Garner along half forward, done it a lot of times here, and Anthony Costa goes towards Burke, who worked his way to the front and read it the better and took the mark at the Paul Peck pocket, and will shoot for goal from 25 out, 45-degree angle.
Such an unassuming player. Burke, he's just got the long arms, very wiry. You think you move him off the ball and he just gets good angles.
Been in good goal scoring form for St Mary's this season. Kicked a lazy 10 against Lara with Paddy Dowling a couple of weeks ago, and has been a good target for them since Sam Dobson has left the club. He comes in, right foot kick, and you build him up and he misses. 3 for 1 behind. And they go to 1-1-7 now, St Mary's. They lead St Joey's 1 behind. Harvey Norman K-Rock first quarter scoreboard, 6 minutes played, Barwon Foods time clock.
22 goals for the season to, I think, be equal leader in the race for the Suto medal. Not that it's called that. We were supposed to hear this week some of the medals for...
They've been a bit busy.
They have been a little bit. Long ball to half back. Hennessy flies, and Hennessy has been paid the mark. He held on to it long enough, and Gow's got to give it back as it's a mark, not play on advantage. Hennessy towards forward of the wing and in front of the scoreboard onto the chest. Coming up is Oscar Morrison. He turns and kicks quickly. Chafer has Rayner for company. Goes with the one hand. Couldn't take the mark. Hamish Burke front of the pack. Gives a handball off. Travellini. Kick around the corner is nice. And Harry McMahon coming up and taking on the chest. It's like Harry McMahon after having a great goal scoring year last year as he goes short to hand. Didn't go 50 15. Gets it back to Harry McMahon. Gives a handball to Pendlebury, who loops it towards right half back. They'll get out of trouble. Dowling, his handball though, set a bit of a task for Connors. We'll get it thrown in just forward of the wing, favouring Joes. It's like Harry McMahon's gone and taken Damien's role on the wing, it appears, and that's why he hasn't had the same goal-kicking numbers as last year.
Yeah, that's right. They've thrown him around a little bit, and I suppose with some of these younger players coming in, you want some more experience up near around the footy.
Just forward to centre wing, ball up for St Mary's, goes down to the front. Dowling gets it down to Bartolo, tried to get back on the left now, gives it to Dowling, short little kick, that's not going to go 15. 50 out from the St Joey's goal. Chafer, he went over the top of it, so did Al Hickey. Pack develops. Oh, Ollie Hennessy got ripped to the ground. Keep an eye on that, he got smashed. And doing his best John Oates impersonation. Ball 55 from goal for St Joey's. McCoy gets there after a long run up. Bartolo, handball over the top, set a task for Blood. He got the handball free. Go forward again for Hughes. They worked it along centre wing. St Mary's kick around the corner towards centre and towards half forward. The front of the pack, Rudd, left foot kick was good. Got it inside to Flynn. Now he runs 65 from goal. Long, open, forward, 50, and at the back, read it the better. Took the mark, and that was Keys to worked his way back, and he has taken the mark and will shoot for goal from 20 out directly in front.
Definitely been the transition game at the minute. Whichever team's winning the footy around the source at the moment at St Mary's, the transition through the middle of the ground's been very impressive.
So Matt Keys back in the team this week after being with North Melbourne. He is going to shoot for goal at the northern end. 20 out for the second for St Mary's, and he's not going to have any trouble with that. He puts it through, so I got a 2-1-13, the home side. They lead St Joey's, one behind, and that's on the Harvey Norman K-Rock first quarter scoreboard. Harvey Norman Cry, Warren Ponds, best brands, best range, best prices guaranteed at Harvey Norman.
All St Mary's so far, isn't it?
They're transitioning beautifully off half-back, aren't they? Just those chain of handballs. They know how to play this ground really well, don't they?
And you see their wing, even though it's a skinny ground, their wingers actually hold their width on the outside, and the amount of times they get the ball wide and open space, it's very, very good to watch.
Umpires Brown, Wilson, and one-time K-Rock umpire of the year, Chris Jones, who throws it into the air for McCoy and Fletcher Hughes. Hughes winning the tap down this time. Hose will track it. Dowling will track him. Just nudged him off the footy, Dowling, but Gow will come up with it. He had it knocked from his grasp. In fact, it was nice. Betts and a handball to Alex Hickey on the burst. Banging it long inside forward 50. Edwards or Morrison had cleared the pack and landed on the chest of Oscar Morrison, who marks 45 out from goal, and they'll get their first set shot of the afternoon from the star young forward, our Leopold Sporties player of the day on Anzac Day from memory. We'll have a shot to try and get the first on the board for the afternoon for the visitors. In front of a good crowd that has turned out this afternoon to watch this blockbuster clash between 1 and 2 on the ladder. Morrison, stutter step, runs to 48, hangs it out to the right, tries to work it back, and he does. Lovely finish from Oscar Morrison. First of the afternoon for Joey's, and they cut the margin to 6. There, 1-1-7. St Mary's at 2-1-13. Opening quarter action thanks to Harvey Norman, Corio and Warren Ponds. Best brands, best range, best prices guaranteed at Harvey Norman. And the fence banging has started early.
I wish Kirsch wouldn't have bring his cousins to the footy with him. I tell you what, unbelievable.
He mightn't have got away with it with Kershaw. He might have got a clip on the way back through.
You got to be better at that, Rowan. Come on. It was a good kick, wasn't it, Oscar?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep. Great shot.
So back in with their first goal, St Joey's. Hughes goes up again. He's winning the ruck contest, but McCoy's second effort was good. Cockerell at the back, handball. Standing start, Dowling. He got the handball back to half-back. Travellini's had a shave. Looks very clean cut at half-back there, Jesse. And the ball goes out wide and it hasn't, unfortunately, hit the target, which was Jack Blood. Gets up a little bit proppy, but it will be out of bounds. And we'll have a boundary throw on the outer side, just forward of the centre wing for St Mary's.
10 3/4 minutes played on the Barham Foods time clock. Sells the freshest fish direct to you, Donga Road, North Geelong. McCoy and Fletcher Hughes. It's a shallow throw in. Hughes was able to get out the front of the pack, and Jack Wilson, the second gamer, a high ball into the right forward pocket. Burke had to play from behind. That was Sam knocking it away towards the boundary line and out. Keith couldn't take it. Boundary umpire signals the old-fashioned leg by, and we'll have it hurled into play. So right forward pocket, northern end of the ground. St Mary's in attack and leading early by 6, 2-1-13, playing 1-1-7.
So ruck contest, Rudd is going to do the work up forward for St Mary's. Going to be up against McCoy for St Joey's, boundary umpire. And throw in now. McCoy pushed past it by Rudd, gave it to Wales, who ran past it, got beautifully tackled by James Hickey. Wasn't going anywhere in the end. And Hickey will take a resultant free kick for holding the ball inside their defensive 50 for St Joey. Straight down the middle, looking for Hose. Has to be good against the bigger Hughes, and was. He goes now and plays on. Goes towards half forward. Lewis goes up. Sticks it. Takes the mark at right half forward. Open forward line. Morrison comes in. He wants to go over the head of him. Back towards the top of the goal square, but getting back there. Pendlebury read it the better. And De Grande had a couple against him. He wasn't going to beat both of them. And Pendlebury takes the mark inside defensive 50 for St Mary's.
Looks to come broadcast side. Michael Rudd is his target, but Edwards has got in the way and taken the mark at right half forward. Too far out to score for St Joey's. The numbers have rolled back. There's plenty of navy blue and green jumpers, so he's going to have to be precise. He wasn't. Bradenham got in the way of Morrison. Handball. Rudd went looking for Lang. Under pressure from Chafer. That was high. Just a little overzealous in the tackle. Mitch Chafer, who laid plenty of them against Colac before their break. Had 7 tackles. He short kicked there by Lang. Actually, a hand on that from Chafer. It deflected back to Lang in the end, and he'll put a kick onto the chest of Bailey Cockrell, and the former Lara Cat has it in front of the Don Matheson Pavilion. Wants to take on Henderson on the mark. Got a handball away under pressure. The teammate just knocked it back towards the boundary line. Henderson happy to see it out against Jansen. They get a stoppage, and that's good forward frontal pressure coming there from St Joey's to hold it in row.
Yeah, I think their awareness there was really good. They just didn't switch off for a moment there, so it's good to see him get another stoppage inside 50.
So boundary throw in. Hughes has worked his way down there for St Mary's. Joel Edwards will look like to do the ruck work for St Joey's up forward. Ball's come back from the massive crowd in front of the Don Matheson Pavilion here at Anthony Costa Oval. Thrown in now. It's going to be a short boundary throw. I don't know where Oscar Morrison and Fletcher Hughes thought they were going to get that, but the ball comes from Gow. Top of the square for St Joey's. Pendlebury goes up. He can't take the mark off hands. Good. Edwards slide the handball out to Hose. He put the ball around the corner and has kicked the goal. James Hose with the Metricon goal of the day. He walked around on his right foot amongst a myriad of players and kicked the goal. And the Bannockburn youngster has put the second on the board for St Joey's and ties things up here. 2-1, 13 apiece. Harvey Norman, K-Rock. First quarter scoreboard.
I think Joey's would be happy with the way the scores are at the moment. St Mary's have had a lot of the play early, but they've just done enough with it, and they've looked really dangerous going forward.
He's a quality youngster, James Hose.
That was a good finish.
There's a Rookie of the Year from all 3 local competitions in the Joey's lineup today.
Oh, there you go.
Hose, McCoy and Hunter Lewis. They're all Rookies of the Year. Tapped down by Burke doing the ruck work against Morrison. Joey's a look to get out of trouble here, although brought down in the tackle was Antonak, and it's going to spill now for Gow. Gow, a long ball inside forward 50 to Grande in a one-on-one. McMullen with a good spoil, but the front of the pack, Lewis will look to track it. Lang got in the way. De Grande, the loose footy, tried to get a handball back to Kershaw. Haven't called him yet. Wales turned it over. Chance here for Gow outside 50. Long ball to the goal square. Hit the post. Despite a valiant effort from Harry McMahon, I reckon he knocked it into the padding. He might have got a piece of it. The goal umpire signals that. But Joey's lead for the first time today. Their Archbishop Desmond 2-2-14. They know His Holiness the Pope, Little Jock McMahon. St Mary's at 2-1-13. 15 minutes gone, opening quarter action. Thanks to Harvey Norman. Crow on Morn Ponds.
Trevor Leaney kicking duties this time for St Mary's. To go to the outer side. Does so now. Goes towards Wilson. Outer side, half back. But getting across there, Harry Smith. Good defensive play from Harry. And he sees it over the boundary line. And we'll have a boundary throw in for St Joey's at left half forward on the outer side. GMHBA Stadium side of Anthony Costa Oval. Morrison for St Joey's. Will take the ruck against Burke. Hose with a fresh air shot. Ball spills free. St Mary's with the numbers across the front. Cockrell gets it towards centre wing. Betson from behind. Put the big right fist into it and threw it over the boundary line in front of the scoreboard. And we'll have a throw in. Right there at centre wing. 2-2-14 St Joey's. St Mary's 2-1-13. We've played 16 minutes in this first term. Time clock thanks to Bowen Food. Sells the freshest fish direct to you. Donga Road, North Geelong.
Game has settled into a rhythm in this opening quarter. Tapped down by Sam Burke. Cockrell lost it in the tackle of Morrison. Umpire said play on. Gow to track it towards the boundary line in front of the scoreboard outer side. Snaps a left foot kick towards forward 50. Well, both Lang and Sam Burke ran into each other, but umpire Wilson has seen a free kick in all of that Mitch Chafer is going to take. So I'm not sure exactly how they hung on to Mitch Chafer when the two St Mary's players were actually
was front on contact for St Mary's,
running into each other. So Mitch Chafer, the beneficiary. There wasn't too much protesting taking place after the decision was made. But Chafer will kick from outside 50. He'll swing out on the arc just to try and get some more distance. A driving ball that, in the end, has gone through to the left and through for a minor score. So St Joey's doing all the attacking for the moment, leading by 2, 2-3-15, playing St Mary's 2-1-13. Harvey Norman first quarter scoreboard. Harvey Norman, Corio and Warren Ponds, best brands, best range, best prices, guaranteed at Harvey Norman.
Pendlebury plays on from full back, goes to defensive 50. Finds a teammate in Jansen. Hose holds him up. He takes the mark for St Mary's. Called to play on now. He tries to chip the ball. He does. Short. Gives it to Cockrell. Back to Jansen. Ran through. Half-back kick was partly smothered though. Comes towards the middle. St Mary's over the top of it. Blood wants to extract himself and does. Gets their handball out wide. They kept their width again. Now Harry McMahon back on the ground. Right foot kick inside 50. Open 50 as well. Past Dowling. Garner there to help out 2-on-2. Who's going to pick it up? Paddy is. Then he gets slung. He got the handball away. It's all St Joey's though at the back. Oh, good tackle. Comes out though. Handball. Oh, holding. Throw was it? The umpire said. Holding the ball. Throw. Free kick to St Mary's. It was good defensive pressure. James Hickey it was who gave away the free kick, and the ball is in the arms of Ollie Flynn. You got to do that, Ro, don't you? Defensive pressure in your forward 50 like that, especially on a game like this.
Yeah, 100%. At one of those ones where 120 metres away, it looked like a pretty clean handball from here. But
Flynn to finish the work, and he put together with the tackle. Right foot kick. Goal umpire does not move. And KC and the Sunshine Band will be happy about that, because Ollie Flynn's put his first on the board and the third for St Mary's, 3-1-19. They lead St Joey's 2-3-15. Harvey Norman, K-Rock, first quarter scoreboard. And the expert share, thanks to the Sporting Globe. The Sporting Globe at Geelong. Eat, drink, sport. Here's Rowan McSparron.
The first part of that quarter was all St Mary's, and it looked like Joey's had got the ball back on their terms. So that was one definitely against the flow of play.
Ollie Flynn playing game number 3, kicking his second career goal. Debuted, of course, round 4 against Grovedale when we were here. KROCfootball.live, match of the day. Thanks to APCO Cafe 24/7. Doing the ruck work, Hughes winning the tap down. Hunter Lewis has gone into the middle and wins the ruck tap that does the roving for St Joey's. Sends it towards left half forward. Not the greatest kick for Hennessy. Connors runs out of room as he comes up defensively to take it for St Mary's. Goes out of bounds, and we'll get a boundary throw in where the 50 meets the boundary line in the left forward pocket. GMHBA Stadium side of the ground. We'll have it hurled back into play. Hughes winning the tap down this time. Roving done by Ben Clark. Quick kick around the corner for Joey's. It rolls into the left forward pocket. Chafer came out, brought down in a tackle by Connors as soon as he took possession of the footy. Ball spilled out front of the pack. Lang, a handball on the up was good. Little give and go and a chance to get out of trouble here. Well, slung in the tackle. It was a good one laid by Henderson on Blood. He did well actually not to throw him over the fence basically. He had him picked up and he was parallel. And that could end badly, but he played it well, Henderson, and it was a stoppage as the ball goes out of bounds, and we'll get a boundary throw in again at left half forward. St Mary's 19, St Joey's 15, and we've ticked towards 20 minutes on the Barn Foods first quarter time clock.
Hughes got himself to the front of the ruck contest. Hose, he tried to pick it up as well. He couldn't do so. A tackle by Harry McMahon straight away from St Mary's, and the umpire will come in and ball it up. Just 55 out from St Joey's goal, left half forward. Ball up for McCoy. He gets it down. Blood tried to take it with him. He couldn't. The ball spills free. Flynn runs past it. Blood does it. Got his hand over it. Needs some support. He got it. Tried to get it back towards Flynn. Bit of a rugby scrum now. Flynn gets a kick away. High kick up the chimney towards centre wing. Oh, good mark. Hamlin Howe. And he does beautifully, Sam Burke, just to make sure that he keeps the defender away from the ball there. Used the space beautifully and took the mark on centre wing. Did Sam Burke. He's going to drive it long inside 50 for St Mary's northern end, but Webb comes across, takes the mark as he does always, Luke Webb, and he'll drill the play back towards half back.
James Hickey, handball to the run of Gow. Got to be careful. Bartolo came in from his blind side, but he was able to just do a little stop step and then drop back and kick towards half forward. Mark dropped there by Rayner. Here's Hamish Burke getting a handball away for St Mary's, trying to get towards McMullen, coming the other way. Hennessy, he'll get a free kick, was taken high. And you can't miss that shaggy mop of Ollie Hennessy. He'll now kick into the pocket. Chafer just got a yard, but dropped what he should have taken on Connors. He picked up the loose footy, handball to McMullen. Bartolo, dumped. Good tackle, brought him to ground. Antonak. And just inside 50 right forward pocket in front of the Don Matheson Pavilion. We'll get a ball up. 19 plays 15. Entertaining opening quarter of action from Anthony Costa Oval. Big freeze, blockbuster clash. Two unbeaten teams is living up to expectations early.
Betson went up in the ruck contest and got it down, but Blood gets the clearing kick. McCoy behind the ball took the mark for St Joey's, just forward of centre wing, the big fella. And he's going to drive it back long. Inside 50 for St Joey's. Big pack there. DeGrady from behind couldn't take the mark. Front and centre. Chafer was good. Left foot kick around the corner. Open goal square. Which way is it going to bounce? It's going to bounce through for one behind as Fletcher Hughes tracked it back. And it is another behind to the visitors. They go to 2-4-16. Trail St Mary's 3-1-19. Harvey Norman, K-Rock. First quarter scoreboard.
Kick in to the left back pocket. Garner marks, and then he goes short to Harry McMahon. Wasn't called a mark. In fact, it was play on, and then he goes short, and Jansen, standing right next to the boundary line, has taken the mark. He was even more into the crowd. He goes across the face of his defensive goal with a well-weighted ball, and there's a long kick coming from Travellini towards Bartolo. Took a good strong mark overhead. Lucky not to be 50. There's Bartolo. Got a reprieve. Was going to be out of the side, but Charlie Sprague, falling ill, created an opportunity for him to come back. He goes backwards to Hamish Burke, and he went short to Rayner and showed a lot of it to Felix Henderson, but Henderson was just a little bit late, giving it the spoil away, and Rayner has the footy just inside defensive 50, out of side.
So the coach's son, he's got it at half back and goes towards centre wing. Looks for Keast off the back of the pack. Burke read it the better, took a bounce to an Anthony Costa Oval and goes with a kick inside 50. Had to be pinpoint. There was one player there, and it was Jansen. He plays on quickly. Harry McMahon, who we said had been playing, Damien McMahon on centre wing, is now going forward and has taken a mark and will shoot the goal in the left forward pocket. Only about 25 out.
It's a Damien McMahon move, run hard off the wing.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
He was the Ollie Dempsey-like at St Mary's McMahon. He used to work that wing really well.
So now brother Harry, who's taken over the mantle. Damien's buggered off. He doesn't care anymore. He's a Bowen Heads. And Harry's going to try and put the fourth on for St Mary's this afternoon. Not a breath of wind this afternoon here at Anthony Costa. Beautiful conditions. And that should be enough moz for Harry to miss it after that, I suspect. He comes in now, 25 out, 45-degree angle, and he has kicked the goal. So Harry McMahon puts his first on the board, and St Mary's go to 4-1-25. They lead St Joey's 2-4-16. Harvey Norman, K-Rock, first quarter scoreboard.
Both teams at the moment are taking forwards up to the stoppages through the middle part of the ground. So when we're trying to see the ball in transition, it's very congested at the minute. So if one of those teams is able to just drop one off really quickly, we might see the game open up a little bit. But at the minute, she's contested through that middle part of the ground.
The experts chair for the Sporting Globe, Rowan McSparron, keeping an eye on matchups as well for Wildmet Gully Plant Farm. And the schematic standout will be Rose Call as well. Back in the middle for McCoy and Hughes. Hughes with a deft little tap down at Garner, slung in the tackle, but managed to jam it on the boot towards half forward. El Hickey came off Jansen, read it nicely, steadied himself to kick. It was partially smothered, but it'll roll and deflect off a boot. But chance here for Clark to go short. It was a well-weighted little kick into the waiting arms of Lewis. Lewis sends it long inside forward 50. Hamish Burke flew, couldn't mark. Chafer, typical Mitch Chafer goal. Off the hands of the pack, Hamish Burke couldn't gobble it up. Mitch Chafer said, I don't need too many chances. He turns, he snaps, he goals, and he pulls the margin quickly back to 3 points. 1 goal, 2 for Mitch Chafer, looking dangerous early. 3-4-22. St Mary's 4-1-25. Opening quarter action for Harvey Norman, Corowa and Warren Ponds.
Well, it was almost identical to that 3 or 4 minutes ago where he come off the front of the pack and just, it would have been a goal of the day, but it took a Shane Warren off leggy and just missed. But you give him half an inch and he's going to make you pay. He's got one of the best closing defenders on him, so he's doing a good job.
Back to the middle. 3 points of difference. Late stages of the first term here. And Anthony Costa. Hughes and McCoy both get a hand to it. Betson in the middle, Keelan, but Paddy Dowling gets the handball out to Wales. Goes from centre wing towards half forward. Harry Smith tracked it beautifully for St Joey's, backed himself and then gets a high right foot kick. Ducks up towards half forward. Oh, good play, Joel Edwards. Just pushed Hamish Burke just out of the way enough to take the mark. He wants to drive it long. Inside 50. Chafer in front, coming back. Burke's there as well over the top of St Mary's. Connors, handball was good from Ham. Handball over the top, back to Ham again. And they get a succession of handballs. Oh, dangerous. Travellini under pressure inside 50, but he did well to get it away. Handball came from Lang. He put his teammate under pressure. Bartolo, handball on the out now. They might be out to Keese at half back.
They are. Keese with a bit of room to move. Steadies himself, wants Burke. Can't take the mark. Betson moves him off the footy. That's Liam. Garner took the loose footy. Handball to Flynn. Flynn went to step through a tackle of Al Hickey. Good luck. We've got a handball over his head to Rudd. Rudd to Sam Burke. Sam Burke gobbled up by Antonak, but a handball back. Keese kick inside forward 50. That's razzle dazzle. Dowling, was it 15? No, it was. Mark paid. He went to play on with a short kick into the pocket to Wales and realised that Cal Mitchell might have smothered it, so he'll go back and have a shot.
What about Ollie Flynn? It's like he played 150 games. How was he?
His vision out the sides there, just to
take the tackle and
roll with it. Yeah, I think the transition. St Mary's were under pressure from the back pocket there all the way through, and they didn't panic and use their hands all the way through. It's good passage of play.
Ollie Flynn comes through a well-deserved rest, gets some high fives from some youngsters in front of our broadcast spot here at Anthony Costa Oval. Paddy Dowling from 45 metres out has bent that back. That, for all intents and purposes, was missing to the right, and it is faded back and through for a goal, and they restore that 9-point buffer. 5-1-31 St Mary's, 3-4-22 Joey's. Opening quarter action for Harvey Norman, Crow and Warren Ponds. Best brands, best range, best prices guaranteed at Harvey Norman. Dowling with his first of the afternoon, 18th of the season.
I think we're seeing two little different game styles here. St Mary's want to go short, keep hold of the ball and possession, where St Joseph's want to get the ball and link by hands and run and carry and get the ball nice and long and deep.
So back to the middle, McCoy, Fletcher, Hughes. Hughes gets it down, roved by Cockrell. Kick was partly smothered, goes out towards Harry Smith, but it sits beautifully for Ham. Wheels onto the left, spears the ball inside 50. No mark taken. Was that over the shoulder? No, it wasn't. It was a great... Liam Betson's closing speed there was fantastic on Burke, and it's off hands and out of bounds for a throw-in. 45 around from the St Mary's goal. Played 28 minutes in his first term, Barn Foods time clock, so... we'll both be looking for a bit of a rest after this intense first quarter. McCoy got it down with a double fister, but only as far as the boundary line again. He gains about 10 metres, so outside 54. St Mary's now will have another boundary throw in.
Birchie, have you thought out down there? All very quiet on the injury front for St John of God, 28 3/4 minutes into the opening term.
It is quiet on the injury front, which is good, but I'm starting to get a bit chilly, actually.
Tapped down by Rudd, haven't caught a lot of him. He lost the footy to James Hickey for St Joe. He's trying to get a handball into space for Hose to run on to. It's going to work out all right for James Hickey, who got a handball onto Hose. Hose looped it over the top to Grandy under pressure. Has fired a handball forward indiscriminately. Dowling back there. Was tackled, stepped out of the tackle and stepped past an oncoming tackler to give a handball to McMullen. McMullen's kick to the wind. McCoy stood underneath it with, should I say, Burke coming the other way. I was right, the first time was Rudd. McCoy back short with a kick to Harry Smith. Smith will concede inside defensive 50 as they look to open up the broadcast side of the ground. Short to Webb, although Webb comes to the corridor to Al Hickey with a kick, barely 15. Webb just cruising past, takes it in the one hand and then drives towards half forward. Oh, Hennessy got up but couldn't hang on. Ball will spill out the back. Rayner will be first there. Got a handball to Wales for St Mary's. Will kick on his non-preferred left around the corner, and it's a well-weighted ball. It's marked up against the boundary line or the boundary line. And taking on the chest is the second gamer, Wilson.
So Wilson from a half back drives as long as he can close to the boundary. That's nearly hit the tree. That's nearly hit Birchie. Birchie's nearly got a possession there, I think. And it's out of bounds on the full. And it's going to be a free kick to James Gow, who was closest for St Joey's, right in front of the best seats in the house, thanks to APCO Cafe 24/7. He wants to drive it long back towards centre half back. Betson nearly falls over as he takes the mark, but he got it. Don't see that too often. Liam kicked the ball. He gets it towards Knights, who comes back towards broadcast side. Henderson had to stand and wait and did. Took the mark in front of Keith. Oh, dribbles the ball around the corner. Would have been nice one last night at Amy Park doing that sort of stuff. Pendlebury, kick off the ground, only back as far as Webb. His kick was smothered. Comes back towards Gow, put his head down. That's nearly holding the ball. Bailey Cockrell up by, has got him. He's pinged him for holding the ball. And Gow, he gets up with a smile, and Bailey Cockrell will take the free kick.
I think it's more a wry grin
It got pinged.
Cockrell with it at left half back. Kick towards half forward. Al Hickey used the body nicely. Just moved Garner off the ball. He's called to play on. No, to be 50 or
Siren.
Well, siren went. It'll be 50. Now, so there's screams of get back on the line because Al Hickey will be taken to within distance, you would suspect. Where's the umpire going to set the mark? No, the edge of the centre square. So Al Hickey's going to have to launch one of his best from here, you would think. Would have to go with the torp. He's gone with the torp and he's munged it. And it's trapped by Fletcher Hughes, and that is quarter time. A quarter, but on the Barn Foods time clock went 31 minutes. St Mary's 5-1-31. St Joseph's 3-4-22. Entertaining opening quarter here at Anthony Costa Oval. The Big Freeze blockbuster, the unbeaten pair, the Battle of the Catholics, whatever you want to call it. It is St Mary's 5-1-31, St Joseph's 3-4-22. We'll take a break. Back on the other side of this, thanks to APCO Cafe 24/7. Win free coffee for a year. Live, breathe, Carroll footy.
Geelong's favourite way to wake up.
Jen's in Geelong. Morning, Jen.
I'm a nanny, so I was nannying for a family and they wanted me to work for a barbecue. And it was like Joel Selwood, Tom Hawkins. It was like the Cats Players list.
Yeah.
I'm not a football person, so I actually spent half the barbecue actually not knowing who they were. And then one of the caterers told me, what an amazing guest list. I'm like, who are these people? So I was actually like looking after all their children.
Why wasn't I invited?
No, you were there, Lingy. She just doesn't know who you are.
New year, same gear. That's Geelong and the Surf Coast's favourite recce team. Tom, Lingy and Lockie on K-Rock 955. Visit one of Mimosa Homes' 50 displays across...
On the ground, and then it goes in between the two big sticks, and the goal umpire blows. Go, 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 it's a goal. 6 points, go, 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 it's a goal. Celebrate, celebrate. He kicks the ball and the ball flies, and the ball bounces on the ground.
Kerr's higher. What about the stats for the game? Well, statistically, I shouldn't even be here. I've got a patio to pay.
Kerr's Hire, North Geelong, Grovedale and Ocean Grove. kershire.com.au.
Get a good night's sleep with Harvey Norman, Corio and Warn Ponds. Quality mattresses by Tempur, Sealy Posturepedic, Sleepmaker and King Coil by A.H. Beard. With major savings. Adjustable bed bases, bed frames, kids' bedroom furniture, bunk beds and storage pieces. Customisable Australian-made bedroom furniture to suit your space and style. Luxurious pillows, quilt covers, sheet sets and more. Get behind the Cats this season with your locally owned and operated Harvey Norman, Corio and Warn Ponds.
Here's another powerful reason to choose Tyre Power. At Tyre Power, you deal with owners who are proudly independent. We're not just tyre experts. Tyres are our life and livelihood. And because many Tyre Power owners are part of your local community, you can trust our family to look after yours. Visit tyrepower.com.au or call 13 21 91 for your local independent owner.
Thanks to our #1 ticket holder, APCO. Fueled by APCO Cafe 24/7.
Quarter time here at Anthony Costa Oval. St Mary's 5-1-31. St Joseph's 3-4-22. No multiple goal kickers on the ground. All individuals for St Mary's. Cockrell, Keast, Dowling, McMahon and Ollie Flynn. Joey's. Mitch Chafer kicked 1 goal, 2. Morrison and Hose also with goals. And the grounds for Leopold Sporties. Port Melbourne. Now, I don't know what the conditions are at North Port Oval, but they've got to be similar to what we've got here, which is cracking day, warm enough, no wind. Werribee 23 lead Port Melbourne 3. So I'm not exactly sure what's taking place.
Must be half back to half back, is it?
Yeah, a lot of between the arcs.
Yes.
And Williamstown 45 lead Geelong 21. So a 24-point lead there for the Seagulls. Now, the Cats VFL season at the moment in free fall, but
Red fell.
They, I think, on the 3-0.
Yeah, they started well, didn't they?
This will leave them 3 and 6 at basically what is the turn for the VFL, about halfway home. So we'll stay across those scores this afternoon for Leopold Sporties, your complete family venue. Keeping an eye on the clash, though, in the experts chair for the Sporting Globe is Rowan McSparron. Ro, what do we take away from that first term where the inexperienced and younger Saints are really taking it up to Joey's?
They certainly are, yeah. It's two little different styles of football in that first half. The St Mary's boys want to chip the ball and maintain it and not get long, but the Joey's boys want to run and gun and get the ball in nice and deep. So at the moment, probably St Mary's have just had the edge in that. I think the clearances are basically even, inside 50s basically even as well. So whatever team gets out of that congestion in and around the footy, because they're both bringing their half forwards up to the contest to cover the outlet side, whatever team at the moment is getting the better of that is having the better look go forward.
What are some of the key numbers that you've been keeping an eye on for Curse Hire there, Rob?
Yeah, so the clearances in the inside 50s, clearances I've got St Mary's up by 2 and inside 50s St Mary's by 1. And I think if we have a look at the way the game has been played, St Mary's had the dominance early, Joey's got hold of the game for a little bit, and then St Mary's responded, which is pretty pleasing to see for the St Mary's boys because they've got a pretty young group, and that's probably helped today with a few of those senior boys coming back into the team.
Joey's with 7 scoring shots, Mary's with 6. Nick Daffy, an interested long onlooker, former St Albans coach, former Richmond star, of course. Been doing a little bit of media lately, actually talking about their 95 semi-final win over Essendon. We got them into a prelim, which was a famous victory for Richmond, who had been in the wilderness for 13 or 14 years after playing in the 82 grand final. Birchie's, I think, just loitering around the very large St Mary's huddle. There are people everywhere, and the Joey's people have turned out en masse as well. This is as good as a finals day.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is.
It has clouded over here, which will make it a little bit cooler, but without a breath of wind, conditions are ideal for footy. Birchie is just with Luke Rayner, and he's going to get a couple of words from the St Mary's coach. Down to you, Birchie.
Range would be pretty happy with that first quarter. Some really accurate kicking, obviously, up forward and getting it in there and giving your forwards the best chance.
Yeah, efficiency always helps, isn't it? So it's a pretty even game, obviously, yeah. Scoring shots and, they had their momentum as well at different times in the quarter as we did. So it's going to be one of those games. I don't think it's going to change throughout. So, but yeah, it's a nice start to the contest and what you'd probably expect of, two of the better teams.
And did you notice anything in that first quarter, anything that took you by surprise that perhaps you need to keep an eye on in terms of, what Joey's are doing out there?
No, not from our perspective. Where, I think they play a great brand of footy. It's built around contest and transition. So our boys were able to sort of stay the course for 30 minutes, and now they've just got to rebuild and go again. So I expect it just to continue to be a great game of footy, hopefully, and for everyone that's here, and it'll be a pretty tight tussle.
What I noticed is Joey's love to chip it around and change the angles when they get in the back half, but they were sort of going a little bit more corridor then, so that would probably be something that would please you because you can then shut that down if they go long.
Yeah, well, that's right. They're a skillful team, so time and space equals skill. So we've got to take time and space away from them. So whether they're going to go wide or corridor, we've just got to make sure it's under pressure.
Thank you. Good luck.
Luke Rayner there with our very own Jane Birch, Leopold Sporties, your complete family venue. I'm guessing Birchie clean bill of health for both teams for St John of God. Nothing to report at this stage.
Just counting. No, 4 and 4. I didn't see anyone come off in that first quarter, so that's good news.
Thank you, Birchie. St John of God Hospital, caring for our community for 50 years. And this area, we'll be waiting for people
like
to come
a
off the ground.
Kingy, when we've got big crowds, everybody knows Kingy. They just come up. Tom, how are you, Tom? How are you, Tom?
But definitely,
we signed autographs at half time. Oh, settle down.
Definitely has a finals atmosphere to it. A big crowd, nice day, not much wind. It's definitely good.
Yeah, if you had September as the date and not June, you'd quite comfortably go, it's a pretty good day.
Yep, for sure.
Should have got you to sign some of those balls, Kingy, that I whacked out into the crowd. I did get some stars backstage, the actual sporting stars, to sign them, but
that's a drive-by too.
You could have popped your name on there.
Yeah, and devalued it very, very quickly, Birchie.
Well, they might be able to read yours, though.
No, that's true.
There's very few that they'll be able to recognise.
Second quarter action thanks to Sheen Panel Service. Get $750 off your excess with Sheen Group. Terms and conditions apply. Umpire Brown with the footy, and we are underway. Here's Jace.
So Fletcher Hughes goes up. McCoy gets it down for St Joey's. Garner coming off half forward. Hickey. Blood puts the tackle on him. James Hickey it was. Just 4 to the centre circle for St Joey's. We're going to have another ball up. So McCoy goes up, gets it down. Betson Keelan gets it. Gets the handball out. Was that holding the ball? Well, it must have been because he got tackled and called to play on. So he gets it out. Jansen, blood to Jansen. And it goes towards half-forward. Kershaw's handball to Webb. Runs into some traffic. Got it away, though. Kick around the corner by Mitchell for St Joey's. Bartolo's tap on was okay to Keast. Runs along half-forward. He gets the handball over the top. The half-volley pickup wasn't too good from Burke in the from Rudd in the end. St Joey's along the boundary line. Close to it in front. And out in front of the Don Matheson Pavilion. And we'll have a ball up at right half-forward for St Mary's.
50 seconds played in this opening quarter, second quarter, I should say, thanks to Bowen Foods. Sells the freshest fish direct to you, Donga Road in North Geelong. Rudd to do the ruck work. With the ball hurled back into play in front of the Don Matheson Pavilion. It's a high throw in. Rudd wins the tap down to the front of the pack. Zach Knight's there for Joey's. Got a handball away. Al Hickey will track it to the boundary line. He'll have blood for company. And it'll go out of bounds. And we'll do it all again. St Mary's in attack and leading by 9, looking to build on that advantage. 5-1-31, playing 3-4-22. That is a more shallow throw-in, and it'll be allowed to bounce, and it'll bounce back towards the boundary line. Al Hickey will pick it up. Jansen will sling him over the boundary line, but not before the umpire has said, give it to me, and I'll ball this up. So let's wait for umpire Jones to retrieve the ball from next to the fence. That's as big a crowd as I've seen packed in front of the Don Matheson Pavilion for any game we've broadcast here, Jace.
Absolutely. McCoy gets it down from the ruck contest. And big pack there. Keelan Betson put the tackle on. The umpire says, I'll have it. Umpire Jones will come in, do some more work. Inside forward 50 for St Mary's. Right in front of their faithful. Ball up again. Rudd got it down. Rode to the back by Gow. Left foot kick towards half back. Big pack there. Edwards goes up in the middle. Couldn't take the mark for St Joey's. Falls to the front of the pack. Handball by Lang. Bartolo gets tackled by Hennessy. Got away back to Lang. He goes towards the top of the square. Big pack there. Off the side. Keast couldn't take it. Rudd was in there as well. Betson at the back as well. And he gets wrapped up by Keast. That's Liam Betson. And we're going to have a ball up about 30 out from the St Mary's goal. No addition to the quarter-time score. St Mary's 5-1-31. St Joey's 3-4-22.
Ball in the air again. Rudd winning the tap down this time. McCoy actually doing the roving and then jamming on the boot to half-back. Connors reading it best. Couldn't take it cleanly. Ham through traffic. Tried to take on the De Grande tackle. That should be holding the ball and will be. Tried to fend off, and the advantage will be taken by Zach Knights, who drills it onto the chest of Morrison, right in front of our best seats in the house for Rapco Cafe 24/7 and the all-new tradie Jaffel. But it's a hack kick off the boot by Morrison as he went looking for Edwards, and judging it best was Lang, who's got it at right half-back. Nobody stands the mark, so Lang just goes short with a kick to Bartolo, who just back of true centre wing has it. Big crowd in front of us enjoying this one. Plenty of youngsters taking the chance to taking some quality GFNL senior action. Lang took the mark. Bartolo ran with no real impediment, so he took the footing, gave a handball to Ham, who just fought to the centre wicket area, drives it long, sends it towards the direction of Rudd, who takes the mark. Is it? Or is it Jansen? No, in fact, it's Jansen who's the unlikely marking target. 25 out, just left of centre. That was all too easy. Bartolo, just a little give and go.
Yeah, that ability when the man has to stand the mark, if you've got someone coming on the fly like that, it's so hard to defend in and around the mark.
Especially on a ground like St Mary's, where you can transition the footy quickly. Chris Jansen, this is for a very handy 15-point lead in the early stages of the second quarter. Will kick from 25 out and drives it straight over the goal umpire's hat. So Chris Jansen back into the lineup this afternoon, kicks his 9th goal of the season and makes the margin 15 on the second quarter K-Rock Sheen Panel Service scoreboard. St Mary's 6-1-37. Joey's 3-4-22. Sheen Panel Service. Get $750 off your excess with Sheen Group. Terms and conditions apply. Here's Rowan McSparron.
It's been a carbon copy of the first quarter. St Mary's had all the running to start the game. They've had all the running here. They've had all the inside 50s, and Joey's haven't looked like getting much past halfway so far.
So back to the middle. Good start from St Mary's. Just grab a little bit of a break in this early stage of this second term. And umpire Wilson has the ball in hand for McCoy and Hughes. He had a good first quarter, Hughes, didn't he, Rowan?
He did, yeah. Absolutely.
Against McCoy. Two young guns going at it in the middle. McCoy gets it down this time. Rove though by Hughes. His opposite number. His handball over the top of Blood. Coming off half forward was Flynn. Goes back to Hughes. He threw it out. In the end, it's okay for St Mary's. Blood runs through 50. Jack Blood, the skipper. Can he finish it with a goal? He certainly can! Jack Blood, the Metricon goal of the day. And 2 in 30 seconds for St Mary's. They go to 7-1-43. They lead St Joey's 3-4-22. Sheen panel service K-Rock. Second quarter scoreboard.
That was a little bit too easy out of the middle, wasn't it? Just a tap on, and then Jack Blood. I think St Mary's just emptied the front half of the centre square out there and just dragged their forwards back a little bit, and just gave that space for him to run into, and what a lovely finish.
Well, that was. It helps when your ruckman has 2 efforts too, like he did too, Fletch Hughes.
Absolutely, he's been massive so far in the ruck.
Visit the multi-award-winning Metricon display and fines for just off the Hamilton Highway. Metricon goal of the day contender. We're back in the middle. St Joey's looking for some sort of response here with Mary's on top early in this second quarter. Blood dives on the loose footy. Ball will spill out thanks to a McMahon handball. Finds Garner, who kicks on his non-preferred left. Ball bounces at the feet of Rudd, but trapped it nicely. He gave a handball to Dowling. Dowling tight in the pocket. Sees it open goal and bangs it through. Paddy Dowling doing Paddy Dowling things. Second of the afternoon for the talisman from St Mary's. It's a Metricon goal of the day contender, and they now lead by 27. They've gone whack, whack, whack. 8-1-49. St Joey's 3-4-22. Second quarter action thanks to Sheen panel service. Nobody else kicks that goal in the competition other than Paddy Dowling.
It didn't spin once. That's it. Paddy Dowling, he'll miss from straight in front, then he'll kick a goal like that from the boundary. But that being said, I think St Mary's have had 8 touches for 3 goals there. So, yeah, really starting to get on top. Looks like Morrison's going behind the ball, just trying to steady him up here.
Back to the middle. McCoy gets it down, rowed by Hose, goes towards half forward for St Joey's. They need a response, but at the back, Pendlebury, when you take one away, that's what happens. Ryan Pendlebury at the back for St Mary's takes the mark and takes the ball and gives it to Chris Jansen at half back for the home side. So Morrison behind the ball, Webb behind the ball as well as usual. We'll see where it goes. It goes towards Webb territory at the back. He goes up, Webb, he can't take the mark, can he? No, falls to the front, and Natus, he got it over the top. Coming the other way, Harry McMahon, short little handball to Blood, who gets away. Called to play on, it was a free kick anyway, advantage. He gets it to the middle of the ground. He's got some time and space, and now goes towards Travellini, goes inside forward 50 with the kick, and taking the mark is Sam Burke in front, and will shoot the goal from 40 out directly in front. Wow, way.
This game has flipped on its head in the last 5 minutes. Yes.
So, Sam Burke, who has not kicked a major yet this afternoon, might join in with the rest of the St Mary's boys. They have started the second term. It's 8 minutes old, and this could be their 4th goal in 8 minutes. Burke, 30 out directly in front, southern end of the ground. Comes in and kicks a behind, I think. He does. He misses it. 2 behinds for Sam Burke. And they go to 8-2-50 now. They lead St Joey's 3-4-22. Sheen panel service K-Rock. Second quarter scoreboard.
Well, they find themselves in rare air at the moment. St Joey's, of course, have won 24 consecutive home and away games since the start of last year. Webb short into the right back pocket. And they get their hands on the footy for a rare occasion in the last 5 minutes. It's in the hands of Morrison. He's a long way from home, but he's gone back behind the footy. Sends a kick towards the outer wing. Liam Betson, his target off the hands of the pack to Grandy. Kick around the corner. He's kicked it straight to Hamish Burke, who marks on the chest comfortably. Laterally he goes to Bartolo. Bartolo will send a kick wide and ask Bailey Cockrell to run on the loose ball. The bounce was okay. Bounce back towards him. I just sat a little bit. He spun out of Antonak, gave a handball to Ham. Ham to Bartolo, who's been busy. Kicks on his non-preferred right. A skinny little ball that will eventually go over the boundary line. There's a free kick for a push in the back, but it'll come back. 132 to Natus, so we haven't called a lot of, if at all. Goes into the back of Garner, and he sends a kick that will flirt with the boundary line. Rudd might just keep it alive. He takes the mark and then swings quickly onto his left boot and sends St Mary's into attack.
Rudd goes long, inside 50. Big pack. Burke couldn't take it off the side of the pack. Coming at it, Nanatus get ripped off the football. The umpire said play on. Ball spills free. Holding the ball against St Mary's. didn't really have the ball for that long, I wouldn't have thought. The free kick's coming back to St Joey's. Hose, it's going to take the free kick inside defensive 50. He's going to settle the play down. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's been a good 10 minutes for St Mary's. He goes back for Joey's into the square. Hickey goes to the outer side back pocket. Luke Webb has taken the mark. He chips the ball over the top. Morrison back in defence helping out at this stage. And now Oscar Morrison wants to play on, get around. Flynn goes with a right foot kick now, long towards centre wing. Edwards in front, Burke from behind Hamish, tapped down by Lang. Gets a Garner in support, handball to Lang, bit hot, needed to tap it on, he did, past a couple of players. Still in dispute on centre wing. Pack develops, the umpire will come in and ball it up so everybody can take a breath. 8-2-50 St Mary's. They lead St Joey's 3-4-22. 10.5 played in this second term.
Around the grounds for Leopold Sporties, Geelong 30, trail Williamstown 45. And Werribee 23 lead Port Melbourne 4 in VFL round 10 action. From the ball up, Hunter Lewis will do the roving, try to get a handball away, calls for holding the ball that won't come. Jensen is taken by the right arm by James Hickey and by the left arm by Hunter Lewis, and won't go anywhere. The footy won't come out and we'll get another stoppage. Ball into the air, McCoy to win the tap down. James Hickey, quick kick around his left shoulder, front position to Grandy. Oh, he's going to get paid the mark. Gee, didn't hang on to it for very long. Umpire said pay the mark though, and then kick to the pocket. Edwards trying to get back with the flight. Well played, Hamish Burke, spoil, and then the roving. Gave a handball to Pendlebury, put a high left foot kick that'll flirt with the boundary line. It'll bounce inside the field of play. McMahon knocked it on. That's a wonderful tap, Cockrell, and they'll get away. The kick of Keast is good to the wing, and the mark's taken by Rudd.
Sticky fingers from Michael Rudd on centre wing. He wants to move it on. He goes towards half forward, coming out the other way. Nanatus tries to break through the tackle, got the handball for a Garner. He did well, couldn't take the footy with him. Liam Betson threw the ball back to Nanatus. He gets the kick around the corner. It's okay. Taking the mark is Lewis. Inside 50, good kick, good space. Took the mark, Joel Edwards. Burke was just off him for a moment. He then goes with a short little kick following it on. And taking the mark is Felix Henderson, and he'll shoot for goal from 25 out, 45-degree angle in the Paul/Lockie Peck pocket.
It's probably the one time St Joey's has got them in transition this quarter, so it's been a tough grind for them so far in this quarter. It's one time they've actually got some space going forward.
They need this goal. That's an understatement. Just to stem the flow for St Mary's and put a first score on the board in this second term for St Joey's. Felix Henderson, 25 out, 45-degree angle, right side for a left footer. Goal umpire says he's missed. And through for one behind, so not the desired result for St Joey's. 3-5-23. They trail St Mary's 8-2-50. Sheen panel service K-Rock second quarter scoreboard.
Travellini with a short kick into the waiting arms of Keast. Just battling a hamstring tendon issue, I understand. But he's playing today. Kick to the middle, Rudd the target, tried to knock it away from McCoy. McCoy stood tall to try and bring the ball to the front. Nanatus just barreled his way through, and then off the ground, James Hickey found Edwards. Didn't take the mark, but time to recover. Hack off the boot, off the hands of Gow, and it'll deflect through for a minor score. Joel Edwards, I should say. We just missed hitting the kick there, and it's a rush behind for Joey. So they've got consecutive scores, but they're behinds, and they are now 3-6-24, trailing St Mary's 8-2-50, 13.5 minutes played on the Barham Food second quarter time clock.
Pendlebury kicks in this time, outside 50, eased it towards Rudd, over his head, back of the pack. Betson back to whence it came, inside 50 at the back. Pendlebury couldn't take the mark, needed some support. Morrison's handball to Hose, tried to pick it up on the half volley, falls into the arms of Chafer, and he's just missed. He's dangerous. He only needs half a step. He kicked 1 goal 3 this afternoon, Mitch. And they go to 3-6-24 now. St Joey's, St Mary's 8-2-50. Sheen panel service K-Rock second quarter scoreboard.
Travellini with the footy. Has clouded over here, but an ideal day for football. Gee, that's dangerous. Half back, wanted Paddy Dowling. Henderson got in the way, and he banged it back over Travellini's head. Much needed for St Joey's. You've got to be precise when you get for that kick in the corridor, just outside defensive 50. Felix Henderson was all over it, and he then ran past Paddy Dowling and went bang, straight back over the head that Jesse Travellini. have left in the goal square. 8-2-50 St Mary's, 4-7-31 St Joey's. Nearly 15 minutes played second quarter. Thanks to Sheen Panel Service, get $750 off your excess with Sheen Group. Terms and conditions apply. You don't want to give up easy ones.
No, especially after they'd kicked 3 points in a row, to give an easy one back over your head like that's pretty disappointing.
So back to the middle. Pendlebury's off fixing his boot in front of us on the St Mary's boundary line. And back to the middle here for Burke in the ruck against McCoy. Keelan Betson got it away. James Hickey, through the ball. Good tackle, Braden Ham. And we'll take the free kick for St Mary's. Just wants to settle the play down. Now he plays on and goes a long left foot kick inside 50. Webb from behind, punched it away, front and centre. Beautiful blood. Right foot kick up the chimney, not going to have the distance. Goes towards the square, punched away into Natus. Double fister, back towards Cockrell. Couldn't pick it up first attempt. Second attempt, got ripped off the football. Umpire says play on. Keast gets wrapped up as well. And we will have a ball up in the left, in between half forward and forward pocket for St Mary's.
In front of the Geelong Pass players stand, and they've started the dismantle of the slide. We're less than an hour done from the big freeze in Geelong, and the slide is saying farewell. Out of the pack, quick snap came from Wilson, but he's missed. And through for a minor score, the second gamer. Kicked a goal on debut in the win over Leopold a fortnight ago, but not on the mark there, but the margin is 28. 3:51, plays 4-7-31, 16 minutes played on the second quarter. Barham Foods time clock. Carrick football, thanks to Epco Cafe 24/7. Try the all-new Tradie Jaffle.
Luke Webb for St Joey's. Comes broadcast side, long to half back, looking for Morrison and Henderson. Morrison was read at the better for St Joey's. Goes back into the middle, dangerous kick. Pendlebury from behind. That's a great mark, Joel Edwards. Right in the middle of Anthony Costa Oval. Hamlin Hanger, contender from Joel Edwards. Just stuck the palms up and took it. Goes wide to Gow. He's got on the outside Mitchell. Draws a player. Gives it to Zach Knights. Wheels on the left. 55 from goal. Back to the top of the square. Morrison can't take the mark second. He's going to get over the shoulder anyway. Play on advantage, the umpire says. Comes back to Oscar Morrison. He kicks the goal. So Oscar Morrison has put his second on the board. And a couple of goals for St Joey's brings them back towards St Mary's. They go to 5-7-37. They trail St Mary's 8-3-51. Sheen Panel Service, K-Rock, second quarter scoreboard. Get $750 off your excess with Sheen Group. T's and C's apply.
So it just looked like Joey's evened the numbers there. So they've taken their +1, which was Webb. Morrison was playing on a man. Morrison's gone back forward, and they didn't get the match-up quite right, and he ends up with a goal.
Experts chair for the Sporting Globe picking it up. Ryan McSparron, premiership coach with Geelong Amateur. Grand final coach with Colac.
We won't mention that, King.
Ball in the air. Good afternoon to Steve Gennarchi, wherever you're watching this afternoon. Paddy Dowling tracking it towards left half forward. Lost it in the tackle of James Hickey. And he's going to get a free kick. Is he for a hold? No, the non-controlling umpire has come in. I reckon the tackle that was on Paddy Dowling just was hung on too long, and he will win a free kick. Left half forward. Pendlebury wants it in the middle of the ground. He ignores that, and he's a scything ball inside 50 that Webb has actually taken a spectacular mark over the top of his teammate James Gow. Webb across the face of his defensive goal to Keelan Betson for St Joey's. Betson wants to bring it broadcast side. Well-weighted ball that Knights has marked at left half back. The intensity's gone up in this contest.
So Knights now. Chafer short. Hickey short. He wants to go where? Back to Webb. Back 30 metres in the back pocket, Luke Webb. Al Hickey comes at him. Chafer's there as well. Where's he going to go, Luke Webb? He's got Hennessy on centre wing. He hasn't spotted him yet. Now he's just going to go long towards Edwards. And Burke getting back there. Lang. Edwards nearly got it again through the middle. Hennessy just got a little toe poke. Gow took one high. Umpire said play on. Braden Ham got it away. Lang. Now Harry McMahon. He can't take it. Tapped on by Flynn. He goes through the traffic. He can't take it either. Goes towards Chafer. His little handball to Betson was good. Keelan Betson. De Grande has to stand up and take the mark. He couldn't. At the back, Hamish Burke. Bit of time. Coming at him is Oscar Morrison. He gets the kick around the corner. Back towards centre wing. Betson from behind. Keelan Betson can't take the mark. And he's wrapped up by Garner. Not going in here, the umpire says, holding the ball. Whack.
Very stiff.
And there you go. Jared Garner with the free kick.
Gives a handball off to Travellini, who didn't really have any momentum. A little shove by Harry Smith got rid of Chris Jansen. Ball out the back. Sam Burke jams it on the boot and down low. The mark taken. Flying through Wilson is a good grab. Tight in the right forward pocket. The second gamer That came in like a tracer bullet, and he was able to clutch onto it, and he's going to set himself to come out with a left foot snap in front of a good crowd at the southern end of the ground. Sunday afternoon football. Who says it doesn't work? Left foot snap from young Wilson is a cracker. Second game, second goal, and he gives his team back a 20-point buffer. 9-3-57 plays 5-7-37. Metricon goal of the afternoon contender from Jack Wilson. Nice response there from St Mary's, who've been under siege for the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, well, as we said earlier, it's been a carbon copy of the first quarter. St Mary's had all the play early. Joey's worked their way back into the game, and then against the flow, St Mary's have responded. So, you know, Joey's get one back there and they get it back into a kick. It goes the other way. They get a goal. It's back out to 20 points.
Good afternoon to Todd Devine and crew listening this afternoon in Croatia through AFL Barwon TV. I think Brett Hungerford, Snake Flanders, maybe a few of that crew are over there.
Oh, gee whiz, watch out, Croatia. From the middle, Ham for St Mary's. Inside 50. Oh, Burke couldn't quite take it, though. Comes to the back. Ben Clark gets the kick out wide. Kershaw, he takes the market. Half back for St Joey's. GMHBA Stadium side of Anthony Costry comes backwards to Luke Webb. It's like he just instructs people to give him the footy sometimes, Webby. He gets it, last line of defence, runs away, short little kick is okay. Liam Betson thought about Luke Webb back, but you just have to hold it up now. And just inside defensive 50 for St Joey's. Comes broadcast side. Looks for Edwards, who goes up. Can't take it. Front and centre, Knights. Got it away to Lewis. Back on that trusty left. Around the corner, Gowan. Garner. Garner goes up through the middle to Grandy. Did nicely for St Joey's. Wheels. Goes with a kick beautifully towards Oscar Morrison, who's still inside the centre square. He goes towards centre half forward. Chafer comes out. Connor. Connor's right next to him. Chip gets the hairball away. Now Garner wrapped up. Full ball spills free. It's pretty tight in the clenches. Antonak gets around on the right foot, high kick up the chimney towards McMahon, and coming in from the side, Kershaw took the mark. Hamlin Hanger, much better than his dad, and he'll shoot for goal from 35 out directly in front.
Nice mark from the young fella coming in, working down off his wing.
That's a fairly good mark. That's a cracker of a mark.
Yeah.
Kershaw will be very proud of that.
So Liam Kershaw, because he weighs 34 kilos, his dad doesn't feed him. And that was a great mark. That was pretty hot too in the kitchen there for the last couple of minutes. And Joey's moving the ball forward. Liam Kershaw, 30 out directly in front to finish off the good work from up the ground. He has done exactly that. He's put his first on the board, and the 6 for St Joey's. They've got to reply again. 6-7-43. They trail St Mary's 9-3-57. Sheen panel service K-Rock, second quarter scoreboard in the experts chair. Thanks to the Sporting Globe Geelong Eat Drink Sport. Here is Rowan.
I just think the midfield contest at the moment, we've seen the dominance of the quarter, and it's stemmed directly from the midfield. So whoever starts getting these couple of clearances on the back half of this quarter, maybe bridge the gap or extend it. We'll see how it plays out.
Back to 14 points. Just the second goal of his very young career, just game number 14, first goal of the season for Liam Kershaw. Back in the middle for McCoy to win the tap down. Keelan Betch in the roving handball release and hoses away out the front of the contest. Just dinks a kick over the top to Hannessy. Hannessy can run to 40. They can get 2 in 35 seconds, and they will. Ollie Hannessy buries it, and we're back to an 8-point ball game. An absolute cracker taking place here at Anthony Costa Oval, befitting of its status on Big Freeze Day. St Joseph's moved to 6-7-43, I should say 7-7-49 now. St Mary's 9-3-57 on the second quarter. Sheen panel service scoreboard. Here in the experts chair is Rowan McSparron for the Sporting Globe.
I can't believe how impressed I've been today with the ability to handball in close from both sides. And we've just seen Benson then with that little one over, you know, that blind handball that years ago you say, please don't handball blindly. Nowadays it's just par for course, and that just set up a really good forward entry.
Back to the middle. This is where it's all happening, as Rowan has been saying. Whoever gets it out of here goes. James Hickey, handball to Betson, to Hickey again, under pressure, got the kick away. Comes backwards. Now Garner got his hands free and got it towards Blood, who's wrapped up. That's not going anywhere. Oh, that should have been holding the ball. Here's James Hose. Will take the free kick advantage. Paid inside 50. Oh, Falcon hit Connors in the head. Joel Edwards around the corner. Left foot kick. Has missed it to the near side and through for one behind. So they go to 7-8-50 now, St Joey's. They trail St Mary's 9-3-57. Sheen panel service K-Rock's second quarter scoreboard.
And Joel Edwards just put Hunter Lewis in the Burns unit. Absolutely, yep, fried him. Rayner drives a kick to half back. Fletcher Hughes his target. Jansen, though, got across in front. Took it for St Mary's. Right half back now. They're looking to control the footy. St Mary's. It's frenetic from St Joseph's. Jansen pulls a kick back to just forward of the wing and standing in front. Ham took the mark. Quick handball release. Blood away. Then a handball to Rudd just inside the centre square. Kick inside forward 50. Dowling his target. Webb judges everything well. Takes the mark and then quickly wants to turn defence into attack. Short. James Hickey feigned a handball. Steps past Rudd. Handball to Antonak. Confronted by Lang. So had to go backwards and he'll kick all the way back to Cal Mitchell. And they'll now look to open up the broadcast side.
Mitchell wants somebody to come broadcast side because he's got Knight short. He elects to go further afield towards Edwards over his head, and Matt Keast comes back towards Pendlebury. He's got Jansen in support as well. Right on centre wing, bit of candy. Chris Jansen, right foot kick towards centre half forward. Run! Put one hand up, couldn't take it. Liam Betson needs some support, got some. Oh, Hickey, James, beautiful. Antonak had to sit right through the handball to Keelan Betson. He gives it backwards to Donatus. He'll run hard at it, gives the handball over the top. Wales is in the front of Knights. He can't pick it up either. Pack develops around those two. Wales keeps it in. The umpire will come in and let play go because it comes to Lang. Gives it to Rudd. Left foot scrambling kick inside forward 50. Dowling pushed past it. Webb at the back. Umpire said play on. Falls to the frack. Matt Keast 30 out. Wrapped off the football. That's holding the ball. It should be a free kick. It is. And St Joey's last line of defence. They hold up. Louis Antonak will take it.
Matt Keast thought he was away and gone and kicking a goal. And Louis Antonak just bobbed up out of nowhere. Laid the tackle and then a helicopter to half-back on the bounce. Handball over the top. James Hickey just wanted space and found it in Hose. Hose will look to burn off Bartolo. Gave a handball to Smith. Smith gave it back to Hose, who's been good. The Bannockburn product long. Wants Chafer. Pendlebury back with the flight. Couldn't take the mark. Handball out of the pack. Rayner involved. Oh, Connors, that's a throw. Umpire didn't see it that way. Hose in traffic. Handball. Hannessy's been good. Wants to come back on his non-preferred left for De Grande over the top. Took the mark over Connors. And we'll go back and have a shot to pull the margin back to a point.
Oh, this is a great game of footy.
Cracking game of football.
This is as good as you will get in country footy anywhere right now, what we're seeing. Two unbeaten teams going toe-to-toe, and they're serving up something that should have September in the date. Paddy De Grande back after another stint at VFL level. Will kick from about 25, directly in front. And to make the margin one in the shadows of half-time, De Grande leans back, De Grande goals. Kicks his first of the afternoon. And St Joey's, after trailing by as much as 28 points, are now back within a single digit. 9-3-57. St Joseph's are 8-8-56. Second quarter action thanks to Sheen Panel Service. Get $7.50 off your excess with Sheen Group. T's and C's apply.
When you cut your footage up early during the week, Louis Antonak's tackle there turns a certain goal for St Mary, a class of Keys, into a goal down the other end of Grandy. They're the ones that you want to be showing the boys. That was a fantastic effort.
So back to the middle, late stages of this second term. Point the difference at Anthony Costa. Hughes with a big thump down. Gow tracks it back. Ball in dispute. Kick off the ground. Came from Blood. Goes to an open half-forward flank. Wales tracks it. Breaks free, does he? Was that a hold? Was that a tackle? Oh, it was a hold. Was it?
Wasn't Collingwood v Geelong?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a tackle that slid down. It was holding the ball. And it's going to be a St Joey's free kick. Natus goes towards Gow, has to go up. Well, that's a good mark from James Gow. Under pressure at half-back from Chip Connors. And he'll take the mark and the kick now from half-back.
De Grande presents short. Gow is given the hurry up by umpire Jones. Plays on. Long ball. Edwards or Keelan Betson. Oh, good mark. Fletcher Hughes. Hamlin hanger contender. The young ruckman just growing in confidence before our eyes. Game number 15, but doing things that more experienced players would normally do. Gives a handball off to Pendlebury. Pendlebury off a standing start. Looking for Rudd, who stretches and marks against Mitchell. Wants the corridor. Dowling his target. Hangs in the air, but Kershaw can't get there. Dowling wants to get on with it quickly. Swings onto his left boot. Sees another left footer in Ham, who just takes it at 52 and says, I will settle things down for the moment. We'll need surgical precision here to try and hit a target. Braden Ham is saying, I reckon I'm a sniff here. As we approach 29.5 minutes played on the Bowen Food second quarter time clock. Ham now called to play on, so he'll just set it up. to about 15 out from goal, and judging it well was McCoy. Rudd had a run at it but got nowhere near it, and in fact it's Oscar Morrison, I should say, taking the mark, and that will take us to half-time. One of the best halves of local footy you will see. Swings in momentum, cracking goals, and quality football that the best of the country can serve up. 9-3-57 plays 8-8-56. That second quarter, thanks to Sheen Panel Service. Get $7.50 off your excess with Sheen Group. Terms and conditions apply. It's half time thanks to Blackman's Brewery, the ultimate halftime beer made in Geelong. We're going to go down to Jane Birch, who is boundary side, and with the score so tight, who does Birchie have a quick couple of words to? I think she goes to James Hickey, an old favourite of ours here at K-Rock Footy. Birchie, down to you with the Joey's 27.
What an enthralling first half of footy. It's been absolutely a hot contest from the outset and lots of momentum shifts. Second half, what do you see as the keys to sort of, maintaining that momentum for a little bit longer and getting it in front?
Yeah, momentum's the right word. I feel like both teams have had their chances. I think it just comes down to pressure around the footy for us, and making it a contest. We know when they can get a bit of free flow, they're pretty damaging. Got a few good outside players by foot, so for us it's just about continuing to roll up, continue to bring the heat, and make it a contested game.
You must love games like this, though. Big day, big occasion, and to have, a real contest on your hands. I mean, that's exactly what you need. You've won 23 consecutive games, home and away games on the trot. So something like this would be a season-defining a match to really put your best foot forward.
Yeah, it's always a good day against Mary's, and it's always a tough game. I think last year it came down to the last kick, so we know what we're in for against this club. So it's going to take 4 quarters, that's for sure.
Good luck for the second half.
Cheers.
James.
On the ground, and then it goes in between the two big sticks, and the goal umpire blows. Go, 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 it's a goal. 6 points, go, 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 it's a goal. Celebrate, celebrate. He kicks the ball and the ball flies, and the ball bounces on the ground.
K-Rock's Tim and Jess.
So they're calling it a mini-moon. Essentially, it's just like a small asteroid. It's about 10 metres wide. It's coming so close to the Earth that it's getting picked up by the
gravitational pull.
And it's going to do one loop
and then
get flung straight back out into the universe.
Yeah. Well, can we give it a more catchy name?
Murray the Moon.
Murray the Moon. There we go. Excellent. That's all I needed.
They're expecting Murray to start his orbit as of September 29.
That's nice. Now I'm worried for Murray. The Murray worry is quite high. Thank you very much.
Voted by a panel of their peers to most likely make you laugh whilst driving home in 2025. Tim and Jess on K-Rock. Your future, your hands. Study at the Gordon.
Since a bloke named Bill started cutting timber in a mill back in 1980, Barwon Timber's been the builder's best mate ever since. Whether you're stick framing or need prefab frames and trusses, Barwon Timber's got what you need for every building stage. Geelong owned and operated with trade quality products in stock, ready to go. Barwon Timber, Fellmongers Road, Breakwater. The team that builders just keep coming back for.
I'm going down to Barwon Timber.
Hamlin Homes, with over 40 years of commitment, building homes throughout Geelong and the Surf Coast. Hamlin Homes is family operated, born, raised and living in Geelong, and committed to thriving into the future. Committed to building quality, sustainable homes. Committed to supporting you throughout your building journey. Hamlin Homes, built on a commitment to local trades, using premium quality materials, including a roof made from Colorbond steel. Hamlin.com.au, CDB-U 52938.
All this footy making you peckish? Time for some Zambrero feel-good mix. Incredible burritos, bowls and nachos. Cook slow and serve fast, with only the freshest, most delicious ingredients. Plus, when you buy a regular or big burrito or bowl, Zambrero donates a meal to someone in need through the Plate for Plate initiative. Feel extra good about every bite. Grab your Zambrero now. Geelong West, Ocean Grove and Torquay. Or order online so you don't miss any of the action. Zambrero, feel good mix.
At Harvey Norman, Corio and Warren Ponds, meet the next generation of computing power, the new Intel Ultra processors. With AI and Windows Copilot, these computers have never been faster or smarter. For technology that's not just ahead of the curve, but bending the curve, talk to Geelong's experts in tech and discover how you can upgrade your world. Harvey Norman, Corio and Warren Ponds, proudly bringing you the future of computers, now.
Thanks to our #1 ticket holder, APCO. Fueled by APCO Cafe 24/7.
It's half time. Thanks to Blackman's Brew, the ultimate halftime beer made in Geelong, and of course now pouring at GMHBA Stadium. So when you're there,
oh gee whiz,
yeah, we've got
what's going on here?
The catering has come in. KFC have just dropped off some nuggets and chips. Didn't we have KFC before? Got a little bit more. Just rolled in.
Godfather. No wonder. Scotty's away, so just the profits are going downhill. Scotty's away. It's great.
Blackman's Brewery now pouring at GMHBA Stadium. So if you're there for the Cats and the Suns, isn't that going to be? Although the Suns coming off a disappointing loss yesterday, that is a typical Gold Coast loss. That just when you didn't expect them to lose.
Fremantle and Gold Coast, they're the hardest two teams to barrack for. They would be, wouldn't they? The wins and losses, you think they're going to win, and they don't. What about Collingwood? Is it easy to barrack for them?
Yeah, it is.
It is at the moment.
It is, yeah. Or at least you know what you're going to get. Sometimes you talk about those two teams that you don't know what you're going to get. At least with the Pies, you know.
I'll tell you who's the hardest watch at the moment. St Kilda's very hard to watch.
So is Sydney.
Oh, yes. Bad luck.
Sydney are putrid.
Yeah, but they're allowed to be a little bit off. They've been up for 25 years.
Yeah.
St Kilda haven't been up for 50.
No. Werribee 24, Port Melbourne 11. So Port have actually kicked a goal. It's actually past Players' Day at Port Melbourne.
Jeez.
They're not
what
serving
are they all the players inside?
They're not serving up much. That's 16 minutes into the third. That's 3-6 to 1-5.
Is it raining at Port North Port?
Doesn't look like it. I've seen some images, and
that's ridiculous.
Williamstown 51, Geelong 31 in the VFL tonight. Carrock football from 6 o'clock. Carrock 955. CarrockFootball.live in the AFL app. Myself, Ben Casanelia, and Zach Tui with all the action from Optus Stadium in Perth. WA Day tomorrow, hence the Sunday night game. So a bit like here when we've got the public holidays, we get the Sunday Eve game, and the Eagles requested one. They're playing in a black and gold jumper. WA Day theme.
Sandgroper.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
well,
so
that won't help them.
They have played in a state jumper before. They did one heritage round, pulled out an old WA State of Origin jumper.
What time's the game? 7:20.
7:20 bounce.
7:20 bounce.
Mark Blitzarf to join us in the pre-game.
Nice.
Playing tonight, re-signed for another year. Will become the Cats' 300th game, and next year probably mid-season, barring injury concern.
He was never going to play 300 games.
200
started.
He's played 280 of a possible 297.
He's been amazing.
He's never played VFL since. Played VFL in 2012.
And then only missed through injury.
Yep. And maybe a concussion in there as well.
It's been pretty important over the time, hasn't he, for the Cats?
Absolutely.
The ability to plug holes has been amazing.
Yeah. And Tommy Atkins has signed a new 2-year deal as well.
Oh, he's been brutal the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Against the Bulldogs, he was amazing.
Our discussion tonight will be the Cargi podium midway point of the season. So we're turning for home as of tonight. We're 11 games down, 12 to play, but we're going to have a look at our halfway Cargi.
How can it be halfway through the season already?
Oh, yeah.
That's freaky, isn't it? What are we in for GFNL? Round what?
6. Yeah. So we've still got, but both have still got 12 rounds to play.
Yeah, I know. It's strange, isn't it?
It is weird how it's
how it works.
Played out that way.
Yeah.
So looking forward to discussing that tonight. But looking forward to discussing some stats thanks to Kerr's Hire. 3 locations, North Geelong Grove, Dallin Ocean Grove. Just some of the key numbers you've been keeping an eye on, Ro, in your chair this afternoon.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the clearances and the inside 50s. So that quarter, I think St Mary's had a lot of their inside 50s early days. So they led that 14 to 11. And the clearances are basically dead even, 9 to 10 in Joey's favour. So I think we talked about in and around the football being so important. And as we've seen, even though the numbers are even, both teams have taken their time at having dominance in that area.
I've been amazed, you've said it in both quarters, the way both quarters have gone. St Mary's, then St Joey's, and then St Mary's, but I suppose just a little bit of St Joey's at the end of that second quarter, but it has been to and fro, hasn't it?
Well, you talk about capitalising when you have dominance of play, and both teams have had the ability to do that. And what's been impressive is they've actually done it against really good opposition. So Joey set up really well behind the ball with Webb, and you can obviously, Pendlebury's having an impact setting up behind the ball for St Mary's. So for the team that has the dominance to actually put the score on the board against a really well-structured defensive team has been pretty impressive to watch.
It's half time thanks to Blackman's Brewery. There is a cracking crowd here this afternoon. They've been blessed with the weather. The last two big freezers have been blessed with good weather last year as well, and today to get an 18-degree day. Sun now just peeking through the clouds, and it's going to cool off very quickly. But for the moment, enjoying a little bit of warmth here at Anthony Costa Oval. And got to say well done to Graham Reid, Link Blair and all the team behind the DIY Big Freeze Geelong. How much have they raised?
They had 92,000 before they did the actual Big Freeze today.
Wow.
So they've smashed 100. Well and truly.
The goal was 50.
Yeah, the goal was. They had that. They had that ages ago. There's been a mammoth effort to raise that sort of money in this type of climate is a brilliant.
FightMND.org too for the way you can support, especially with the build-up to Big Freeze 11 with, I believe, Mark Taylor, former Australian captain, announced as a slider. Yep, we'll be going down the slide. So fantastic news. So some good sliders already have been announced. I think Ariane Titmus is going down.
Yes.
She'll be used to pool, but not probably that cold.
It would be a totally different scenario, unfortunately, I would think. No, not a quick pool, that's right, yeah.
We'll take another break. Thanks to Blackman's Brewery, the ultimate halftime beer made in Geelong. And we're here for APCO Cafe 24/7. Win free coffee for a year at APCO Cafe 24/7. Live, breathe. Carol Footy.
Geelong's favourite way to wake up.
So if you have trouble bending, stretching, putting on socks as you get older, or if you were injured, so I've seen this hack.
I could use this.
Yeah, I know.
Because I have to roll on my back at the moment and kind of hook one on my big toe and just anything like that, just to get it started.
Of course you do. It's called foreplay.
In 2025, Geelong and the Surf Coast's favourite way to wake up is Tom, Lee and Loggy on K-Rock 955. Visit one of Mimosa Homes' 50 displays across Melbourne and Geelong.
You've got 11 sandwiches to choose from, all Devon. That's not a choice, unless you're super into Devon. What holds for sandwiches holds for paint projects. You want real choice. No one stocks a greater range of Dulux paints and products or gives you tips and advice on how to use them than your local Inspirations paint store. That's what makes them the Dulux approved specialist. What's your next project?
Inspirations Paint, Grovedale, 138 Torquay Road.
Your dream home is closer than you think with Metricon, Australia's #1 home builder. With our Fast Track program, your contract is ready in 7 days and you can get to site in as little as 16 weeks. Plus, you can receive an upfront and transparent Fast Track saving on your stunning Metricon design. Contact us to see if you qualify and move in faster than you thought possible. Metricon, love where you live. Terms and conditions apply. CDBU 52967.
Harvey Norman, the home of king-size TVs. Bigger is better. Immerse yourself in the incredible viewing experience of a king-size TV. All the leading brands: Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense and TCL. Whether it's game day, movie night or a binge weekend, enjoy spectacular clarity and detail with resolutions from 4K to 8K and screen sizes up to a massive 100-inch. Connect more, see more and do more with a king-size TV featuring the very latest in smart technology. See the specialists in king-size TVs at Harvey Norman now. Your locally owned and operated Harvey Norman, Corio and Warn Ponds.
Since a bloke named Bill started cutting timber in a mill back in 1980, Barwon Timber's been the builder's best mate ever since. Whether you're stick framing or need prefab frames and trusses, Barwon Timber's got what you need for every building stage. Geelong owned and operated with trade quality products in stock, ready to go. Barwon Timber, Fellmongers Road, Breakwater. The team that builders just keep coming back for.
I'm going down to Barwon Timber.
Thanks to our #1 ticket holder, APCO. Fueled by APCO Cafe 24/7.
It's halftime thanks to Blackman's Brewery, the ultimate halftime beer made in Geelong. Now pouring at GMHBA Stadium and also at Belmont Lions yesterday. Bit of Blackman's action, Pivot City Lager there.
Really?
Yeah. And they had the Blackman's Lager up at, the Joey's Lager up at St Joseph's a couple of weeks ago as well. Blackman's Joey's little label on there.
Did you partake in halftime activities yesterday?
Oh, I went to the halftime, but I had a lemon squash and a couple of fried dim sims.
I've actually been to the Blackman's in Grovedale. They do a nice wood oven pizza there.
Do they?
Couple off the wood. Delicious.
All right, we'll be doing that at some stage in the coming days, weeks, months. Sounds like a real summer thing to do, Ro.
100%.
Head-to-head for Breakwater Meadowlands, still projects made easy. You're keeping an eye on a few now. We're going to get through these. In the midfield, Jack Blood and James Gower and their influence on the contest.
Well, we've seen the beautiful goal Blood kick coming through the centre of the ground. He spent a fair bit of time forward, and I think Gower's work, I'd love to see how many clearance personally he's had. He's an absolute ball around the football. So that one there, I probably reckon we're at the moment splitting points. Dowling v Knights, although they haven't matched up on each other too much, Harry Smith has actually spent a bit of time on Dowling. Dowling's got the 2 goals and he kicked that beautiful one on his left foot in front of the past players stand. So I think with that one, the matchup probably hasn't quite been there, but Paddy's probably taken his opportunities when the ball's gone forward. And Connor on a Chafer, I would say Mitch has well and truly got the points on that one. What's he kicked? 1 or 2 goals, 3. He's had 4 shots on goal, and if he gets a couple of good bounces, he's probably looking at the other side of the ledger. So if he's got the ability and gets as much footy in the second half, he could be the bloke who turns the game here. So I think he's one that they really got to lock down.
Yeah, he's one that obviously they, as Ron Watts alluded to in previous interviews, an area they identified. They have got Hunter Lewis, but they needed another crafty small forward, and they've certainly found that for Chafer to be at the feet of Edwards, Morris and de Grande, and could be the difference between them. Obviously being a straight sets exit last year and being going a little bit deeper in 2025. So a shrewd pickup, I suspect, in terms of obviously not ideal for Grovedale, but with the way it is now that, the clearances are open if you're out of contract.
Yeah, that's right. And I think when you're at the top end of the ladder, you're selective and targeting in recruiting can be really dour, and you can
and they want to come.
Yeah, and that's right. You're in a really good position to say we're attractive because of this, and that I think that's what Joey's did, and you still got to try and swing him, but I think I called Mitch a couple of times to try and drag him down the highway, which is going to be a challenge. But he's a hell of a player, and for him to get him across, like you said, Kingy was probably one area of their game that they felt lacked, and to pick up a quality mid-sized forward like him is good work by Ronnie and the team.
Absolute. Players just making their way into position. Some areas have broken from their huddle. Charlie Sprague out through illness, just giving his teammates a couple of words of advice as he heads towards the stands, and the St Joey's boys have also separated away as well. Our own Matty Dowling just here having a bit of a look this afternoon. Matty will be back with us in the coming weeks on K-Rock Footy, as we are so lucky to have our
whole team
expert
here
panel.
today. The whole team.
Kershaw, McSparran and Dowling. We'll see Matty Kershaw next Sunday rejoin us for Joey's in Newtown, and what should be an absolute cracker next Sunday afternoon. We'll get a bit of an idea of how Newtown have improved from the opening round clash, where they went down by the best part of 40 points.
Yep.
But have certainly been a talking point as they sit very comfortably 5-2 and well on the march to playing finals and September action in Stevie J's first season in charge. Crowds off the ground. Umpire Wilson looks like he's got the all clear, and we are about to get underway with third quarter action thanks to Barwon Timber. Geelong, owned and operated and building better since 1980. Fellmongers Road in Breakwater. There is a decent sized crowd here this afternoon. They are ringing Anthony Costa Oval, trying to get every vantage point they can. Hope you're enjoying the call through carrockfootball.live, AFL Barwon TV and FM 88.5 here at Anthony Costa Oval. 1 point the difference, St Mary's lead. Here's a big second half coming, and Jace.
McCoy and Hughes go up in the middle. Hughes gets a couple of taps to it. Ham got the handball, missed Harry McMahon as a target. Over the top, Al Hickey got it to Keelan Betson, gives it to Knights. Knights left foot kick, deep forward. Lewis goes back, can't take the mark. At the back, Rayner, and happy to run it through for a rush behind. And scores level 20 seconds in to this clash here at Anthony Costa Oval. It is 8-9-57 St Joey's, St Mary's 9-3-57.
Rayner takes off into the right back pocket, drives it towards half back. Gow, the spoil for St Joey's. Front of the pack, Connors. Handball to his skipper, Blood. Inside defensive 50, just got away from Lewis and sent the kick wide for Wales. Wales gave a handball off to the run of Harry McMahon. Goes past the scoreboard and puts it onto the chest of Sam Burke. Burke's got it. True centre wing out of side of Anthony Costa Oval. Looks to send the Saints inside forward 50. Kick out of the reach of Luke Webb for St Joey's. It's ricocheted off a shin and out of bounds on the full.
Yep.
And Wilson very, very quick to claim the free kick. Kicked a nice goal in the second quarter, a left foot snap. gave his team a 20-point advantage. They did lead by as much as 28. He'll just set it up to about 20 out from goal. It's off the hands of the pack. Hughes won't be paid the mark. He's wrapped up in a tackle by Henderson and we'll get a ball up. About 25 out from the St Mary's goal. Taking the northern end, the scoreboard here, they rushed to behind through Keaton Rayner for St Joey's. Did St Mary's, and they've given them the behind. So they, if you hear at the ground, the margin isn't a margin. It's all locked up at 57 apiece.
Ball spills free to the side of the pack. Ben Clark kick around the corner hurriedly towards half back. Coming across Connors in front of Chafer. And the umpire will come in and ball it up.
Can they adjust that on the fly, or are we going to have to wait till three-quarter time and it's going to do our heads in?
I think they actually can change it as they go. Ball from the ruck contest to the back. Wales gave it away to Cockrell. 45 from goal to the Paul Peck pocket. And finds Wilson, who's been lively up forward for St Mary's. And he's going to shoot from the boundary line in the right forward pocket at the northern end of Anthony Costa Oval. And he's going to wheel around on that left again, which he had success with in the second quarter. And this to give the lead back to the home side. Left foot kick. Oh, no mucking round. He just put it through 2 steps and kicks his second of the afternoon. And they go to 10-3-63 now, St Mary's. They lead St Joey's 8-9-57. Bowen Timber K-Rock, third quarter scoreboard. Geelong owned and operated, building better since 1980. That's Bowen Timber.
Well, St Mary's started that quarter with their half forwards Nelly up on the wing, so they just opened up their forward line, and we've seen when Burke took that mark on the wing, they had to wait their forwards to reset. It'll be interesting to see how they start after this centre bounce.
So if you're at the ground, the scoreboard is incorrect, and it's
no, it's been corrected now.
Been corrected. Well done. That's great.
There's obviously listening to us into these scorers.
We'd hope so. We'd hope so.
McCoy got high, won the tap down to Gow. Gow tried to get a handball back to Keelan Betch, and he got out of the tackle to Ham and then was able to fire a handball into space. Wants Harry Smith to run onto it. Got a little block across the front, which was okay from Clark. A handball to Henderson through traffic, and Clark kept running and was a recipient of a handball. Kick inside forward 50s. Well weighted, Edwards. Unmarked as Pendlebury come off him. Edwards wants to swing onto his left. Steps through, gives a handball to the side. James Hickey tight against the boundary line. Flying shot. Long ball, not bad. Misses to the right. Through for a minor score. Margin is 5. Joel Edwards made life difficult for himself there. And James Hickey with a minor score. 8-10-58 now, Joey's been inaccurate. St Mary's accurate at 10-3-63 as we approach 4 minutes played on the Barham Foods third quarter time clock.
Rayner into the back pocket. McMahon takes the mark. Called to play on now. He chips the ball short. Finds Braden Ham. Still inside defensive 50. He chips the ball. Mark taken by Cockrell. Just on defensive 50 now. Called to play on. Wobbly kick towards centre wing. Falls over the couple. McCoy for St Joey's. Back to whence it came with the kick going up. Oh, good mark. Morrison takes the mark in front of Burke. Too tall, too strong. And he'll shoot for goal from just inside 50. 45-degree angle on the left half-forward flank for St Joey's.
Those short options, if you don't hit the target, it comes back with interest, and we've seen there Cockrell just didn't quite hit it right, and all of a sudden Joey's having another shot on goal.
So Morrison, who's kicked 2 this afternoon, this to give St Joey's the lead. Southern end of the ground, no breeze to speak of. Beautiful afternoon for football here in Cardinia Park, and he drives it long with a right foot kick. It's got the distance, but accuracy he has missed to the far side and through for 1 behind. So they go to 8-11-59 now, St Joey's. St Mary's 10-3-63. Bowen Timber K-Rock. Third quarter scoreboard. 5 minutes played on the Bowen Foods time clock.
Travellini into the right back pocket he goes and will drive it towards the outer half back flank. And Al Hickey stands tall, takes a good mark in front of a pack of 4. The veteran skipper has got it. It feels like he's still a young man, but nearly got a 3 in front of the age, I think. Kick inside 50. Oh, to Grandy. Like plucking apples off the tree. It sat on the top of a couple of St Mary's players, and Paddy with a run took a nice mark, and we'll go back and give St Joey's, for his sake, hopefully, the lead for the first time since midway through the first quarter. You don't want Morrison, Edwards or De Grande getting a run and jump at the footy.
No, that's right, and especially De Grande. He's got those really long, gangly arms. He's so hard to defend. You just got to take his body and get him off the line of the ball.
5 games, 6 goals at VFL level for the Cats. Had a little bit of a fracture in the leg earlier in the year. With that unique kicking style, he delivers. He's got his second of the afternoon, and St Joey's lead for the first time since the 18-minute mark of the opening term. They move to 9-11-65. St Mary's at 10-3-63. Third quarter action thanks to Bowen Timber. Geelong owned and operated, building better since 1980. And in the experts chair for the Sporting Globe, here again's Rowe.
Well, we talked about St Mary's owning the first 5 to 10 minutes of the first quarter and also the second. It's been a little bit of Joey's doing this in this third quarter, so it'll be interesting to see if St Mary's swing it back and we start seeing a bit of dominance go their way.
Back to the middle. McCoy up against Hughes. McCoy gets it down road beautifully by Gow. Handball to Keelan Betson was elite. Back into the centre square, goes towards half forward. Antonak tracks it towards the boundary line. McMahon taps it back. Pendlebury, though, in the way for St Mary's. Chips it towards centre wing to Natus. Great punch away. Pendlebury's handball was elite to Ham. He got tackled by Holmes, but Jansen, spiral punt kick was great to half forward. Sam Burke took the mark. He was in front. Liam Betson asked to come back on the mark. He's just standing on 50. And Sam Burke, who hasn't kicked a goal yet, he's called to play on. Wants to wheel around on that right and go as long as he can. That's a good kick close to the top of the square. Is that a mark? The umpire said play on. They're going to clear it. Cal Mitchell just with a tumbling punt outside forward 50. And it's insufficient intent. Umpire Jones comes across and the free kick to St Mary's.
East into the right forward pocket. Kicks it straight to Cal Mitchell. Will get another opportunity. And fair to say, Bailey Cockrell down in front of us wasn't impressed with that kick inside forward 50. Expletive redacted. Short kick to Al Hickey. Mitchell's a bit stiff there because Morrison was actually tracking that ball.
Turn yourself on, Kirsch. Get on your row.
Short kick to Webb. Webb will go back into the left back pocket, and Mitchell, or rather Hickey, I should say, and they are hemmed in. Al Hickey with the footy, the veteran skipper with it. He'll go short to Luke Webb. Barely went 15. Webb now looks to the broadcast side. He's going to have to drive it long. Ben Clark's just got out the back. He's going to have to wait for it. And that's a beautifully weighted kick into the waiting arms of Clark that Blood wasn't able to shut down. Or on the 45, that's a risky kick, but Hose takes the mark and then fires a handball to Gow. Gow to James Hickey, who's got out the front of the contest. Drives it long. A one-on-one. Morrison can't hang on against Hamish Burke. At ground level, couldn't track it. Hamish Burke tracks him, drags him down in the tackle. Ball spills out. Kershaw near the boundary line for St Joey's. A fit of the fumbles. Gee, Oscar Morrison did everything bar take that mark. He had Hamish Burke beaten cold. Burke was able just to stand his ground a little bit.
Yeah, when you're done like that, just to work back and get somebody on him, he still should have been able to take that mark.
So boundary throwing inside St Joey's forward 50. Hughes takes it out of the ruck contest to Jansen to Garner off a step. Up the chimney towards half back. Big punch away by Nenatus at the back of the pack. McCoy's handball. Missed the target. Wilson gave it to Wales. His handball chopped off by Al Hickey. Back to whence it came. Over the back, Keast is also there with Lang for St Mary's. Comes to Morrison. He gets wrapped up. The umpire says held in. And we'll do it all again with a ball up. Just inside forward 50 for St Joey's.
I wouldn't mind holding the ball being paid there because Morrison had a chance to handball that and didn't find an option that he wanted, so he hung on to it. Clearing kick for St Mary's to half-back. Keelan Betson flew off the hands of the pack. Antonak gave it to Webb. Webb on the burst. Driving long ball from inside the centre square. Won't have the coverage that he requires to make the distance. And Ryan Pendlebury, who's been reliable this afternoon, takes the mark. Looking broadcast side, and that's probably where he's going to need to come. So he just sets it up into the back pocket with a kick that in the end will go out in the full, just floated away from Jared Garner. And Hennessy will take the resultant free kick at right half forward for St Joseph's, who lead by 2. A low-scoring third quarter, 1 goal apiece, 10 minutes in on the Barwon Foods time clock.
Hennessy got it in, but Rayner is back there for St Mary's. He goes wide and finds Jack Blood at half back. So a little bit of time and space for the skipper just to set the play up for St Mary's. He goes short and Wilson takes the mark. Still at half back for St Mary's. Goes with a right foot kick long. Rudd's got 2 on him. Webb from behind. Tapped away. Dowling. Dangerous. At half forward. Goes with a kick. Spears it into the top of the square. No mark taken. Wales needs some support. Wilson comes down. Flynn comes down to help him. Close to the boundary line. He keeps it in. Flynn gives it away. A little kick around the corner. Cockerell. Oh, just on the line. Hose was playing goalkeeper. And he puts it through for a rush behind and wants to play on quickly. Gives it to Antonak. It's got a minute here. He goes Gow. Long kick. Connor's in the seat, in the middle, can't take the mark, needs some support, got some. Rayner to Chip, he's under pressure, still in the middle of Anthony Costa, goes to De Grande, he dropped the football, Keelan Betson's handball, was slick. Gow, nearly fell over, got it over the top, Hickey, he can't take it with him, oh, it's pressure in the middle, and now Keese with a bit of time and space, goes towards centre wing and finds Hughes.
Chance to take the breath. Hughes gives a handball back to the voice of Pendlebury. Pendlebury takes 3 steps and drives a kick towards right half forward. Ruddy's target knocked away by Liam Betson. McCoy, the unlikely rover at the front, just trying to tap it to advantage and keep it in front of himself. Bought about 15 metres for his team. Clark was there but had to lay a tackle in the end. Bottom of that pack is a Saint, and it might be getting to his feet, Jack Blood. And he'll give the ball up. In fact, it's Jansen. And the umpire will put it into the air for Hughes to win the tap down. The ball will roll towards the boundary line in front of a very good crowd on the outer side. There are people everywhere this afternoon for this blockbuster clash that is living up to expectations. 9-11-65, 10-4-64 as we approach 12.5 minutes played in this third quarter of action on the Barwon Foods time clock. Hurled back into play. Hughes from position won the tap down. Kick out of the pack came from young Flynn. Flynn's high ball will go out of bounds on the full and be a free kick to St Joseph's at left half back. 9-11-65, 10-4-64. The game has tightened up, Ro, and as it's tightened up, so is the movement of the footy. The pressure has gone up.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not sure if they've done it on purpose or not, but Webb's +1 behind the ball and Pendlebury's +1 for St Mary's down the other end.
Harry Smith got it back to Josh Nanatis, who then goes down the line towards centre wing looking for Betson. He can't take it. Connors comes in with a tackle on Schaefer. And temper's becoming a little bit frayed there. Schaefer gets up, gives the ball back to the umpire. So just forward of centre wing for St Mary's. Hughes gets it down, right by Jansen. Got a half a kick throw to Wales at half forward. He's tracked towards the boundary line with Nanatis. And it's over the line for a throw-in. About 55 around from the St Mary's goal. A trail by a point, 10-4-64. St Joey's 9-11-65.
Birchie, it's busier than Burke Street at Russia Hour down there at the moment with the interchanges. Both have got 3 lined up ready to come onto the ground. Hughes grabs it out of the ruck. We'll turn Birchie back on.
With the play stuck on that outer side too and you know, that intensity going up, it's very hard to make those substitutions.
St Mary's are situated half a metre from the interchange bench, so it's not far for them to go.
Fletcher Hughes got a free kick from the contest and will bang it long inside 50. Goes through the hands of a few players, including Luke Webb. Wales trying to pick it up out the back. Nanatis on hands and knees. Chance now for Keelan Betson to give it to Hunter Lewis, who's a long way from home. Swings onto his left boot to the wing to Grandy in a 2-on-1. McMullen at the front couldn't hang on to it. He'll do well to halve the contest here to Grandy, but Pendlebury was too good. Handball release through traffic. Jansen outside of the right boot and just got it to the waiting arms of Flynn, who marks between the edge of the centre square and the top of the 50. Dinks a kick over the top. Ham back with the flight. Takes a good mark. Smart kick from the youngster. Ham presented backwards. And he'll go back and have a shot to either tie the game or restore the lead for St Mary's. So they've just been able to weather the storm. St Joey's with all the momentum to start this third quarter, it feels like, but haven't been able to convert on the scoreboard. And this to take back the lead from Braden Ham, the former Bomber at AFL level, coming off 23 touches in an impressive win out at Leopold before their week off last week. From 40 metres out, Braden Ham puts it straight over the goal umpire's hat and into the KFC sign. St Mary's now lead by 5, 11-4-70. St Joey's 9-11-65. Third quarter action thanks to Barwon Timber. Geelong owned and operated and building better since 1980. And for the Sporting Globe, here is Rowan McSparron.
Courageous mark that. You don't know what's coming from behind, and especially when you're built like Braden Ham, you're not a solid young fella. That's a courageous mark, and we know how classy he is. That's a really good finish.
So Samaris back in front. Middle stage of this third term. And back to the middle, Morrison and Sam Burke. Burke gets it down. Rove to the side by Gow. Handball out further afield to Kershaw. Kept his width on centre wing. Long kick inside 50. Edwards goes up. Big punch away Pendlebury. Free kick found for a hold. Going to go to St Mary's. Coming back will be Charlie Lang with the free kick. Inside defensive 50. Called to play on now. Goes towards towards centre wing. Over the head of Wales. Over the head of a couple. Kershaw gets back there. Runs out of room, and we'll have a boundary throw in centre wing on the outer side.
16.5 minutes played on the Barham Foods time clock. Carrick football from 6 o'clock tonight off the stadium, bringing you the Cats and the Eagles as Geelong look to improve to 8-4 ahead of a mouth-watering matchup with the Gold Coast Suns, who also have 8 wins through the first half of the season, although with a game in hand, having not yet played the Bombers from the opening round. The Joeys have gone all the way back to left half back, and Al Hickey's just had to control the situation with a kick back to Luke Webb, who's 35 from his defensive goal. Good frontal pressure coming from the Saints. Webb to half back. It's a pinpoint pass, as you'd expect, from Luke Webb into the waiting arms of Harry Smith. He can go short to Hose or Webb. Webb's all alone next to the boundary line, so he's going to chip it in that direction, but he won't get any run because Lang's aware of that, and he's just come down to shut it down. Any further momentum. He can go back, Webb. Instead decides to keep it broadcast wing. Sends it towards half forward to Grandy or Morrison. Big spoil came, might have been Sam Burke. Tracking it to the boundary line, Antonak and out. And we'll get a boundary throw in. Sam Burke now doing some ruck work. It just appears that McCoy and Hughes are resting at the same time off the ground. Morrison and Sam Burke are coming up to do the ruck work row.
Yeah, it's probably a smart move on both coaches' behalf, because if the other one's in the ruck against the second ruck, I think that midfield would have the dominance.
So boundary throw in, half forward for St Joey's. Hands through the pack, beautiful play. Right, left foot kick inside forward 50, coming across Rudd. Open 50, where's he going to go, Michael Rudd? He goes to the pocket, it's a good kick too. He just held it up nicely. And Jack Wilson takes the mark in the Paul Peck pocket again. And he will shoot for goal, and Webby's not happy standing on the mark. He's wondering where his coverage was. And Jack Wilson, who has kicked 2 goals this afternoon, in only his second game, he's going to have a set shot from 35 out, 45 degree angle, and this to take the margin out to 11 points. Comes in now. Jack Wilson's right foot kick is beautiful. Straight through. He's kicked 3. And they go to 12-4-76 now. St Mary's, St Joey's 9-11-65. Bowen Timber, K-Rock. Third quarter scoreboard in the experts chair for the Sporting Globe. Eat, drink, sport. Here's Rowe.
So sometimes even in the big games, the bigger players stand up. Braden Ham takes a mark going back with the flight, and that clearance there is as good as you see at any level of football in country Victoria, and he sets up that goal going forward with a nice mark to Rudd. Then Webb zoning off as he does. His man gets in behind him, and St Mary's get a really good look on goal, but all stemmed from that clearance from Braden Ham.
The second gamer is the leading goal kicker on the ground with 3. Back in the middle for Burke, Sam to win the tap, but Morrison's going to end up with a loop to handball. James Hickey rode the bump of Lang, knocked it forward, but missed his teammate in Hose, and Harry McMahon found the footy, kicked towards a 2-on-1, but the one's going to win out, and that's Harry Smith for St Joey's. Handball that missed Morrison. Blood will be first to the ball. The chance here for Harry Smith through traffic, got to get a handball away, tried to take on Lang and Blood and lost. And this has got a little bit of push and shove now. Blood and Harry Smith getting to know each other a little bit better. Charlie Lang's lost his jumper. And it's going to be Jack Blood's free kick. You can hear the umpire clearly in effects, Mike. Umpire Brown and Jack Blood, as it all happened in front of our best seats in the house for the all-new tradie Jaffel at Upco Cafe 24/7.
Blood towards 50. Webb comes out. Mark Rudd. Oh, did well. Handball to Wales was elite. Left foot kick into the pocket was better. Oh, Jack Wilson with the party tricks, if you don't mind. He took the one hander, put it, stuck the left hand up, and it stuck. And he's kicked 3, and he could kick 4, and he could be the difference. And Robbo and Barley he's enjoying Jack Wilson. He's enjoying him.
He's on his 8th bintang, he just told me.
Yeah, that's right.
Isn't this frightening for the rest of the competition that a second gamer can have this influence in the biggest game of the year?
He has done a good apprenticeship, I believe, so he is going to take every opportunity in his second game. He's 35 out in the left forward pocket, and we've built him up and he's missed it. 3 goals to his personal tally. So it's had a good afternoon so far. 12-5, 77. St Mary's, St Joey's 9-11-65, Barwon Timber K-Rock, third quarter scoreboard.
Is he old enough to go to Leopold Sporties?
Oh, sure enough.
Webb into the left back pocket to Liam Betson, who's confronted, just had to fire a handball to Mitchell. Mitchell then had to fire one. Gow spun out of trouble, but then spun into trouble. Gave a handball to Harry Smith. Look at this run off halfback from Joey's. Burge can go over the top to Kershaw. Decided to just kick and kicked poorly. Kicked it straight to Keaton Rayner, who marks it right halfback. Harry McMahon wants it squared up to open up the broadcast side. He won't come that way. He'll send it looking for Keys, to over the top, had to play spoiler on Burge, but knocked it into the waiting arms of a teammate. Bartolo, and then Wales was involved. His kick on the bounce not ideal. Nernadis will send it back from whence it came. But Pendlebury stretching and marking a true centre wing. Just a wise head behind the footy has proved important this afternoon for the Saints.
Pendlebury now right on centre wing on the outer side. Drives it as long as he can towards Dowling. Burke goes up off the back of the pack. Rudd, beautiful. Handball to Ham was even better. Braden Ham, left foot kick around the corner. Which way is it going to bounce? Through for one behind. Braden Ham. 1 goal, 1 his tally. Handy point, 12-6-78 St Mary's. Joey's 9-11-65. Barwon Timber K-Rock, third quarter scoreboard.
El Hickey runs out of his defensive goal square and then handballs to Luke Webb, who under pressure kicks towards half back. Lang stretching, couldn't mark for St Mary's. Harry McMahon off the pack, gave a handball to McMullen. McMullen a kick inside, forward 50. Coming with a run and a fly, Sam Burke couldn't hang on, front of the pack. Keelan Betson there, left it for Harry Smith, Clark, who was dumped. Keelan Betson picked up the loose footy, jammed it on the boot, went through the arms of Bartolo, fell for Edwards, through traffic he cuts. Handball back to the voice of Antonak. Antonak sends a kick towards a one-on-one. Hunter Lewis, Keaton Rayner, wonderful. Hamlin Hanger contender. Positioned himself in front, stood tall and took a good mark in a one-on-one.
That was a great mark, Rayner. Plays on now, drills it down the middle. That's a beautiful kick to Hughes. Ran through to Garner. Handball over the top to Rudd, who's had a good third term. Dowling, 45 out. Usually chews these up and misses. And has missed 2 goals, 1 to the far side. Paddy Dowling, 12-7-79 now. St Mary's, St Joey's 9-11-65. Barwon Timber K-Rock, third quarter scoreboard.
So St Mary's have got the control of the game at the moment. We've seen throughout the course of the match so far the other team then gets their chance. So it's going to be interesting to see St Joey's get their chance in the last 5-6 minutes of this quarter.
23 minutes played. Third quarter action thanks to Barwon Timber. Webb, a long ball towards half-back. Rudd went early. Gee, nearly hung on to it. The ball landed in his lap. Was he claiming the mark? Umpire's not going to pay it. He looks up at the umpire and no, he's happy to give the ball up. A bit of a smile on his face, as you'd always expect from the effervescent Michael Rudd. Hughes McCoy doing the ruck work. It's going to fall for Keast, who jams it on the boot. A high ball into the right forward pocket. It lands into the waiting arms of Al Hickey, who under pressure kicks to half back. McCoy will be paid the mark. Keast was a little bit late with the spoil, and it'll come back to Ed McCoy, who's got it at left half back. The 2023 Ballerine Rookie of the Year.
24 played in this third term. McCoy's kick to the middle. Coming up, big thump away. Lang, front and centre was okay. Jansen to the call of Cockrell. High kick again. Inside 52 on 2. Mitchell in front couldn't take the mark. Harry Smith could for St Joey's. He could get the handball away. Webb through half back with the outside of the right foot towards Lewis against Rayner. Lewis this time wins the battle. And he'll just chew up a little bit of time. Just go back on the mark on centre wing. Chips the ball towards centre half forward. Oh, Hughes got back there and did beautifully to fill the gap and play on to Jansen. And he runs through the middle of Anthony Costa over. He just chips the ball towards Keast. They're on the top of the ground here. St Mary's. Wales has got plenty of space and he takes the mark. 45 from goal. Al Hickey comes over to stand the mark. And Elijah Wales is going to go back and have a set shot for goal.
Such a dangerous area of the ground to turn the football over. Hunter Lewis hits it skinny, turns it over at centre half forward, and the ball's down the other end. They're having a shot in the space of 3 or 4 possessions.
But just the options he missed in the middle of the ground.
Well, he even could have stayed skinny, this broadcast slide, and got a deep entry that way.
Wales 45 metres from goal, and he's put it straight through the middle. Elijah Wales, and he's kicked his first and the 13th for St Mary's. They go to 13-7-85. Again, a 20-point lead. St Joey's 9-11-65. Barwon Timber K-Rock, third quarter scoreboard. Geelong owned and operated, building better since 1980.
Around the grounds for Leopold Sporties. Amazingly, Port Melbourne now lead Werribee by 2 points.
Oh, my goodness.
Must have been
Did they come out at half-time?
Brendan McCartney's probably given them a good bake at half-time.
Sprayed him.
Williamstown 60 lead, Geelong 41. At Point Jellybrand. 85 plays 65. St Mary's. They just keep finding a way to respond. Liam Betson's gone into the ruck. Chance here for Joey's. James Hickey. James Hose. Keelan Betson lowered the eyes. Once Gow diving low, taking a slips catch and marking. And they desperately need a goal. And James Gow has actually hurt himself. Just a little wince as he got up from taking that diving mark. Keep an eye on him, please, Birchie. They need this, would be an understatement for St Joey's. 37.85, 9.11.65. Yeah, will swing out onto the right. Kick from 40, 80. Got good purchase. He got wonderful purchase. And a little bit of a little salute back to the... I'm not sure exactly what that means from James Gow. Maybe if he's our Leopold Sporties player of the day, which of course he'll be in contention for with the game he's played today. I'm not sure exactly what that meant.
He wanted the cuddle, I think.
Yeah, big freeze, sort of like. Maybe, you know, the cold celebration.
Yeah. Anyway, 13-7-85, 10-11.
So, umpire Jones of the ball. They cut the margin to 14 points. 27 minutes played in this third term. Another one to make an interesting row if they got another one.
Well, it's been swings and roundabouts this game, so it wouldn't surprise us if they do.
Betson in the ruck up against Rudd. Neither get an effective tap. It's a Shepherd pretty much. It should be a free kick, should it? It should be to Rudd, who handballs it away to Ham. Just back on the ground. Left foot kick to half forward. Burke will put a hand up. Couldn't take the mark. At the back, Al Hickey. Oh, a little bit of Al Tricky there. No. Goes to Burke. Burke with the right foot kick. And he makes a pay. Sam Burke with the Metricon goal of the afternoon. His first. And a quick reply for the home side. They're 14th, 14-7-91. They lead St Joey's 10-11-71. Barwon Timber K-Rock, third quarter scoreboard.
Game that just keeps giving, isn't it, at the moment?
It's just, when you just think it's all over. what a kick.
And to pinch the ball off the back, and a quality player in Hickey as well. That's a super bit of play.
The thing that helped him was James Hickey coming in from the side. I reckon actually made him narrow the kick.
Yeah.
It had that feeling that he was going to push it across the face. And James Hickey inadvertently has actually helped Sam Burke kick that goal. 14-7-91. St Joseph's 10-11-71. The margin is 20 as we approach 28 minutes played on the Barwon Foods third quarter time clock. Climbing high in the ruck. Rudd winning the tap down against Liam Betson. He'll track the footy towards the broadcast wing. Dumped in the tackle by Betson, but a handball to Bartolo. Ham shimmies away from Hose. Handball back to Bartolo. Been good today. Left foot kick to half forward, and Cockrell has marked, and as we touched on, they're on top of the ground. Approaching three-quarter time. Cockrell, bit of a helicopter into the left forward pocket. Oh, Hickey moved off the footy held by Chris Jansen. That is something you rarely see. A Hickey being shifted off the ball. And the three-quarter time siren has gone. And this is for a 26-point lead going into the final quarter. Chris Jansen with one this afternoon. Looking for his second. And for all the momentum heading into the final quarter. Left forward pocket. Man on the mark stands about 35 from goal. He'll look to start at left-hand goal post. Chris Jansen on the way has put it through. They're going to be tough to overhaul from here. They lead by 26 at the final change. 14-7-91. 10-11-71. A 6-goal to 2 third quarter has turned a 1-point lead into a 26-point buffer, and they are sniffing a 6th consecutive win to start season 2025, and Joey's 24-game home and away winning streak seems in jeopardy. 97 plays 71. We are set for a grandstand final quarter from here at Anthony Costo Oval. Big freeze blockbuster has delivered. But St Mary's right now with their noses in front. We'll take a break. Back shortly thanks to Epco Cafe 24/7 and the all-new Tradie Jaffel. Live breathe. K-Rock footy.
Celebrate. Kicks the ball and the ball flies. and the ball bounces on the ground. And then it goes in between the two big sticks and the goal umpire blows. Go, 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 it's a goal. 6 points, go, 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 go. It's a goal, celebrate, celebrate. He kicks the ball and the ball flies and the ball bounces on the ground, and then it goes in between the two big sticks.
It's a crisp, refreshing local Pacific Ale, Mervyn Pale Ale, or a classic Blackman's beer. It's Geelong brewed and always delicious. It's the ultimate halftime beer. Blackman's Brewery, an Australian champion brewery. Beer for everyone. Settle into your favourite at a Blackman's Bar in Torquay, Grovedale and Ocean Grove.
Breakwater Metal Land. Steel projects made easy. Need your steel cut to any size while you wait? Easy. Need your order delivered anywhere within 50 Ks? Easy. Want a better choice of steel products like flat bar, RHS, SHS and angle steel products? Easy. At Breakwater Metal Land, they love talking steel and they'll recommend the right products to make your job easy. For your construction, landscaping or DIY project, choose Breakwater Metal Land for steel products made easy. breakwatermetalland.com.au.
Time to take a look at the stats for the game so far. Thanks to Kerrs Hire, we have Bruce.
Oh, yes. Well, we've got some exciting weekends ahead, that's for sure. They've got the range, the quality, a strong team. In fact, did you know they've clocked up over 40 years in Geelong?
The Cats. They've been around a bit more than that, Bruce.
Oh, no. Kerrs Hire.
What about the stats for the game?
Well, statistically, I shouldn't even be here. I've got a patio to pay.
Kerrs Hire, North Geelong, Grovedale and Ocean Grove. KersHire.com.au.
Get a good night's sleep with Harvey Norman, Corio and Warn Ponds. Quality mattresses by Temper, Sealy Posturepedic, Sleepmaker and King Coil by A.H. Beard with major savings. Adjustable bed bases, bed frames, kids' bedroom furniture, bunk beds and storage pieces. Customisable Australian-made bedroom furniture to suit your space and style. Luxurious pillows, quilt covers, sheet sets and more. Get behind the Cats this season with your locally owned and operated Harvey Norman, Corio and Warn Ponds.
Thanks to our #1 ticket holder, APCO. Fueled by APCO Cafe 24/7.
Three-quarter time here at Anthony Costa Oval at St Mary's. 15-7-97 they lead St Joey's. 10-11-71 by 26 points. They kicked 6 goals, 4 in that third term, St Mary's, to 2 goals, 3. And we're just talking at three-quarter time, row in the break. St Joey's just didn't have their turn in the third quarter, which they did have in the first half.
Yeah, we've seen throughout the first half each team take their turn, and they probably got a couple of bites of the cherry each through each of those quarters, but St Mary's just dominated that third quarter, and Joey's had their little 5 minutes, but weren't able to peg any of it back.
Their half-back line was really good then. Keaton Rayner and a couple of others across half-back who just were stoic, and they just were able to turn the ball over. You said St Joey's had a couple of opportunities, but just those turnovers just bit them when they were able to, St Mary's, be able to go back through the middle.
Yeah, I think if you're going to kick long off half-back, you can't kick long and blind. You either got to kick the grass or to a person, and a couple of times there, Joey's kicked long and blind, and St Mary's were able to repel it and stem the flow coming back the other way.
Around the grounds as well at the moment for Leopold Sporties. Port Melbourne 41, lead Werribee 37. That's bizarre. Port Melbourne were 4 behinds at three-quarter time, at half-time, I think. And Williamstown 67, lead Geelong 47, and that is halfway through the final term there. And we're nearly done at Northport. Port Melbourne, 23-minute mark of the final term. They lead by 4 points. And around the grounds, AFL Live, St Kilda 58, lead Melbourne 45. There you go. That's at Alice Springs.
At Traeger
Park.
Which is about the only bit of green for millions of miles.
Yes.
It's all very barren beyond.
Go and play a go of footy, isn't it, really, Traeger Park? But anyway, two teams I couldn't really care about.
Yeah. Well, you talk about having teams that are hard to follow. Melbourne and St Kilda.
Yep, at Traeger Park. There you go. That's why we're here watching a massive big freeze game.
That's probably a better game here too, to be honest.
And it will absolutely hurt Melbourne, St Kilda beating them, because it would leave them 2 games out as we turn for home. You think they're not playing for, actually, I don't think.
Who?
Melbourne.
Oh, God.
No, I don't think there's much outside the 8 that's actually coming in.
No.
Although Gold Coast could put the bed.
No.
It'd be very on brand for Gold Coast to beat Geelong next week.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, we don't play very well Geelong against teams that come from interstate. So normally we poo the bed against Geelong West against the GWS. Some others.
There are some seriously decent-sized huddles.
Lights are on, which is good.
Lights are on, and surely we're going to play with the yellow footy in the last quarter.
Yeah, let's see.
No,
are they allowed to do that?
Well, I don't know whether there's a big issue
Common
with
sense
changing.
would say that you do, but it's not that common anymore.
It never has been, and it never will be. No, that's correct.
Boys, I'm down here with assistant coach Paul Hood, one of my fellow sliders. Hoodie, a pretty dominant quarter there by St Mary's, 6-2. What was your message? You work with the mids. What were your main points there for them to work on and focus on in this final quarter?
Yeah, to get back to win the contested footy and just structure up a little bit better around the contest, of course, but then to use the ball with a little bit more poise. I think we had some turnovers that quarter that St Mary's were really ruthless in scoring off, so we've got to make sure we control the ball a little bit better and obviously use it to our advantage.
And Ron mentioned sort of those forward handballs, you know, successive chains, and then the third person in line or whatever is getting themselves in trouble, so it's not really coming off. Get that run from behind going again from your half-back line and score that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we do get that run, make sure we actually lower our eyes and carry the ball and have a look and present to the forwards' advantage, and we can do that. We've shown that you can score quickly today both ways, so we gain the ascendancy. I'm sure we can peel the lead back pretty quickly.
Like I've said previously, this is exactly the test you guys wanted.
Yeah, indeed. It's St Mary's are playing really well. They're highlighting any of our shortcomings, but when we get control, we still feel like we can score pretty well. So it's a test we needed, and hopefully we're up to it.
I reckon there's still plenty left in this. Can't wait.
Thanks, Dan.
Paul Hood there. Thank you for that. Birchie down boundary side for Leopold Sporty's your complete family venue. Birchie very quiet on the injury front, despite, as you said before, the intensity of the contest. Nothing to report for St John of God Hospital.
Yep, no injuries so far, so let's hope that continues in the last quarter because, the best players are out there at the moment and we certainly don't want anyone going down, so that is good news.
Just waiting for the rest of the crowd to make their way off the ground.
It's absolutely huge up there.
Lucky the spare St Mary's player.
I'll tell you what, lucky they did, because there was 19 on the ground for St Mary's.
Oh, that would have been...
Yeah, lucky the boys took their time to get to the past players stand, because Chris Jansen just had to run off.
So the final remnants of the crowd have made their way off Anthony Costa Oval. Final quarter action thanks to Zambrero. It's Feel Good Max, who's going to be feeling good in about half an hour from now. Lights are on here at Anthony Costa Oval as we get towards the shortest day of the year.
Not sure we need the light on the scoreboard.
No, that's probably not in a great spot for us, but that's okay. Thank you for pointing that out, Chase, by the way. Final quarter action underway. The Saints by 26 over the Joeys.
Betson in the middle. Liam gets it down as well for St Joey's. Knights off the wing. Gets wrapped up straight away. Oh, that's a long time. The umpire says no. Give it back to me. And umpire Jones will have a secondary bounce in the middle. Betson and Fletcher Hughes. Betson just uses that frame, gets in the way. Ham got a short little kick, didn't go 15. Now, bit of WWE action there as well.
Cal Mitchell, he's picked up Ollie Flynn.
Picked him up in the air and going to suplex him, I think. Now the ball comes from the middle again towards Flynn. Oh, off the side of the pack case. Little right foot kick over the head, though, of Sam Burke. And getting back there. That's Edwards, yes. Deep back for St Joey, so we'll keep the Wombat Gully Plant Farm match-up look as well. The ball goes out towards half forward. Knights gets the handball. He heard the call of James Hickey, but he missed the target and the ball went out of bounds. So we'll have a throw in at left half forward for St Mary's.
So Liam Betson into the ruck. They've rolled Joel Edwards back behind the footy to replace Betson.
Edwards gone forward, yeah.
He's gone forward for Wombat Gully. Fletcher Hughes from behind on the tap down. Wales did the roving, brought down in a tackle by Hose. Here with Ollie Hennessy wasn't ready to be the John Oates support act. James Hose could grow a little moustache and he could probably take up the role. Another stoppage at left half forward as well. And the ball is going nowhere. And this is the way St Mary's like it, because more time comes off the clock and St Joey's aren't scoring. Hughes won the tap down. Quick kick out of the pack. Might have been Gower, rolling ball towards half forward. Playing from behind Chafer. Connors came up and then got absolutely dumped by de Grande right in the middle of Anthony Costa Oval, and we'll get another ball up. 2 minutes played on the Barn Foods final quarter time clock. St Mary's with the upper hand. They lead by 26, 97-71, thanks to Zambrero.
Hughes got it down but over the shoulder, said the umpire, so Liam Betson will take the free kick in the middle for St Joey's. Drives it with the outside of the right boot. That goes very wide. That's nearly in the netball courts. And is that a little bit insufficient? No.
You can't pay
skill error.
You can't pay that for a skill error.
Skill error. Boundary throw in, 60 around from the St Joey's goal. Jansen on after a couple of minutes. He was on to start with in the last term, but he had to race off quickly. Replaces Jack Blood. Boundary throw in. Hughes in front. Gets it down beautifully. Keast off a step. Goes towards centre wing. No mark taken by Burke. Off the back of the pack, Clark and Dowling see it over the boundary line. We'll have the boundary throw in. This is very good rowing for St Mary's.
Yeah, but Kingy just mentioned burning time off the clock, taking territory. I think they'll be happy with the first 3 minutes of this quarter.
It's a result that will certainly shake up the premiership race, and if anybody thought St Mary's were just going to make up the numbers in 2025, they've been sorely mistaken. Rudd does the rovingly to give a handball off to Flynn. Rayner had his kick smothered. Ball ricochets back towards Flynn, who actually then was taken high and will take a free kick, but going on there between Rudd and Betson. But young Flynn, these youngsters are holding their own. The kids are all right at St Mary's. Flynn driving it long inside forward 50. Sam Burke flying with the one hand, couldn't take the mark off the hands of the pack. Smith in a 1-2 with Cal Mitchell, confronted by Wilson. Now just has to send a left foot kick to halfback, wants Morrison. Garner got across, got a spoil on the footy, hurt himself as he landed. Keep an eye on that. De Grande back towards Kershaw but missed him. Socket off the ground by Flynn, bouncing ball. Webb read it best. Edwards has gone down in back play. Webb with a couple of bounces, burst from through defensive 50 and then bangs it for space. Keelan Betson doesn't have the greatest leg speed, won't get there. Rudd will be first there for St Mary's, turns and kicks around the corner. Wales his target. Webb just worked him off the footy like he wasn't there and took the mark.
Short little kick by Webb, picked up by Hose. He gets it out to Knights. His handball over the top to Hose. 55 out and running, trying to draw a player. It does so now. How he
too far.
He was waiting for Trent McMullen to come at him, but McMullen had enough experience just to stay off him. He's trying to give the handball to a teammate running past, and in the end he ran too far, and McMullen will take the resultant free kick just inside defensive 50. Chips the ball over the top. Connors. He gets it short to Keast, right on the point of the centre square at half back for St Mary's. Out of side, he goes. Keast goes towards centre wing Wales. Takes the mark. Just on the back end of centre wing. Goes with a right foot kick towards half forward. Webb goes up again, can't take the mark. Liam Betson, he threw the handball out to Cal Mitchell. He tries to draw a player as well, gives it to Knights on his wrong side for a left foot. He gives the handball to Al Hickey. He gives it to Antonak. Good pick up on centre wing. They're trying to transition the football, St Joey's. Handball back towards Keelan Betson. Shuffled the handball out to Chafer off a step. Inside 50. McCoy needs the mark, got two on him. Pendlebury comes to impact, but at the front of the pack, Paddy de Grande put the hand up straight away and said, there you go, boys. And he puts his third on the board in the 11th for St Joey's. 11-11-77. They trail St Mary's 15-7-97. That's on the Zambrero K-Rock final quarter scoreboard. There's a little life yet, Rowe.
Yeah, for sure. Joey's did a really good job then. They had the extra in front of the ball. Instead of kicking, they actually used their hands through. So that was a really good play. Someone pressed up really quickly from St Mary's, wasn't able to impact, and a great finish by de Grande deep forward.
The thing is, they can't afford to concede too many. They probably can only give up one, maybe for the rest of the contest, and then try and find another four themselves. Ball into the air, Hughes and Betson. Betson winning the tap down. It was Liam down to Keelan, and they're inside forward 50 again. Long ball. Oscar Morrison won't get there. Back with the flight. Mark dropped by Rayner. Chance for Hunter Lewis. Outside of the left boot. They got another. Back-to-back goals in about 30 seconds. And there's the momentum shift again. Margin back to 14, and Joey's are coming. 12-11-83. 15-7-97, final quarter. Zambrero, feel good max scoreboard, 6.5 minutes played. We're back game on, Ro.
Game on. The ability for these two teams to score so quickly, I just don't think even the margin we have at the moment at the 14 points is enough. Even if St Mary's get one, I think Joey's got the ability to score 2 or 3 really quick.
So back to the middle. It's the Betson Brigade in the middle. Liam ruck work, tries to get it down to Keelan. Rode by Keith though. Right foot kick for St Mary's towards centre half forward. Oh, that's a great mark. Diving mark from Jared Garner. And the old man gets up. He takes a breath. He copped one in the, well, he copped one in the solar plexus. He copped one in the guts before, and he went down. He's still feeling a little bit sore from that, but he took a good diving mark there and will shoot for goal from just outside 50, which is not Jared Garner territory usually. Right foot kick long towards the square, offhand, still to the front of the pack. It's all St Joey's really. They get the handball free. Coming back the other way, Flynn, he tracked it, he couldn't take it though. Hickey over the top of it as well. Wales is there also for St Mary's. Rudd close to the boundary line, dropped the footy, the umpire said, play on. Now Wales tried to give a toe poke away again. Oh, James Hickey came in. Nanadis got the clearing kick in the end for St Joey's. Oh, but great mark, Charlie Lang at half forward.
Lang, and that might be 50, is it? It is. 50. Man on the mark. I reckon it's Paddy de Grande, and he didn't stand. He shifted. Anticipating Lang, and Charlie Lang has an opportunity to restore a 20-point buffer. They got the clearing kick. Lang took the mark, and he's going to be marched to the top of the square and will find himself with an opportunity to give his team a handy little buffer again. And a second 50 to go with that. Luke Webb with a bit of lip, I think, to the umpire. And Charlie Lang, well, if it wasn't a certainty, it certainly is now. He'll pop it over the goal umpire's hat. His third goal of the year, back from Finley. And his team leads by 20. They've topped the ton. 16-7, 103. First to 100. Will it stand up this afternoon? St Joey's 12-11 at 83 as we approach nearly 9 minutes played final quarter action. Thanks to Zambrero. Feel good, Max.
That was the one they were chasing, St Mary's. Joey's had that first 5-6 minutes of this last quarter all on their own terms. And, you know, a 50-metre penalty there or not, it doesn't matter. A bit of lip puts them on the goal line and gets that goal they'll chasing.
Just an injury watch down here for St Mary's. Jack Blood came off, has not been back on for a significant amount of time, and he's got his right quad strapped up, so it'll be interesting to see whether he gets back out there.
Thanks, Jane. Injury update for St John of God. And back in the middle, Hughes, little toe poke towards Garner, who just takes the tackle in the middle, and it will be secondary bounce just forward to the centre circle for St Mary's.
Birchie, good luck with your Leopold Sporties today.
Yeah. McCoy goes up. Hughes as well. Falls towards Keith. Tried to give it to Wales. The umpire will come in. He gets wrapped up straight away by Keelan Betson, not going anywhere. And we'll have a third bounce in the middle. So big pack around this. McCoy goes up. And free. It was always going to be a free kick somewhere. The umpire picked it out against Keith. Being told by Kel Mitchell all about it. Goes to James Gow at the back end of the centre square for St Joey's. Called to play on now. Drives it as long as he can towards half forward. De Grande put a hand up, couldn't take the mark. Lewis, Rayner. Ball still into play. Hannessy, right foot kick up in towards the square. Oh, De Grande through traffic. Little right foot kick again. Open goal square. Oh, it's the post. It's the bottom of the post. And it is a behind. So 3 goals, 2 to Paddy De Grande. And they go to 12-12-84 now, St Joey's. St Mary's 16-7, 103. Zambrero, K-Rock. Final quarter scoreboard.
Rayner runs into the right back pocket and then goes short to Hamish Burke. Burke then quickly turns and kicks, and Dowling takes it in front of Keelan Betson, swings a kick into the middle of the ground. That is pinpoint into the face of Charlie Lang, who then turns and kicks wide. Harry McMahon and Travellini. It's allowed to bounce a couple of times. McMahon a handball up to Travellini. Usually good by foot, and no different here as he finds Fletcher Hughes stretching and marking. He's gone forward on Eddie McCoy, who's gone back into the ruck, and Fletcher Hughes, the youngster, is marked. And this may be for an insurmountable 27-point lead. Left forward pocket. He's kicked 7 goals this year as Fletcher Hughes. He's been a revelation. You would suspect if they were looking at rookies of the year right now in the GFNL, Fletcher Hughes would be among the calculations. The young big man from about 40 from Port Arlington. Has pushed it across the face. Sam Burke flew. It's off a fist and through for a minor score, and that 20-point advantage has been restored thanks to a rush behind. 16-8-104 plays 12-12-84. Lights are on, and the scoreboard shining like a beacon.
Luke Webb straight down the middle towards Hennessy, who's wrapped up, not going anywhere. Good tackle. Came in from Paddy Dowling, and the umpire will ball it up just on the point of the square. At half forward, McCoy goes up, gets it down. Rode by hand, ball spills free. Lenatus takes the tackle from Dowling. The umpire will come in and ball it up. 50 out from the St Joey's goal. They lead by 20. We've played 12 and a half in this final term through traffic. St Joey's, Gow runs across half back, goes towards centre wing. Morrison goes up, can't take the mark. His second effort was good. Now he gets from half forward, inside 50, over the back. Lewis, Mark over the... Somebody fell over, it was Rayner, unfortunately it was a push. And St Mary's will take the free kick just as Hunter Lewis was running away with the ball. So Rayner will have the kick from deep. Back goes long, looking for Pendlebury. Morrison in front, tapped away from Morrison by Pendlebury defensively, and out of bounds for a throw-in. 16-8-104 St Mary's, St Joey's 12-12-84, and we have played 13 minutes in the Zambrero K-Rock final quarter.
Lewis just needed to hit back up at Morrison then, and he would have had a nice easy shot on goal instead of trying to get it out the back. He just needed to come back at the footy.
Boundary throw-in is a shallow one. It lands at the feet of the ruckman. It's picked up by Dowling. He's dragged down as he tried to get a kick away. James Hickey freed the arms, but his handball was stolen by Rudd. Rudd tried to get it to Cockrell. That's gone out of bounds. Appeals for insufficient intent will go unheeded, and we'll get it thrown back into play. Left half forward. It's nearly roll the dice time for St Joey's, Ro?
Not quite, I don't think. They can pinch one here. It's still only 14 points, so not quite yet.
Ball back into play. McCoy, Rudd held his ground in the ruck contest. Harry McMahon socketed off the ground, but straight. He hit a flush straight into the waiting arms of Luke Webb, who has it back of the wing. I'll tell you what, if St Joey's were to get up, he'd be close to Leopold Sporties, short onto the chest of Lenatus. Right in the middle of Anthony Costa Oval, he stands inside the bigger of the centre circles. He has to go laterally to Cal Mitchell, who marks in the shadows of the scoreboard. 16-8-104, 12-12-84, 14 minutes played on the Barwon Foods final quarter time clock. He's been forced to go backwards to Edwards at the back edge of the centre wicket area, and then now laterally to Smith broadcast side. And they're making hard work of this. Smith sends a kick looking for Kershaw. Stretches, worked off it by Dowling. He's going to get a free kick for a push. Probably there. And Kershaw with a true centre wing. Kicked a nice goal earlier. Took a nice mark. A Hamlin hanger contender earlier in the contest.
Right in front of the best seats in the house, thanks to Apco Cafe 24/7. He drives it long, inside 50. Needs a mark. 3 St Mary's players there. They spoil each other. Liam Betson, he went a fresh air shot. Handball Pendlebury towards Cockrell. Dowling had to be quick. He kicked it backwards to Antonak, who took the mark. It was touched off the boot. Falls to Hennessy. Ollie Hennessy with the right foot has missed. Pretty close from John Oates, and he's missed it. 1-1, his personal tally. And they go to 12-13-85 St Joey's, St Mary's 16-8-104. 15 played final term. Zambrero K-Rock scoreboard.
Waiting for the ball to be brought back into play, and it's Keaton Rayner who thought about the outer side, but now decides to go short to Pendlebury, who marks just inside defensive 50 in the right back pocket. Really has got dark now here as the sun sets in the west and the clouds up. Kick to the wing. Webb sets himself, won't get near the footy. Sam Burke got up, couldn't hang on to it on the second attempt, tried to knock it out the front of the pack. Edwards kept it alive for St Joe's. Soccer off the ground. Harry McMahon calls for out in the full, not going to be heated either, and we'll have it hurled back into play. He might have deflected actually off the shin of Liam Kershaw on the way out, and this is right in front of our best seats in the house. Win free coffee for a year at Apco Cafe 24/7.
Betson, hanging Rudd. Betson got it down, rode by Harry McMahon, handball on the inside to Jared Garner, left foot kick inside 50, no mark taken, falls to the ground. Edwards for St Joey's, his handball backwards to Webb. Webby with the quarterback, goes out wide looking for James Hickey. Charlie Lang in his back pocket, close to the boundary line, they see it over. And we will have a boundary throw in.
They need one now, Ro.
They do, yeah.
So the ball in will be at left half forward for St Mary's. It's going to be Betson up against Rudd. Betson, Rudd gets it down to the front. Hose, roves it, kick was smothered. Goes towards centre wing. Big double fister from Charlie Lang. Goes back to Hose. He gets a clearing kick towards half forward. Antonak on the run. He takes the mark. Needs to move it quickly. Wants to play on. Does so now. Spears the ball to Chafer, who can't take the mark. Off the front of the pack, Lewis. His handball to Antonak. Ripped off the football. Henderson to finish it off. Raw left foot kick. He's got it. Felix Henderson. I think it was going to be a free kick anyway. But the umpire called advantage, and Henderson has put his second on the board. And as Rowe called for, just needed a quick goal then. They got one. 13-13-91 St Joey's. St Mary's 16-8-104 Zambrero K-Rock. Final quarter scoreboard. Zambrero, feel good max.
So most quarters have gone close to the 30-minute mark. So looking at that, we've still got 10 to 13 minutes of play left. And the way St Joseph's have got the ability to score so quickly, I just wouldn't have panic stations yet. But they get a nice clearance here and goal, and we're back to game on.
Back in the middle, Rudd and Liam Betson doing the ruck work. It's going to spill for Gow, although he had a little fumble, and then I got a nudge from Jansen. In fact, it's a push in the back, more than a nudge. Handball quickly. Smith running through the middle of Anthony Costa Oval, and St Joey's along inside forward 50 again. Chafer flies, couldn't take the mark. Ground level. Connors quick handball release. Lang a quick release to Pendlebury. Pendlebury to the voice of Bartolo. Bartolo's got an out at left half back. It's Jansen. Jansen a short kick to Keast, and they've done well there to hold up with the ball coming in at pace.
Goes along the wing now with the kick over the top. Wants somebody to run back. It's Ham. Good place to get it to. And Braden Ham's got it on centre wing. Just wants to settle the play down. He understands. He wants to get players forward. Rudd goes down there for him. He's called to play on. He's going to go in that direction now. And also Burke. But Cal Mitchell showed years of experience there. Just stood in where he needed to. Just made sure they couldn't get a run at it. And he took the mark. Inside defensive 50 for St Joey's. And called to play on now. He's going to go down the line. High kick. Tumbling punt. Falls short. Off the front of the pack, Kershaw. Got the handball up. St Joey's go towards centre wing. De Grande. Oh, gee whiz. Oh, his knee just buckled. He's okay. I don't know how he's just got up off that paddy. And he's taken the mark. Trent McMullen actually was making sure he was okay too. So now De Grande, high kick towards centre half forward. Punched away from behind by Hannessy. Goes to the side of the pack. Morrison over the head, over the shoulder. Always missed through for one behind to Oscar Morrison. 1 goal, 2. The draw's on 13-14-92 St Joey's. St Mary's 16-8-104 Zambrero K-Rock. Final quarter scoreboard.
3 more scoring shots, but by 12 points. We've got 19 and a quarter minutes on the Barwon Foods time clock. Travellini in his defensive goal square wants to go to the left back pocket, and it's a well-weighted kick. Then he finds Connors, who's had a busy afternoon trying to control Mitch Chafer. He goes short to Pendlebury, who's been, fair to say, outstanding this afternoon. He wants the corridor, and Lang's provided the run. He's got to be pinpoint. Hose was awake to it. Hose kept his feet and will win the footy for St Joey's. Puts the kick out towards the wing to Zach Knights. Zach Knights can go over the top. Henderson's been busy. He can turn and kick to Lewis. He won't go there now. He'll go shorter. Smith, it wasn't on target. Tapped away there by McMullen. Chance here for St Mary's to clear. Keys to half back. It sits in the air. Henderson knocked it away from Garner. Rolling ball. Henderson attacked it. Then was taken front on. Will be holding the ball, will it? It will be. Gee, that's stiff on Henderson. He sort of collapsed into the tackle. He really had nothing else he could do there, could he?
I thought it was probably nearly closer to too high than holding the ball. I would have thought the player coming in on top of him.
And will take the free kick for St Mary's at centre half back. Comes broadcast side, looking for Hughes and Rudd. They go up. Hold, said the umpire. Free kick, Michael Rudd. Will take the free kick on centre wing. So, Michael Rudd just holding the play up. 20 and a half played in this final term. Barwon Foods time clock. He drives it long towards half forward. Hughes gets back there, off hands, side of the pack. Webb just wants to drill it back towards centre wing. Betson, De Grande, Rudd. Both get a hand to it, Betson and Rudd. Keelan leaves it behind. Harry Millard holds, said the umpire. Oh, we're getting a little bit. Sydney Touchwood now. Paddy's off and running.
It is a long, scything ball. Morrison, he took the mark, turned and kicked quickly over the top, and Hunter Lewis is all alone inside 50. 20 out from goal, and the margin is 6 points. Oh, we set for another thriller like last year. Where's Austin Humphrey? Where is he? Getting back from Lismore. 6 points is the margin. Joey's a 14-98. St Mary's a 16-8-104. And really, I don't know whether that's advantage. Ball comes forward to the contest. It should be brought back. St Joey's pounce. Wonderful Mark Morrison with an opponent bearing down on him, and Hunter Lewis kicking a Hunter Lewis style goal. He's got 2 on the final quarter. Zambrero, feel good next scoreboard. The margin is now 6 points, and we're set for a grandstand finish.
Back in the middle, Hughes gets it down for St Mary's. Garner taps it on, but only as far as Gow. His kick was smothered. He goes back for a second attempt. Cockerell's there as well. Harry Smith has had a great game. Handball over the top to James Hickey. Runs through centre wing. His handball further afield. Hose has had a magnificent game. Gives it back to Hickey again. Goes towards half forward with a kick. Beautiful. De Grande starting to stand up. 50 out from goal on the boundary. Paddy with a wobbler. Oh, straight to Ed McCoy if you don't mind. And the big ruckman's taking a 10 out directly in front for score. It's level. Oh, ho, ho.
The same again. Joey's had the extra in front of the ball. St Mary's pressed up really hard to try and take that space away, but Joey's were good enough to get the handball through and link up and had the spare in front. Lucky kick.
The Liam Betson move into the ruck's had an influence.
Yeah, well, he's just, it becomes another on-baller when the ball hits the ground. It's such a big body.
And a different way to ruck against Fletch Hughes
right.
too.
Yeah.
So Eddie McCoy, 15 out directly in front, northern end of the ground, puts it through, scores level at Anthony Costa.
Blow the siren.
Rowan wanted a draw, and it's currently 15-14-104 St Joey's. St Mary's 16-8-104. 23 played in the final term on the Bowen Foods time clock in the final quarter through Zambrero K-Rock.
It's just been a great contest. Everyone's had their little turn of dominance, and at the moment we're seeing Joey's. Last quarter, St Mary's were able to dominate the whole quarter. It'll be interesting to see if Joey's can finish it off.
Fair time to kick your first career goal.
Gee whiz.
Game number 6, Red McCoy in from Torquay. And he's tied things up. 23 and a half minutes played. We're set for another ball bursting finish. Hughes and McCoy, he's gone into the ruck, he's grabbed it out of the ruck, he's freed the arms and he's jammed it on the boot, and they've gone inside 50, and Oscar Morrison's flown over the top, couldn't hang on to it. At ground level he fights for it, he can't get it out. We've got a stoppage, 35 out, make it 40 from the Joey's goal. St Mary's don't deserve to lose this, but the momentum right now is with the red, gold and black. Can they flick it back their way, the blue and green, in the next 5 or so minutes? Ball into the air again. Tap down Hughes, roving Hunter Lewis, floating ball to the square, back with the flight to Grant, he couldn't mark, found it at ground level, went with the outside of the right boot and gave St Joey's a lead. No, the ball didn't get through. It's held up. Travellini's got across, he's bobbed up out of nowhere. And we'll get a stoppage. Left forward pocket umpire will throw it into the air.
Throws it in now, and the ball goes up. Comes back towards the 10-metre square. Lewis tracks it. He's wrapped up straight away, not going anywhere. Ball spills free. Knights gives it backwards for St Joey's. Off a step. Al Hickey to the top of the square again. Betson goes up. No mark taken. Ball spills free. Flynn tries to get it back to Rayner. Falls in the arms of Chafer, and Chafer kicks the Metricon. Goal of the point. Through for what we wait. Is it one ball? Oh, so Chafer kicks.
Dangerous.
1 goal, 4. And they lead now St Joey's 15-15-105. They lead St Mary's 16-8-104. And that is on the Zambrero K-Rock final quarter scoreboard.
It's St Mary's time to roll the dice. Pendlebury, will he just go up the middle? St Joey's have set themselves deep for the kick-in. Harry McMahon is burnt off towards half-back. Henderson's awake to it. He'll go further than that. And it's Braden Ham, his intended target. Couldn't take the mark. Hose forced to spillage. Fell for Henderson. Neat little kick just out of the reach of De Grande. Kept it alive. Snapped it around his left shoulder. High ball. Floating. Hunter Lewis marks. He'll go back from the top of the square. Maybe to win the contest. Maybe some argument for a free kick against Hose on Ham, but maybe he just played it well. And Hunter Lewis is going to bob up with 3 final quarter goals, and St Joseph's are going to break St Mary's hearts. Nearly 26 minutes played for a 7-point lead. Top of the square, Lewis goals. He's got 3. And St Joseph's had their biggest lead of the afternoon. They lead by 7. They moved to 16-15, 111. St Mary's 16-8, 104. Final quarter action thanks to Zambrero. It's Feel Good Max.
James Hose, for a young fella's had a phenomenal last quarter.
Absolutely.
Last quarter. One-on-one, Braden Ham. Yeah, maybe it's a free kick, but his ability to get back on the contest and help get his team forward, phenomenal effort. Great last quarter from the young fella.
So back to the middle. 26 and a half played on the Barwon Foods time clock in this final term. 7 points of difference in Joey's.
We want us to Mary's goal, don't we?
Absolutely. Hughes and Betson. Hughes gets it down. Rove or Gow just left it behind. Jansen didn't, but just got the kick. Gow's tackle was amazing. Falls towards half forward. Free kick, is it? It's going to be a Garner free kick. He plays on quickly, Garner. Oh, the umpire said come back, so Garnes can't believe it. Point of the centre square at half forward, Jared Garner. He's going to drive it as long as he can. Pops it up, top of the square, needs a mark. And he gets one from Michael Rudd. If you don't mind, just straight through the middle, Hamlin hanger. And Michael Rudd has taken it.
This kid's ability to jump at the football.
How good is his
not only his hands in the air, I've been so impressed with his hands below his knees today. And
Michael Rudd.
Super impressive.
Hasn't kicked a goal to date. He's 35 out, slide angle, southern end of the ground, and he missed it. He did all the hard work, and the draw's still on. Michael Rudd behind, 16-9, 105, St Mary's. St Joey's 16-15, 111, 28 played final terms on Brero K-Rock scoreboard.
It's a game that deserves a draw. If you're a neutral supporter and you've come here today, you've seen a cracking game of footy, and both teams deserve 2 points. It may not fall that way as Webb buys some territory and then bombs long. No mark taken by Morrison. Ham at the front of the pack. Keys to handball release. Kick inside 50. Bartolo needs to find a mark. Cal Mitchell flew off the hands of the pack. Quick snap out. Rolls across the front of the pack. Was that Flynn?
Yep.
Who had his opportunity and just fluffed his lines, and the margin is 5. And maybe the draw is out of calculation.
Webb again. 5 points of difference, 28 and a half played final term. Luke Webb again with the footy at fullback for St Joey's. Wants to go to the outer side, plays on. Runs his distance, goes as far as he can. Needs a mark. Oh, Ryan Pendlebury takes the mark and plays on for St Mary's. He chips the ball over the top. Jansen's got it, 55 from goal on the boundary line. He'll need a mark inside forward 50. Won't be able to kick a goal from there. Drives it, keeps it low, needs a mark. Run again, no, umpire said playing it was Burke. And it will be a ball up, about 30 out from St Mary's goal.
29 minutes played, Barwon Foods time clock, 111 plays 106. St Joey's chasing their 25th consecutive home and away win. St Mary's looking to go 6-0 to start the new season. Tap down Rudd, tried to do his own roving. Hennessy was pulled off the footy. Ball spills, Travellini, little handball out the side. Miss Keys, here's the wise head of Webb. Just clears the area, but it'll come back. Hughes took on the tackle, got a handball away on the bounce. It'll lead it, Keys. Sam Burke there tracking it towards the boundary line. Try to keep it alive. Lost it in the tackle. Ball up will come as Hose brings down Keys, and we'll get a stoppage. Just on 50, maybe slightly inside in front of the Don Matheson Pavilion. It is absolutely heaving here at Anthony Costa Oval.
So ball up, Hughes and Betson. Betson tries to tap it down to Henderson. He gets the kick away towards Morrison. He'd be happy with the boundary line, and well done, Oscar Morrison. And there's the siren. They win St Joey's. They win 30 minutes in the final term. Siren has sounded. St Joey's 16-15, 111 defeated St Mary's 16-10, 106.
An instant GFNL classic, a game that those were here at Anthony Costa Oval for today's Big Freeze won't forget in a hurry. St Joseph's come from twice 20 points down in the last quarter to somehow find the 4 points and go to 7-0, 2 games clear on top. 16-15, 111. St Mary's 16-10, 106. One of the best games of local footy you will see and we have seen on krockfootball.live. Rowan McSparron.
Yeah, what a cracker. Yeah, and both teams had dominant play. St Mary's had all the third quarter on their terms, and in the last quarter it was probably Joey's that had the majority of it. I think I wrote down here it was about the 19-minute mark, and Joey's hadn't panicked yet. They were still 2.5 goals, 3 goals down, and their composure going forward, and then their ability to work hard for one another just shone out in the end.
Fifth quarter, thanks to Homestyle Aged Care, the next best thing to being at home.
bounces on the ground. And then it goes in between the two big sticks, and the goal umpire blows. Go, 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 it's a goal. 6 points, go, 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 go. It's a goal, celebrate, celebrate. He kicks the ball and the ball flies, and the ball bounces on the ground.